goodbye. After saying that, Yunshi tore open a space crack nearby, and the three of them jumped in and returned to Kunpeng Academy. Mu Qingzu stood up and wanted to leave, but her legs were so weak that she collapsed to the ground. Sekun King Tai looked concerned and reached out to help her up, but Mu Qingzu dodged him. "Don't touch me, I can stand up by myself." Mu Qingzu struggled to stand up, but as soon as she stood up, her legs went weak and she collapsed again. Gang Tai looked worried. But he was very obedient. He took out a cushion chair and put it on the ground, saying, "Zuer, the ground is cold, sit on a chair. I will report this to Uncle Mu and ask him to teach Xiaoyi a lesson that rubbish Xiaoyi is so abominable. He beat you up like this, you can't even stand up and walk normally." Gang Tai had been beaten by Xiaoyi, so of course he would think that Mu Qingzu was beaten by Xiaoyi. Mu Qingzu sat on the cushion chair, took out a recovery potion, and wanted to restore her muscle strength, but after hearing what Gang Tai said, she suddenly became anxious. She glared at him fiercely with her beautiful eyes. "Don't tell my father, or I will ignore you in the future." She would personally report the Hong family's plot with her own version of events, and of course, she would omit the process of Xiaoyi detoxifying her. "Oh, okay." Gang Tai remembered that Suer had a very proud personality, and it would be too embarrassing to tell others that she was beaten by a man. Half an hour later, the recovery potion was used up, and Mu Qingzu finally recovered some strength. She and Gang Tai followed the central passage up the slide, returned to the ground, and then returned to the city lord's mansion. What the two didn't know was that as soon as they walked out of the underground crystal mine, an unprecedented explosion occurred in the underground crystal mine, and all the crystals and crystal essences turned into nuclear bombs and exploded. The underground crystal mines thousands of meters underground, all the caves, and all the facilities have been reduced to nothing. The entire land area collapsed. A few minutes later, the underground crystal mines were completely wiped out and disappeared from this world. Chapter 197 Hong Dingtian, give up on killing Xiaoyi. A Hong family's land, the villa where the young master of the Hong family lives. On Tao received the mission progress message from the mission execution team leader, the man in gray. The first step of the mission was successful. The second step was successful, the third step was successful, and we have entered the fourth step of killing. The fourth step will be successful soon. On Tao laughed excitedly. "Xiaoyi. Xiaoya, this time, you will die. I've put so much thought into this. From the maid tavern to school violence to the underground crystal mine training, and now you're finally going to fall into my hands." Seeing how happy he was, the 300-pound fat woman couldn't help but laugh. She sat on his lap and asked, "Is that little thief dead?" On Tao's legs were nearly broken. He supported the 300-pound fat woman of the contractor with his hands and asked her to get up. "He's not dead yet, but he will die. The killing plan has reached the final stage if nothing unexpected happens. No, there will be no accidents, he will die." "No, why are you getting fatter and fatter? You must be 350 pounds now." He looked incredulous. The 350-pound fat woman glared at him viciously and complained. "It's because I failed to obtain life substances and destruction substances in the Holy Spirit's secret realm last time, so my sudden weight growth has not been curbed." Ong Tao comforted him. "It's okay. I will go to Kunpeng Supreme to buy these two substances in a few days." The fat woman weighing 300 pounds, "That little thief died in our territory. Will Supreme Kunpeng sell him to you?" Ong Tao's face darkened. He really hadn't thought about this problem. The 300-pound fat woman had a rage on her face and pressed her whole body on him, almost crushing him. "I don't care, you must get these two substances, even if it costs a lot." Okay, Hong Tao agreed hastily. "I'll let Yang Junming go. He, as the son of Supreme Titan, Supreme Kunpeng shouldn't reject him." The 300-pound fat woman's anger dissipated and her mood improved. The two were in a good mood at the moment and were ready to celebrate the success of their plan, so they asked someone to arrange some good wine and food so that they could have a good drink. After everything was arranged, Hong Tao and the 300 fat woman raised their small wine glasses, clinked them with each other, and said happily, "Let's celebrate with this cup." But before they could finish their words, a figure with a chaotic aura and a disheveled appearance broke through the door and flashed towards the two of them. Snap! Snap! The two men's wine glasses were knocked over and fell to the ground, spilling the wine all over the floor. Hong Tao was furious. "Ooh, how dare you act so arrogantly on my Hong family's territory? The 350-pound fat woman, you're dead, you stinky beggar." Before the two men could see clearly who the person was, they only saw that the man had tattered clothes and was in a fierce manner, so they started cursing. Hong Dingtian snorted coldly. "So what if I cause trouble on the Hong family's territory?" Hong Tao finally saw the person clearly and recognized his voice. It was his father. Hong Tao was shocked. "Father, it's you. Where have you been? You were dressed so shabby, we thought you were a beggar." Facing the Supreme, the 350-pound fat woman lost her momentum and said angrily, Father, I didn't see clearly just now and didn't know it was you. Hong Tao left the seat of honor, pulled Hong Dingtian in and sat down, and said with a smile, Father, it just so happens that you are here. Let's celebrate together. The 350-pound fat woman smiled and said, Yes, this is a great thing. We must celebrate together. Good news. Hong Dingtian sat down doubtfully, but his face was a little gloomy as he said, Xiao Tao, do you know how much loss your plan has brought to the Hong family? The entire elf land has been captured by Kunpeng Supreme. The elf's land is our family's hidden asset. Without it, the Hong family's harvest will be reduced by at least 40 to 50. Hong Tao and the other man were stunned when they heard this. The elves were kept in captivity by the Hong family. The two knew this information and had been to the elves and met the elf king. Hong Tao frowned. Father, what does my plan have to do with the elves? As the Supreme, Kunpeng Supreme attacks other Supremes, properties without any scruples. Isn't she afraid of being sanctioned by the Supreme Alliance? Hong Dingtian snorted coldly. Your plan to kill has been leaked. The Hong family attacked Kunpeng Supreme's people, and she fought back. This is a personal grudge between the two families. Even if we report it to the Supreme Alliance, we will not get any good results. Hong Dingtian briefly described the matter. Hong Tao was stunned as if he was struck by lightning. The plan was actually leaked. Wait, the killing plan has reached the final step. Xiaoyi should have been eliminated by now. We are celebrating the success of the plan. Hong Dingtian was shocked when he heard this, and his face changed drastically. Xiaoyi has been killed. His tone was panicked and his face was terribly gloomy. Hong Tao, do you know what Xiaoyi's murder means? It means that Supreme Kunpeng will become completely hostile to the Hong family. And the two sides will be in a situation where they will fight to the death. Hong Tao, are you going to plunge the Hong family into an abyss? Hong Tao and the other man were also shocked when they heard this, and panic appeared on their faces. The Kunpeng family has two Supremes, one top Supreme and one high-level Supreme. They are both ranked at the top among the 10 Supremes in the Magic City. They are known as the Twin Kings of Kunpeng and are praised as the Queen of Kunpeng. Especially the top Supreme Yanxi, who is ranked first among the 10 Supremes in the Magic City. Has the strongest combat power, and is the Supreme with spatial attributes. He is even invincible in the same level. Hong Dingtian and his white Earth Bear King, the top Supreme being, was only ranked third. The City Lord of the City Lord's Mansion ranks second. Hong Tao asked in panic. Xiaoyi is just a student at Kunpeng Academy, and he only has a simple teacher-student relationship with Dean Kunpeng Supreme. If he dies, it won't make Kunpeng Supreme angry and make them hostile to the Hong family. Right? Hong Dingtian thought of what Yanxi had said to him and angrily rejected it. What a bullshit teacher-student relationship. I suspect Xiaoyi is either the illegitimate son of Supreme Kunpeng or the gigolo kept by Supreme Kunpeng. Are you sure that Xiaoyi is dead? It's not confirmed yet, let me check. Hong Tao took out the communicator and called the man in gray. But there was a busy tone on the other end. The gray-clothed man's phone was not reachable, so Hong Tao found several phone numbers in the message book and dialed them. They were the phone numbers of the mission executors. But there was a busy tone on the other end and no one answered. This means that they are already dead. Hong Tao realized something, and instead of feeling sad, he became happy. The plan failed. Xiaoyi was not killed. Hong Dingtian breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that the boy is not dead. The elfland is gone, but the underground crystal mine is still there. As long as we cultivate the elves in the crystal mine, we can still cultivate another elf land. Hong Tao and the other man nodded. He warned Hong Tao. Remember, from now on, the Hong family will give up on killing Xiaoyi, whether openly or secretly. And you can't kill someone with a borrowed knife. In short, it means giving up literally completely. Hong Tao understood the dangers and agreed. The 350-pound fat woman was very depressed, but she had to nod in agreement. Report, a voice came from outside the door and an intelligence officer ran in hurriedly. The underground crystal mine collapsed completely, and the surface dropped nearly 100 meters. They sent explorers into it and found that the underground crystal mines had all turned to ashes, and the crystal mine caves had completely disappeared and were covered by ordinary rocks. Hong Dingtian and the other two were struck as if by lightning. Chapter 198 Mu Cheng. The dignity of the City Lord's mansion cannot be violated. The underground crystal mines collapsed completely and turned into nothing. Hong Dingtian grabbed his neck with a fierce look on his face. Who is it? Who caused it? The intelligence officer was trembling with fear. After investigation, it seems that it was the artistic conception bombardment of the artistic conception crystals. All the artistic conception crystals were blown up, so it caused the complete collapse of the underground crystal mine. The elves guarding the crystal stone have also disappeared, as if they have evaporated from this world. Not a single one is left. Hong Dingtian threw him to the ground with an ugly look on his face. Artistic bombing is a method that only the Elf King Beast possesses. The complete collapse of the underground crystal mine is undoubtedly the work of the elves. Elf King, my Han family has treated you well over the years, but you actually attacked us before you were caught. Good. Very good. Hong Tao and the other man also had gloomy faces. The disappearance of the underground crystal mine means that the Han family will lose this industry forever, and the family business will shrink significantly. All industries associated with the artistic crystal will also go bankrupt. The Han family's assets will shrink by half. This was undoubtedly a huge blow to the Han family. Bang! Han Tao knelt down on both knees in front of Han Dingtian, lowered his head with a look of shame, and said, "Father, I'm sorry, this is all caused by my negligence. I shouldn't have been so anxious to design a plan to kill Xiaoyi." Han Tao knelt down. And his contractor, the fat woman, also knelt down, but kept her head down and remained silent. Han Dingtian didn't look at them. He picked up the wine jug on the table and poured the wine into his mouth. Gulping down several big gulps, she didn't sigh until the whole jug of wine was finished. These things are irreversible, and nothing can be done about them. Xiao Tao, from now on, a Han family will vigorously develop the martial arts school industry and the secondary industries related to the martial arts school, and strive to recover some of the shrunken profits. Hong Tao quickly assured, "Please rest assured, Father, under my management, the number of Han family martial arts schools has experienced explosive growth. Once these martial arts schools have established a foothold in various space cities across the country, their revenue will also grow explosively, enough to recover some of the profits lost from the underground crystal mines." The 300 Jin fat woman also said, "I will assist Hong Tao wholeheartedly and call on some strength from my mother's family." Hong Dingtian nodded, looked at Hong Tao deeply, and said, "Chow Chow, this is your last chance. If the Hong family martial arts school cannot develop, I will consider replacing the young master of the Hong family. Although Han Lai is not as good as you in cultivation, his business acumen is much better than yours." Hong Tao's kneeling body trembled violently and he made the assurance again. "Hong Dingtian, what I want is the result, not your guarantee." The other side, the backyard of the city lord's mansion. Ji Gangtai and Mu Qingzu, who had recovered a little, just came back. Mu Qingzu entered her own villa and closed the door. Ji Gangtai stood outside the door and did not dare to go in. He took out a handkerchief and wiped the dust off the door. Before leaving, he shouted, "Zuer, if you have any questions, please send me a message and I will appear in front of you as soon as possible." There was no reply from inside. Ji Gangtai chuckled, "He's taking a shower, I understand." In the past, when the goddess Ba Yuguan didn't reply to his messages, she was either taking a shower or sleeping. Just now, after Mu Qingzu came in, she must have gone to take a shower. After stretching himself, Ji Gangtai also said, "The underground crystal mine has poor ventilation. I am covered in dust and dirt. I need to go back and wash myself." Zuer Bai. In the villa, she had said that taking a shower was an excuse before, but now Mu Qingzu really took a shower. She wanted to wash away the traces of that man. Half an hour later, Mu Qingzu was wearing a black tie combat suit, which perfectly set off her golden ratio figure. In the training room, she brought a puppet sandbag just like last time, wrote the words Xiaoyi on foray paper, and then pasted the foray paper on the face of the puppet sandbag. During this experience in the underground crystal mine, not only did she fail to make a breakthrough, she also lost her virginity. She was very depressed and wanted to vent. Next, Mu Qingzu punched and kicked the puppet sandbag hard, especially the crotch area, which she paid special attention to. Bang bang bang. The crotch of the puppet sandbag was sunken, but Mu Qingzu still felt very angry. "Xiao Yi, that bastard. I don't want to see him again in the future. Wait until I reach the Supreme, then I'll go see him, beat him like a grandson, and then castrate him." That guy contracted 3 beast girls, and his potential foundation was dispersed. It is impossible for him to achieve more than a great venerable in the future. He deserves it. There was a sound. Mu Qingzu's beautiful eyes were fixed on the doll's sandbag face with the words Xiao Yi engraved on it. She made a split with her legs and kicked at the hateful face with all her strength. The puppet's sandbag head was kicked and exploded. But what followed was a soft gasp. Mu Qingzu's movements were too big and the wound on her virginity was pulled. The immense pain made her heart tremble. With a thud, she collapsed to the ground, her legs trembling. Damn it, Xiao Yi, it's all your fault. So powerful when detoxifying. Buzz buzz buzz. The communicator placed aside rang. Mu Qingzu used her mental power to investigate and found that it was a call from the city lord Mu Cheng. She struggled, enduring the severe pain, and crawled to the locker to answer the phone. "Come to the city lord's palace. I have something very important to discuss with you," said the city lord Mu Cheng. Mu Qingzu was just about to complain to him. So she said, "Wait for me for 10 minutes. After hanging up the phone, Mu Qingzu drank a bottle of healing potion. After a few minutes, the pain subsided and the wound was probably healed. She stood up and walked towards the city lord's hall. The city lord's hall. The city lord Mu Cheng and his wife were both present. The two men looked serious, as they had something very important to tell Mu Qingzu. At this time, a girl with a beautiful face, a golden ratio figure, and wearing a black combat leather jacket came from the side door of the hall. It is definitely a level that will bring disaster to the country and the people. The only flaw is that it has an airport. Mu Cheng frowned. Mu Qingzu still had the aura of a grand master at this moment, and her face looked a little pale and haggard. Zuer, are you okay? The city lord's wife Song Zier was worried. Mu Cheng. What happened? Mu Qingzu gave a brief account of what happened in the underground crystal mine, omitting some details and processes, and focusing on the Hong family's layout and the way they treated her as a tool. After hearing this, Wu Cheng and Song Zier both had gloomy faces and murderous eyes. The Hong family is getting more and more brazen. They have opened martial arts schools across the country without obtaining the formalities from the city lord's mansion. After all, they are a big family in Magic City. I would have turned a blind eye to it, but now they dare to take advantage of my daughter. You really don't take my city lord's mansion seriously. It seems that the majesty of the city lord's mansion needs to be demonstrated again. The base city of Demon City is a top-level base city. As the city lord's mansion of Demon City, there is a living holy realm above the family. Although he has not been involved in worldly affairs for a long time, the dignity of the city lord's mansion cannot be violated. Chapter 199. Mu Cheng, you are engaged. The city lord's mansion is the official power of the Dragon Kingdom. If the Hong family wants to open martial arts schools in various base cities and obtain passes from the city lords of various base cities, they must first obtain the procedures from the city lord's mansion of the Demon City. If Mu Cheng intends to create obstacles, he can hold the lower-level city lords' mansions accountable for their mistakes, and ask them to withdraw the certificates they issued for the opening of the Hong family martial arts school. In the past, Mu Cheng turned a blind eye and did not pursue the matter. But now, he will definitely pursue it. Not only that, he will also personally go to the Hong family and ask for an explanation in person. Mu Qingzu knew her father Mu Cheng's thunderous methods as an only child. Her father Mu Cheng, who doted on her, would make the Hong family pay an absolute price. After she finished her complaint, she changed the subject and said, Dad, Mom, what do you want me to do? She is the reincarnation of an ancient saint, but her memories of her past life were not passed down. She only inherited some skills and secrets, and learned some things about her past life from the skills and secrets. Her emotions and experiences are still those of a 20-year-old girl in this world, and her personality has not been affected by her past life. Therefore, there is no phenomenon of being indifferent to or even distant from today's families. Mu Cheng and Song Zier's expressions immediately turned serious, and they solemnly invited Mu Qingzu to take a seat, which made Mu Qingzu confused. Mu Cheng smiled and said, Zuer, you are 20 years old now, and it has been 2 years since you became an adult. You are still alone and have not signed a contract with the opposite sex. Mu Qingzu understood as soon as she heard it. This meant that she had to find a man to sign a contract. Zhao Yi's handsome face flashed through her mind. Why did I think of this bastard? It's impossible for me to be with him. Song Zier then said, Yes, we know why you don't sign a contract with the opposite sex. You must have been obsessed with that boy in the imperial capital. You fell in love with him at first sight until now. We wanted to give you a surprise. In fact, you were engaged to him when you were 3 years old. Mu Qingzu widened her beautiful eyes, which were full of question marks, and were filled with disbelief and incredulity. Is this a surprise or a shock? She opened her mouth, pointed at herself and said, Me, already engaged, with a fiancé. I, Mu Qingzu, fell in love with a boy at first sight and have never forgotten him. Bullshit. She looks down on any man in this world because she inherited the secrets, skills and cultivation experience from her previous life. She was at the peak of the holy realm in her previous life. Cultivation is like walking the same path all over again. She is confident that she can reach the holy realm alone. Just like Kun Peng Supreme Yan Shi, who did not sign a contract and practiced in human form. He is still the #1 supreme in the Demon City base city, with unparalleled combat power and invincible at the same level. She is confident that she can go further than Supreme Kun Peng. She thought that no man in the world was worthy of her. Mu Cheng and Song Zier smiled and nodded, saying, Yes. You have a fiancé. That boy is not simple. You are the #1 prodigy in the Magic City base city, but in the Imperial City base city, you have to rank behind that boy. Be prepared. In 2 days, the young man will come to our city lord's mansion to pay the betrothal gift and be engaged to you. You should dress up nicely and leave a good impression on your husband's family. What the two said made Mu Qingzu's eyelids twitch and the corners of her mouth twitched. Who understands? I'm speechless. I'm really speechless. Parents' orders and matchmakers' words are just bullshit. Mu Qingzu felt strongly dissatisfied. It was impossible for her to sign a contract with a strange man. Then, she said decisively, Dad, Mom, I don't have any memory or impression of that boy at all, and I didn't fall in love with him at first sight. I will not sign a contract with him. The smiles on Mu Cheng and Song Ziyer's faces suddenly froze. And they looked at each other. They actually guessed wrong. Zuer had no impression of the young man. But the engagement was made more than 10 years ago. Although it was a verbal engagement and no marriage certificate was signed, as the Lord's mansion of the Demon City, words are like water spilled and there is no example of taking them back. The Yi family, one of the 4 major families in the imperial capital, had not forgotten this verbal marriage contract and was going to offer a betrothal gift for the engagement. The Demon City Lord's mansion could not refuse. Mu Cheng, a crazy doting man, rubbed his brows in annoyance. What should he do about this? Song Zier also frowned. Zuer, get engaged first, and try to get in touch with him. Maybe you will fall in love with him. Mu Cheng said. Mu Qingzu shook her head violently. Impossible. Mu Cheng sighed and said. The engagement has already been made. If there is no suitable excuse, it cannot be rejected. There are 2 excuses and reasons at the moment. One is that you are at a higher level than him, Zuer, and you refuse the engagement on the pretext that you don't want to sign a contract with someone weaker than you. Second, Zuer, you already have a lover, so you can use that as an excuse. Then find that lover and prove that he is better than the young man from the Yi family, and then cancel the engagement. Mu Qingzu asked, what realm is that young man in? Song Zier smiled bitterly and said, the 2nd star of the venerable realm. That boy is the #1 prodigy of the younger generation in the imperial capital. Hiss, Mu Qingzu took a breath of cold air. Not only is there Xiao Yi who is more powerful than her, but another young man from the Yi family has appeared. Mu Qingzu's pretty face turned red with embarrassment. I told you. I can't possibly sign a contract with him. I can't possibly agree to an engagement in today's. Song Zier asked, do you have a sweetheart? Or a boy you like, or a boy you've had intimate contact with? Mu Cheng also looked curious. Sweetheart? Mu Qingzu was very confused. She had no lover. There is no I for either of us. But close contact. Mu Qingzu's pretty face suddenly turned red all the way to her ears. In the underground crystal mine, Xiao Yi detoxified her for 2 or 3 hours. Should this be considered intimate contact? No, it was more than intimate contact. Damn that bastard. He took advantage of her and then asked for payment. Thinking of this, Mu Qingzu felt embarrassed and angry. Her beautiful and delicate face was sometimes shy and sometimes angry. And it was all red. Mu Cheng and Song Zier were shocked. The 2 looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Zuer, you have a lover. This speculation cannot be wrong. Zuer's reaction shows that she definitely has a lover. It was the first time they saw this kind of shy reaction from women from Zuer. Mu Cheng couldn't help but get angry and said, Zuer, tell me, who is that person who actually stole my precious daughter's heart? Song Zier rolled her eyes at him and said, how could you ask that? Then Song Zier walked to Mu Qingzu and asked in a gentle voice, Zuer, why don't you bring your sweetheart to us? The Yi family will come to offer the betrothal gift in today's, and we can reject them. Mu Cheng nodded and said, yes, I am also curious about which little guy was able to win over my daughter's proud heart. Mu Qingzu was stunned. When did she have a lover? Xiao Yi? Chapter 200. Mu Qingzu, I will bring him here. Mu Qingzu shook her head. I don't have a sweetheart. Mu Cheng and Song Zier looked unconvinced. Zuer, if you want to reject the Yi family's engagement, you must bring your sweetheart here. He must also show up in today's. Otherwise the engagement between you and the young man from the Yi family cannot be annulled. In order to see her sweetheart, Mu Cheng resorted to threats. Song Zier also echoed. That's right, Zuer, you hid it from us so hard that you didn't even tell us. Mu Qingzu was depressed. She really had no one she loved. She was blushing and her heart was beating fast just now, because she was mad at Xiao Yi. But they misunderstood. Mu Qingzu was discouraged. I have to find him to cancel the engagement. Mu Cheng nodded. Yeah. No kidding. Mu Qingzu bit her lower lip with her pearly teeth, hesitated for a while, and said, okay, I will bring him here, but you are not allowed to regret it. When the time comes you must cancel the engagement. Mu Cheng and Song Zier smiled. We will keep our promise and never regret it. Zuer, do we know that person? Who is he? Which big family is he from? What realm is he in now? What level of talent does he have as a beastmaster? The series of questions confused Mu Qingzu. She had met Xiao Yi twice and didn't know his background information. She just wanted to pull Xiao Yi over to use as a shield. Oh, why are you asking so many questions? I'll just bring the person over to you when the time comes. Mu Qingzu stomped her feet and ran out. Song Zier showed a kind motherly smile on her face. Zuer is shy, and my curiosity has been completely aroused. Which outstanding young talent has won our daughter over? Mu Cheng, a crazy doting man, was a little depressed, as if his treasured treasure had been taken away by someone. Song Zier glared. Why, are you unhappy? Mu Cheng's face turned red with embarrassment, and he smiled awkwardly. How could that be? Zuer will get married sooner or later. I just found out that Zuer has a lover, and it's a little hard for me to accept it for a while. Song Zr snorted. Zhuor is an only child. If nothing unexpected happens, she will be the next mayor of the Magic City-based city. Her man can only marry into the family, and Zhuor will never get married. It is impossible for a young man from the Yi family to marry into the Devil City Lord's mansion, so the engagement with the Yi family must be rejected. Do you understand? Mu Cheng frowned. You have to have a reason to turn it down. This kind of marriage between big families, even if it is a verbal promise, is not a joke and can't be done carelessly. If Zhuor doesn't find her sweetheart, or if that sweetheart is too weak, this engagement cannot be postponed. Song Zr, do you really want Zhuor to marry into the Yi family? Then we won't have any descendants? Mu Cheng, it's okay for her to get married. Our Mu family can't be extinct. Zhuor's son can just have the surname Mu, but we can have another one while we are still fertile. The other side. Mu Qingzu returned to her mansion and used the methods belonging to the young city lord to obtain Xiao Yi's contact number within 10 minutes. She wanted to discuss it with Xiao Yi and ask him to act as a shield. He took out his communicator, and after the screen turned on, the message bar showed that there were unread messages. She clicked on it and saw more than 10 messages, all of which were just sent by Jigang Tai. Zhuor, I have a state of mind crystal. I'll send it to you tomorrow. Selfie JPG. Oh, is it, handsome or not? By the way, I see that you seem very weak. I just happen to have a bottle of blood and energy supplement here. I will give it to you tomorrow. Zhuor, why don't you reply to my message? I understand you must be sleeping, right? Mu Qingzu glanced over these messages without any emotion and deleted them all. Then she carefully entered Xiao Yi's contact number. As I saw the button to dial, I felt nervous. How should I tell him? Ask him? Or should you treat this as a deal, letting him act as a shield while you pay the corresponding compensation? After struggling for a while, Mu Qingzu thought of what to say and pressed the dial button. Beep. Beep, beep. The call was rejected after ringing for a few seconds. Mu Qingzu's eyes widened, and a look of disbelief appeared on her pretty face. A few seconds later, she made a second call. After a ring, the call was rejected again. Mu Qingzu glared at him and gritted her teeth. This bastard actually dared to refuse my call. She refused to believe it and called again stubbornly. Call a few more times and that bastard will definitely answer. Beep beep beep. Roy, your number has been blocked by the other party. Please do not call again. Mu Qingzu's pretty face turned dark. And now she wanted to cut Xiao Yi into pieces and break his bones. At this time, the information bar lights up, indicating that there are unchecked messages. Is it possible that Xiao Yi is not convenient to answer the phone now, so he sends a message instead? Mu Qingzu's mood improved and she opened the message bar. Gang Tai. Zhuor, did you check my message? That's great, I'll send the things to you tomorrow. Bang! Mu Qingzu exerted force with her right hand and crushed the communicator with her bare hands. This thing can't even make a phone call, so what's the point of keeping it? That bastard, did you think I really wanted to find you? 10 minutes later, she decided to go to Kunpeng College in person tomorrow to find someone and discuss the matter of being a shield with him face to face. First fool the parents, then fool the young man from the Yi family. The other side. Villa No. 10 in the No, Free Lakeview Villa area. Living room on the first floor. Xiao Yi put down the communicator's speechless lie and complained. It's probably a sales call from a lady from a private club. She's really working hard to attract customers. It's already 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and she's still working hard to attract new customers. He has all the contact information of his acquaintances and remembers each of their phone numbers. She never answers calls from unfamiliar numbers. Club lady? Chengbing. She looked strange. Xiao Yi, do you often go to this kind of place without telling us, so the club lady knows your contact number? Nangong Xiao and Liuya, who were standing by, shifted their attention and looked over. Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. No. Absolutely not. I definitely didn't go to help the poor. Poverty alleviation. Nangong Xiao and Chengbing. She were both confused. What did this mean? Liuya's beautiful eyes revealed a meaningful look, and she said, I believe you. Xiao Yi changed the subject. I still owe Sister Yanqi 5 liters of golden blood. Find a big bottle. I want to bleed. Liuya took out a brand new, unopened, 5-liter urinal, unpacked it and handed it to him. Wondering, blood, what does the dean need this for? Xiao Yi cut his wrist and golden blood spurted out, splashing out to the ceiling and falling like rain from heaven. The golden color illuminated the entire living room, shining brightly. He hurriedly used control of water element to condense all the golden blood into a ball and suspend it in mitra. Golden blood continued to spurt out from the wrist like a water gun, continuously. But Xiao Yi didn't feel weak or sleepy at all. Control of life and death. Control of life factors. All energy in the body can be converted into life substances, so that the body has a strong blood-forming ability. The speed of blood spurting from the wrist is even slower than the speed of blood production by the body. After a while, the volume of the golden blood in the air reached 5 liters, and he stopped bleeding. Then, This ball of golden blood, which possessed powerful strength, was poured into a large urinal. After closing the lid, Xiao Yi clapped his hands in satisfaction and said, "Done." Chapter 201 Upgrade the Phantom Cat Template. Looking at this large urinal, Xiao Yi clapped his hands in satisfaction and said, "Sister Yun, she will probably like it very much." Nangong Xiao's eyes became strange. "This is the first time I've seen someone giving away gifts and urinals. Dean, you won't mind, right?" Cheng Bing, she said nonchalantly. "It's okay, Sister Yun, she wants the golden blood for research, not for drinking. It doesn't matter whether you put it in a urinal or a water bottle." Nangong Xiao thought about it and agreed, as long as it wasn't for drinking. Besides, who would drink blood? Is it perverted? Liu Yi asked. "Xiao Yi, after your template evolved, the human body also received feedback and underwent a metamorphosis like evolution. The blood contains many mysteries and unknowns. Will it leak privacy if you give it to the dean for research?" Xiao Yi shook his head and reassured her. The evolution of the template is something deeper than the template defect. Sister Yun, she has been troubled by the template problem for more than 1,000 years and has not solved it. Do you think she can research the evolution of the template? Impossible. No matter how much golden blood you give her, or how long she studies, it's all in vain. In the end, it will probably be a waste of effort, and she won't come up with anything. The golden blood was given to him, and Xiao Yi gained a lot of benefits. The entire elf tribe was captured and taken into the secret realm of the Holy Spirit. Xiao Yi looked at the collagen-filled face of the sexy mature female assistant Liu Yu and said, "I have prepared the upgrade resources for the Spirit Cat template. Sister Liu Yu, are you ready to upgrade? You have to think carefully after the template is upgraded. It is equivalent to having a brand new, more powerful template. The realm returns to zero and needs to be cultivated again. Liu Yu's current realm is the first star of the Great Venerable. It will take about 2 or 3 months to practice again." Liu Yu had already thought about it and nodded solemnly. "I'm ready anytime." Xiao Yi opened the viewing function of the template adjuster. SSS level Phantom Cat template upgradable mythical Phantom Ancestor Cat template. Click on the word upgradable to display the upgrade conditions. 50 Fate Rule Fragment Crystals, 50 Spirit Rule Fragment Crystals, 50 Thunder Rule Fragment Crystals. Xiao Yi frowned and looked ugly. Liu Yu thought he was worried about her, so she smiled and said, "I can accept retraining. When can I upgrade the template?" Xiao Yi showed an apologetic look and said, "Sorry, it seems like we're still missing something. We need 50 lightning at rebuke fragment crystals." Liu Yu's eyes lit up. She knew Xiao Yi could extract rule fragment crystals from monsters. Thunder attribute. Thunder attribute monsters are very common. There are many thunder attribute monsters in the small sub-territory. And she called a deputy director of the training base and told him about her needs. "Yes, as soon as possible. I need it urgently." 1 minute after hanging up the phone, welcomed in the deputy chief, who was at the peak of the Great Venerable Realm. A deputy chief handed over a storage ring and said with a smile, "Teacher, I just killed more than 100 thunder-attributed Grandmaster level monsters at the fastest speed. Their bodies are all in here." Xiao Yi was surprised. This speed was too fast, only 1 minute. After taking the storage ring, Xiao Yi came to the basement, released the corpses of thunder-attributed monsters one by one, and then activated the extraction function of the template adjuster. The fragments of a recently dead monster or one on the verge of death can be easily extracted. The vast power of extraction is coming. The monster corpse on the ground seemed to have suffered a great terror. It began to twitch and tremble, and finally turned into powder. Grandmaster level Thunder attribute monster successfully extracted 60 Thunder attribute rule fragment crystals. The Thunder attributed monster at the Grandmaster level successfully extracted 40 crystals of the fragments of the rules of creation. Xiao Yi took out a Thunder attributed crystal, and suddenly lightning flashed in the basement and thunder roared. The lightning attribute fragment crystal successfully recognized its master, Xiao Yi. When I returned to the living room on the first floor, only 5 minutes had passed. The deputy chief was talking about something with Yuya. All the disciples have gone back, only a few stayed to develop in the demon city-based city, including senior brother Skinny Monkey and senior sister King Kong Barbie. After Xiao Yi came up, he gave him a thumb-sized crystal essence and a fist-sized artistic conception crystal as rewards. The deputy chief happily accepted it, patted his chest and said that he could always be contacted if he had any problems in the future. The essence of artistic conception crystal, a thumb-sized piece, weighs 1 kilogram. It is in short supply in the market, and 1 kilogram can be sold for a great venerable crystal core. It is extremely rare and is almost only circulated within large families and not sold outside. Artistic crystals can be purchased through Pridra on the market, but 1 kilogram also requires a venerable crystal core, which is also a rare item. Xiao Yi, who had 5,000 tons of essence and 50,000 tons of crystals, said it was no problem. The invisible assets and crystal cores he currently possesses are comparable to or even exceed those of the Hong family. The deputy chief left half an hour later. Xiao Yi took Liu Yan into the Holy Spirit's secret realm to upgrade the template, left Cheng Bingxi and Nan Gongxiao outside, and gave 100 kilograms of crystal essence to Cheng Bingxi, who was at the Grand Master level. The secret realm of the Holy Spirit. In the rock layer 10,000 meters underground in the Warcraft mountains, the Elf King and the 9 Elven Elders were very happy, and they couldn't help showing the joy on their faces. After their investigation, they found that within a radius of 10,000 miles, there were no humans, no Han family, no base city, only monsters. Those magical beasts that seem to be full of destructive power only move on the ground. Underground, there is not even any trace of Warcraft activity. This means that they can occupy the underground, unthreatened, and without having to worry about being targeted by powerful beings. Among those magical beasts on the ground, the most powerful one is only at the peak level of Great Venerable. After careful consideration, the Elf King and the 9 Elven Elders started a meeting. After some discussion, they decided that the elves would take root and survive in the rock layer 10,000 meters underground. After only a few hours of hard work, with the efforts of the Phantom Elf King Beast, this layer of rock was hollowed out, forming an extremely huge underground space. Huge pieces of essence were formed by the innate skills of the Elf King and the Elf Elders who were at the peak of the Great Venerable Realm. When Xiao Yi and Liu Yi appeared in this space, the new elven land had already taken shape and was showing a prosperous color. There was a flash of white light. The Elf King at the peak of the Great Venerable Realm and 9 Elf Elders appeared in front of Xiao Yi and the others. Feeling their powerful aura, Liu Yi became nervous. But the Elf King said very friendly, "My 2 friends, don't be nervous. We want to thank you for helping our elves escape from the clutches of the Han family and finding a more suitable habitat for our elves." The 9 Elven Elders echoed, "Yes, thank you very much, young friend." The Elf King named Xiao Yi the honorary elder of the Elf clan. He also promised to give Xiao Yi a certain amount of crystals and essences every once in a while. Chapter 200 to Mythical Spiritual Ancestral Cat Template. Xiao Yi was a little surprised. The 9 Elven Elders had no objection, as this was the result of their meeting. They are not afraid of Xiao Yi, but the supreme being behind Xiao Yi. At that time, all the elves were imprisoned, unable to move their bodies, and even unable to release their mental power, but their minds were still clear and their eyes could see the outside world. I know that Xiao Yi, this human boy, has a close relationship with the human supreme. The Elf King took out a storage ring and spoke in human language. My elves will offer 1 ton of essence and 10 tons of crystals every month. This is almost 1/3 of our elves' monthly output. I hope this young friend will not think it is too little. May he ask your name, young friend? My last name is Xiao. And my name is Xiao Yi. Since it was so easy to obtain crystal stones and essences, Xiao Yi simply accepted the storage ring and said, "I agree to your terms." The Elf King was very happy and shouted, "Okay, in this case, from now on you will be the honorary elder of our elf clan. Elder Xiao." He winked, and the 9 Elven Elders at the peak of the Great Venerable Realm beside him all addressed him solemnly. "Elder Xiao. Elder Xiao. Elder Xiao. Greetings, Elder Xiao." Xiao Yi nodded in response. After the matter was settled, Xiao Yi was about to leave but was stopped by the Elf King. It said a little embarrassed lie. "Well, Elder Xiao, can you keep the storage ring for your belongings? My tribe doesn't know how to make this kind of human tool. So if we use one, we'll have one less." Xiao Yi was surprised, moved the things inside, and threw the storage ring to the Elf King. This storage ring has a storage space of 100 cubic meters, and is only 3 meters long, wide and high, which is pitifully small. Xiao Yi and Liu Yi then entered the heart of the secret realm and came to the prairie. Looking at the endless prairie, the two prepared to upgrade the template here. 9 divine marks are suspended on the edge of the prairie. These are the divine marks of the patriarchs of the 9 top races in the Holy Spirit secret realm. Prairie Center. Xiao Yi and Liu Yi mobilized the power of the contract, activated the SSS level Phantom Cat template, and began to summon the contracted beast. A dreamy glow spread out, and a nimble figure descended from the sky. A 1-star Great Venerable Realm Phantom Cat appears. It's at Rebutzer Phantom, and its body is that of a large silver cat, with flexible and agile limbs and a pair of eyes that can see through darkness. It is quite huge, 100 meters high and 400 meters long. In my mind, Xiao Yi and Liu exist as conscious entities. Xiao Yi could feel the unprecedented powerful force within the spirit cat, which was the power of a great venerable. Liu controlled the spirit cat to roll several times on the ground for the first time in a long time, crushing a large area of grass on the prairie. My mental energy seems to be consumed a lot. The summoning of the spirit cat can only last for 1 or 2 hours, Xiao Yi said in some surprise. Liu Yi thought for a moment and answered, "Perhaps your human form realm is too low, only 1 star of the venerable, which is far from 1 star of the great venerable." Xiao Yi felt that this possibility was very high. Then, Xiao Yi released 50 pieces of creation type, 50 pieces of thunder type, and 50 pieces of phantom type fragment crystals. and the template upgrade function of the template adjuster was started. SSS level Phantom Cat template upgradable mythical Phantom Ancestor Cat template. Click upgrade. Confirm the upgrade. A vast and mysterious force of order was born out of thin air, descending from the sky and covering the Phantom Cat and the fragmented crystals. In an instant, the thunder attribute fragment crystals burst out with a rich thunder attribute power, and there were bursts of thunder, lightning and thunder, tens of millions of volts at the scene. A true and false array burst out from the spiritual fragment crystals, sometimes real and sometimes illusory. The true and false aura spread out and spread throughout the entire prairie. The creation fragments and crystals burst out with a mysterious aura. Crawling on the prairie in this way, the prairie was struck by hundreds of dark lightning from time to time, and a smell of burning emerged. From time to time, it became transparent and illusory, as if in a fairy tale, making people feel very unreal. Then, the crystals of the rule fragments of the three attributes escaped into the body of the spirit cat. The three characteristics also emerge on the body of the Phantom Cat. Reality, illusion, thunder and lightning. Oh, Yuya felt like she was numbed by the electric shock. She is a Phantom Cat and is very familiar with the Phantom and Spirit attributes, but the Thunder attribute is different. It was the first time she was electrocuted. Chao Yi said, "If you can't help it, just scream out." Yuya wanted to roll her eyes. "You're the one who would scream." At this time, the original power of order that descended and covered the Spirit Cat took effect, guiding the power of rules of the three fragment crystals that had escaped into it to merge into the whole body, and then gathered deep in the genes and fed back into the template in the dark. Chao Yi and Liuya were in a state of enlightenment. True and false, real and fake, true and false. Real and fake and real switching. Tens of millions of volts, violent force. 1,000 miles in an instant. A mysterious aura of ancient times also emerges from the body of the ghost cat. The mysterious aura seemed to correspond to the spiritual blood in the spiritual cat's body, becoming more and more ancient and more vicissitudes of life. 10,000 meters underground. The Elf King and the Elf Elder were both shocked, their blood boiling. The Elf Elder looked at each other in shock and said, "This is blood resonance. Strange, is this the same as the artistic conception bombing? Resonance and then explosion? Damn it, who is doing this? Do you want to blow us up? Monster bomb?" The Elf King raised his hand and pressed it, signaling everyone to be patient. He said calmly, "Don't worry. I vaguely know some reasons." The Elf Elder looked at him and asked what the reason was. "Elf King. This is recorded in the inheritance of the Elf King's throne. The ancestor of the Phantom Spirit has the ability to control the Phantom Spirit clan and can easily control the life and death of the Phantom Spirit clan. Similar to the innate means we have, controlling the bombardment of artistic conception crystals. The means of the Phantom Ancestor are more advanced and mysterious, and can control the Phantom bloodline of the Phantom clan." The Elf Elders were shocked. The Phantom Ancestor. The word ancestor sounds very ancient. That's right. They are only a few hundred to nearly 1,000 years old, and have never seen the Phantom Ancestor, or even heard of it. This is the first time they heard about it from the Elf King. The Elf King frowned. "It is recorded in the inheritance of the throne that the ancestor of the Phantom Spirits has long transcended the universe and controls the origin of the Phantom Spirit universe. Even though he commands tens of millions of Phantom Spirit tribes, he no longer cares about worldly affairs. Why would our blood vibrate and resonate? Did he come to Blue Star?" Its words made the faces of the Elf Elders change suddenly. A being of that level would actually come to Blue Planet. I don't know whether it is good or bad. Suddenly, at this moment, waves of increasingly strong auras of vicissitudes permeated the space from far away. The Elf King and the Elf Elders were all tense and their faces were solemn. The Elf King sensed something and hesitated. "I seem to be able to sense the source of this aura. Should we go over and take a look?" "Have a look?" The Elf Elders were shocked. As the feeling became stronger, the Elf King made up his mind. "Let's go and pay homage to the Phantom Ancestor." The Elf Elders looked grim and said, "Okay, let's go. We also want to meet this legendary figure." Chapter 203. Tens of millions of volts. 1,000 miles in an instant. In the center of the prairie, as the crystals of regular fragments centered one after another, the template upgrade of the Spirit Cat entered the final stage. The upgrade of the Spirit Cat caused quite a stir, with thunder and lightning filling the entire prairie, which sometimes turned into illusion and sometimes into reality. Since the top races in the Holy Spirit secret realm were far away, they did not attract their attention. But at this time, the king and elders of the elves came here, smelling the ancient and vicissitudes of life. When they saw the Phantom Cat with a supreme aura in the center of the prairie, the 10 spiritual elves at the peak of the great venerable realm were all shocked. The phantom blood in their bodies began to resonate, and the resonance frequency instantly increased by more than 100 times, and the phantom energy became extremely agitated. They felt an urge to surrender. The Elf Elder was shocked and said, "Is this the power of the Phantom Ancestor? It is so shocking to the elves." Just relying on his aura and spirit alone makes me want to kneel down and surrender if we fight head-on. I don't think I will be able to muster the heart to resist. Fight? You're worthy of it. There was a gleam in the Elf King's eyes. This phantom cat did not seem to be the phantom ancestor, but he had the blood of the phantom ancestor. He guessed that this cat was related to the phantom ancestor by blood. He may very well be the descendant of the phantom ancestor. The phantom cat's realm is not strong, only at the first level. At this time, the phantom cat's upgrade has reached the final stage, and its realm continues to decline, falling to the first level of the mortal realm. The Elf King was thinking in his heart whether he should establish a close and friendly relationship with this phantom cat, the bloodline of the original ancestor. Maybe he could tie him up with him in the future and help the elves break away from the control of the human supreme and the control of the human supreme and the control of humans. However, this plan still needs to be discussed with the elf elders. Immediately, the Elf King told the matter to the elven elders. Some elven elders strongly agreed, while others were strongly opposed. They agree. Although Elder Shao looks harmless and can be killed with one hand, he has the supreme behind him. He is in the human camp and is not the same as us elves. He may stab us in the back at any time. I agree, everyone. Don't forget what the Hong family has done to us. They exploit us every year and make us very annoyed. I think the supreme being behind Elder Shao is the same. Humans are all the same and will never be satisfied. Yes, I agree. We are on good terms with Elder Shao on the surface, but secretly we are on guard against each other. It is impossible for elves and humans to live in harmony. I object. We elves cannot get along with humans, but I think the phantom ancestor is more dangerous than humans. Among the 9 great elders at the peak level, 7 were in favor and 2 were against. The Elf King finalized the meeting's outcome and said, "The minority obeys the majority." As a result of this meeting, the elves will do their best to establish a close and friendly relationship with the ancestral bloodline phantom cats. Upon hearing this, most of the elven elders showed joy on their faces. After finishing the discussion, they stood at the edge of the prairie, quietly waiting for the phantom cat, the ancestral bloodline, to wake up. They could guess that the phantom cat was carrying out some kind of mysterious inheritance. In the center of the prairie, the phantom cat is in a state of enlightenment. Template upgrade completed. Mythical phantom cat template. Realm, first level. Talent and skills. Phantom spirit control. Control the phantom spirit factor. Control the phantom spirit bloodline. Virtual real transformation. Self-transformation, can also transform external objects. Range of effect skill. 1,000 miles in a moment, transform into lightning and reach the speed of light. 10 million volts. Lightning strike, range attack, with paralysis, burning and lightning effects. Insights emerged in Xiaoyi and Liuya's minds. And talented skills were born. The epiphany ended, the upgrade was complete, and the two woke up. Liuya was very happy. The phantom cat was finally upgraded at this moment. Her summoned beast was the phantom ancestor cat. The level is mythical. The realm has indeed dropped to the first level of the mortal realm. Xiaoyi felt a little regretful. Liuya did not feel sorry but comforted him. Compared to more than 100 years, 2 or 3 months fast in the blink of an eye, the great venerable realm is within reach. It's okay. At this time, the strange vision on the prairie disappeared, and only a phantom ancestor cat that was 100 meters tall and 400 meters long stood in the center. The Elf King and the Elf Elders were still watching at the edge of the prairie, discussing whether they should go over to greet it and win it over. Xiaoyi had noticed them a long time ago. He immediately activated the talent skill 8,000 miles in an instant, transform into lightning and reach the speed of light. A flash of lightning appeared out of nowhere, and the next moment, the phantom ancestor cat appeared in front of the Elf King. Just now the distance between the two was more than 20 miles. Or more than 10,000 meters. It took the phantom ancestral cat 0.1 microseconds to cross this distance. The Elf King and the 9 elven elders were shocked. They didn't even have time to react. Their physical eyes and spiritual thoughts couldn't see the movement clearly, and this phantom spirit ancestor had already reached them. If the hostility really breaks out, they won't even have time to react before they die in the northwest. Greetings to the ancestor of the phantom spirit. The Elf King and the elven elders all looked respectful and greeted him. Xiaoyi and Liuya's faces turned dark. After performing the skill of traveling 1,000 miles in an instant, 2/3 of the energy in the phantom cat's body was consumed. At this time, the energy in the body could not even be used to activate the skill of traveling 1,000 miles in an instant. Liuya's consciousness said, "Xiaoyi, let's hurry up and improve our realm. The first level of the mortal realm is really a bit weak." Xiaoyi's mouth twitched. "Just now, didn't you feel it was a pity to lose the great venerable realm? Are you regretting it now?" Liuya, "No. I won't regret it, ever." The Elf King and the Elf Elders felt a little nervous when they saw that the phantom ancestor cat had a sullen face and didn't speak. The Elf King said cautiously, "We are the elves of the Blue Star Dragon country with phantom attributes. I am the Elf King and they are the elders. May I ask if you can move to our tribe?" "We will definitely." Before he could finish his words, he was interrupted by the phantom ancestor cat. Stop. I can't go to your clan's land. If you have something to say, just say it. These brief words made the Elf King very happy. The words of the phantom ancestor meant that he had no hostility towards elves like himself, and was even willing to listen to their wishes. The Elf King said with reverence, Master Ancestor, you are in urgent need of cultivation resources. We the elves can provide them, and our elven land can also serve as a shelter for you to grow. He threw 100-meter-tall crystal essence onto the prairie, and the essence exuded a mysterious aura. This is a specialty of our tribe. It is a token of our tribe's love. Please accept it, sir. Looking at the essence as big as a mountain, Xiao Yi and Liu Ye were a little dumbfounded. The piece of essence the size of a thumb weighs 1 kilogram and can be sold for a great venerable crystal core. This 100-meter-tall mountain of essence must weigh at least 10,000 tons. Chapter 200 for Rapid Breakthrough, Unlimited Upgrade. The phantom primitive cat said, Didn't you else just trade with humans and give away 1/3 of your resources? How come you still have so many? The Elf King and the Elf Elders were shocked. How did you know this? Could it be that the ancestral elf can see through the past of every phantom monster? This kind of ability was the first time the Elf King had seen it. The Elf King's eyes lit up with wisdom, and he said calmly, My Lord Ancestor. In fact, I only gave the Xiao family a few scraps. That little bit of resources is less than 1/50th of my tribe's monthly output. The last time the elves landed, the resources they provided to the Hong family were also some leftovers. There are as many as 500 to 600 king beasts in my tribe, 80 of which are above the venerable realm, and there are more than 100 great venerable realms. If we work at our full strength, the total output of essence in a month can reach up to 1 million tons. It's just that our tribe's dependence on essence is neither strong nor weak, so we don't need to produce so much. The essence produced each month is enough for us. Xiao Yi and Liu Ye's faces turned dark. We believed you, but you fooled us. The resources provided every month are said to be 1/3, but are they just scraps? Not even 1/50th. After finishing speaking, the Elf King said proudly, My Lord Ancestor, that human named Xiao will never know, of course. I believe you will not go out and spread rumors. The phantom ancestor cat snorted coldly, his eyes icy. I don't like treacherous phantoms. The Elf King and the Elf Elder looked at each other. The Elf King began to panic and subconsciously wanted to refute that it was a human, not a phantom. There are many races of phantom spirits, and they often fight with each other, not to mention humans. But before he could say anything, the Elf King realized that he couldn't talk back. Otherwise this hard-earned moment of communication would end at any time. If the ancestor left, they would probably never meet again. I was wrong, Lord Ancestor. After your reminder, I will definitely mend my ways. Explain things honestly to the human surnamed Xiao, and actually give 1/3 of the resources every month, said the Elf King. The phantom ancestor cat smiled and said, Very good, you correct your mistakes and keep your integrity. I like this kind of quality. The Elf King was overjoyed and invited him to visit the elf's territory again. The phantom proto-cat refused. I am very optimistic about you. We will meet again in the future. He took out a bottle of Grand Master's inferior energy liquid, and the phantom ancestral cat drank it on the spot. The energy liquid is pure energy that has been purified through complex technology. It can be absorbed without refining and removing impurities. However, after the energy liquid enters the body of the phantom ancestor cat, it is absorbed in milliseconds, after being transformed into its own phantom energy. The phantom ancestral cat's realm broke through 6 levels in a row. 1,000 miles in a moment, transform into lightning speed to reach the speed of light. It immediately activated its lightning attributed innate skill, and a crack like lightning flashed between heaven and earth. And it disappeared in front of all the elves on the spot. Break through level 6 into seconds? The Elf King and the Elf Elder wiped their eyes in disbelief, with shock in their eyes. When they put their hands down, they found that the phantom ancestral cat had left. They released their divine consciousness outside their bodies, but were unable to capture the direction from which he left. The speed was too fast. It exceeded the limit of the divine mind's ability to capture the dynamics. At this moment, above the Holy Spirit's secret realm, a long and narrow lightning flashed across tens of thousands of kilometers and reached the other side of the Holy Spirit's secret realm in a split second. On a desolate border, the phantom Protoss cat appeared on the ground. Xiao Yi couldn't help but be amazed at this speed. Too fast. What he was sure of was that even the flying speed of the Supreme Being could not be so fast. Unless the Supreme One tears the space open, enters the space crack, finds the space node, and performs space jump, the speed of traveling can be faster than the phantom ancestor cat. It also takes time for the Supreme One to find the space node. The familiar space node can be found quickly and space jump can be performed through the node. If it is an unfamiliar place, the Supreme will be confused when looking at the countless space nodes, and will not know which node is the space node leading to the destination. Generally speaking, the positions of spatial nodes are fixed. Liuya felt that her talent of traveling 1,000 miles in an instant consumed too much energy, crossing a distance of tens of thousands of kilometers. She had used up all the lightning energy in the body of the phantom ancestral cat, otherwise, she could have gone even further. A phantom energy and thunder energy in the body of the phantom ancestral cat can be freely transformed into each other. All the energy in the body has been drained by this innate skill. Next, Xiaoyi took out bottles of energy liquid from the system space, and the phantom ancestral cat drank bottle after bottle of energy liquid. Grandmaster's low-grade energy liquid, medium-grade and high-grade energy liquid. Just less than 2 minutes had passed. A realm of the phantom ancestral cat was promoted to the 9th level of the mortal realm. As long as you comprehend the power of artistic conception that belongs to your own attributes, you can enter the Grandmaster realm. Liuya felt very surprised and happy. The rocket-like speed of upgrading made her so happy that she almost screamed out loud. Retracing the path of cultivation, Liuya easily comprehended the power of the artistic conception of phantom attributes, the artistic conception of reality and illusion. But the power of one artistic conception is not enough. At this time, the phantom ancestral cat has two attributes. One is the phantom attribute, and the other is the thunder attribute. If you don't want your foundation to be superficial and to lay a solid foundation at each stage, you must comprehend the power of the artistic conception of the two attributes. Liuya, an excellent teaching assistant at the Magic City Academy, understood. A thunder attribute is a new attribute, but for the phantom ancestral cat with mythical potential, comprehending the power of artistic conception is as easy as playing. Only 2 minutes passed. A kind of artistic conception power filled with violent aura burst out from the body of the phantom ancestor cat. This is the mood of thunder and lightning. After successfully comprehending the two artistic conceptions, his realm naturally broke through to the Grandmaster level. Xiaoyi once again took out bottles of energy liquid from the system space and controlled the phantom ancestral cat to drink them one by one. Grandmaster's top grade energy liquid. Grandmaster's lower grade energy liquid. Grandmaster's middle grade energy liquid. The upgrade cost of a mythical template summon beast is much more terrifying than that of an SSS level template summon beast, almost dozens of times that of an SSS level one. To upgrade the phantom ancestral cat to the Grandmaster realm, using the Grandmaster's superior energy liquid is not enough, and the Grandmaster's inferior energy liquid is required. As he drank bottle after bottle of energy liquid, it was transformed into his own phantom energy and lightning energy. The number of the two kinds of artistic conception power of the phantom ancestral cat is also increasing. Almost every 10 minutes, a small breakthrough can be made. The sound of the breakthrough in realm advancement is so wonderful that it is beyond words. An hour and a half later, the phantom ancestral cat's realm was successfully promoted to the Grandmaster 10 stars. Just one step away from entering the Grandmaster realm. A condition for a Grandmaster to be promoted to the Grandmaster level is the transformation of the quality of the power of artistic conception. Chapter 205, The Peak of Grandmaster Realm. Of course, as for other people, they must be able to skillfully use the power of artistic conception, or even master the use of the power of artistic conception. Liuya and Xiaoyi have both gone through the Grandmaster realm and know how to use the power of artistic conception in combat and how to use the power of artistic conception to assist in the release of skills. A power of artistic conception can enhance the power of one's own skills to a certain extent, and each attribute has its own characteristics. For example, the supreme artistic conception represents dominance and supremacy, and has a deterrent effect. Artistic conception is the advancement of energy and has the effect of attribute energy. At this stage, the phantom ancestral cat is at the peak of the Grandmaster level and is only one step away from the Grandmaster level. The state of enlightenment may be difficult for other summon beasts to enter and realize, but for mythical summon beasts, enlightenment is within reach. Especially when the realm reached the critical point. The phantom ancestral cat automatically entered the state of enlightenment of the power of artistic conception. The illusory artistic conception and the transition between reality and delusion. The artistic conception of thunder and lightning is extremely violent. After a deep understanding, he has understood how to cultivate the two kinds of artistic conception power. In an hour, the energy in the body of the phantom ancestor cat surged wildly, and it continued to quickly condense the power of artistic conception in the direction of comprehension. In this way, the quality of the power of artistic conception continued to increase. And soon the two powers of artistic conception underwent a transformation. The phantom ancestral cat successfully broke through to the Grandmaster level. One starring Grandmaster realm. Xiaoyi, in the form of a conscious being, could feel Liuya's excitement. Liuya was very excited. Do you know how long it took me to advance from the peak of Grandmaster level to the Grandmaster level to the Grandmaster level? For a year and a half. It took me a year and a half to condense the power of artistic conception and make it of acceptable quality. Xiaoyi smiled and said, "You have used 1 hour now, which shortens the time a little bit. the Yuya said excitedly. Yes, the time has been shortened a little bit. Next, the Phantom Ancestral Cat began to practice to the Grand Master level. The Great Master realm is also the cultivation of the power of artistic conception. Xiaoyi took out the prepared Grand Master's superior energy liquid and the Venerable's inferior energy liquid and drank them bottle by bottle. The Phantom Ancestor Cat entered a state of cultivation. The qualifications of a mythical template are dozens or even hundreds of times higher than those of an SSS level template, and the speed of cultivation can be said to be advancing by leaps and bounds. The Phantom Ancestral Cat can break through a small level every hour. After consuming the energy liquid purified from 20 venerable crystal cores. 9 hours later, which was the morning of the second day after entering the Holy Spirit's secret realm, his realm was elevated to the 10th star of the Grand Master realm. At this moment, the energy in the body of the Phantom Ancestor Cat was surging, and the artistic conception power of the two attributes was as real as substance. 10 stars in the Grand Master realm, done. A go from the Grand Master realm to the Venerable realm. One needs to release the power of one's artistic conception, form a momentum, and then condense into an exclusive domain. Based on the previous times of practice, Xiaoyi estimated that it would take at least one day to break through the Venerable realm. So he left the mind of the Phantom Ancestor Cat. A spot of light emerged from its head, fell to the ground, and turned into Xiaoyi in human form. Standing on the desolate ground, staring at the behemoth that was over 100 meters tall, Xiaoyi warned, "Sister Liuya, you continue to practice, I have other things to do." The Phantom Ancestor Cat said speechlessly, "I think you want to sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor." Xiaoyi's face turned red with embarrassment. He was actually seen through. He took out 20 lower-grade crystal cores of the Great Venerable from the system space, and used the Xuan Huang gem and its purification function to absorb the energy in the crystal cores, and purified them into balls of pure energy liquid suspended in the air. Put the balls of pure energy liquid into standard energy liquid bottles, a total of 100 bottles. After giving the Venerable lower-grade energy liquid to Liuya, Xiaoyi left. With 3 training girls, he doesn't need to practice by himself all the time. As the summoned beasts advance and become stronger, his body will respond and become stronger. The power of artistic conception and the perception of innate skills will also be fed back to himself, which is equivalent to practicing by himself. 1,000 miles in a moment, transform into lightning and reach the speed of light. Xiaoyi, who was at the 2nd star of the Venerable realm, immediately used this skill and transformed into a flash of lightning that flashed across the sky above the Holy Spirit's secret realm. Arrived above the Elves' land. He used transformation of virtual and real, transform oneself, transform external objects. In a flash, Xiaoyi's body turned from solid to virtual, and became a ethereal state, which is the same state as the Phantom Elf. He burrowed into the thick soil and used the skill 1,000 miles in an instant. A long, narrow streak of virtual lightning flashed beneath the ground and rushed towards the deep underground. After 0.3 seconds, Xiaoyi appeared in the new tribe of the Phantom Elves. He inherited the skills of the Summoned Beast and could use the Summoned Beast's innate skills freely, but the effects would be reduced. For example, he could travel 1,000 miles in an instant and his speed was only 1% of the speed of light. But even so, this speed is enough to be proud of. The speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second, and 1% of it is 3,000 kilometers per second, or 3 million meters per second. A new elven territory was still under construction. The Elf King and the Elven Elders were discussing the Phantom Ancestral Cat in the simple King's palace. "King, do we really have to give that human 1/3 of the resources?" asked the Elf Elder. The Elf King hesitated. At this time, a figure appeared in the center of the hall and asked, "Hello, Elf Elders, Elf King. What does it mean to give 1/3 of the resources truthfully? Could it be that the resources you gave me before were not even 1/3, but just scraps?" The Elf King and the Elf Elders were startled and stood up immediately. They didn't even notice how Xiaoyi arrived, nor did they notice when Xiaoyi arrived. This is terrifying. Could it be that the Supreme Being is right next to them, but just hasn't shown up? The Elf King and the Elf Elder looked at each other and saw the solemnity in each other's eyes. Xiaoyi frowned and asked the question again. "Elf King, answer my question." The Elf King smiled awkwardly and said, "Me Elder Xiao. Elder Xiao, we the elves did not lie to you, we gave you 1/3 of the resources." Xiaoyi was very dissatisfied. He was still lying at this time, so he took out his trump card and said, "I just met a big cat, it said that the elves gave me less resources. It gave me less than 1/50th of what they gave me, it was just some scraps. Tell me, should I believe that big cat? Or should I believe what you, the Elf King, say? Big cat. 1 in 50 scraps?" Upon hearing this, the Elf King and the Elf Elders were horrified. The Elf King's expression changed in shock. Elder Xiao knew all this because he must have encountered the Phantom Spirit Ancestral Cat. The big cat he met must be the Phantom Spirit Ancestral Cat. I didn't expect that the Phantom Ancestor Cat would take this matter so seriously that he would reveal it to a human. He actually attaches so much importance to quality. After thinking about it for a while, the Elf King said apologetically, Elder Shao, it was actually our warehouse manager who made a mistake in counting the resources last time. He miscalculated the total number of resources, so we gave the wrong amount of resources. I am discussing with the Elf Elders about making amends to you. From now on, we will truthfully report to you 1/3 of the monthly resource output every month. Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. I don't believe you at all. You are such a bad guy. The warehouse manager made a mistake when counting resources. Chapter 206 The City Lord's daughter comes to visit. How do I know if the resources you give me next time will be 1/3 of your tribe's monthly output? Xiao Yi narrowed his eyes with a dangerous glint in his eyes. It seems that I need to use strong means. Do you remember how I captured you? The Elf King was so frightened that he trembled all over, pointed his finger at the sky and said, I can swear a blood oath to the Phantom Ancestor that the resources I offer in the future will definitely be 1/3 otherwise. I, the Elf King, will never be able to break through the Supreme Realm. A dazzling light emerged from his blood, reflecting the truth of the words. Taking his hand back, he said angrily, Elder Shao, now you believe it, right? The blood oath is equivalent to the oath of heaven. If the oath is not fulfilled, the curse will come true and become reality. Seeing his sincerity, Xiao Yi stopped pursuing the matter and stretched out his hand, saying, Give it to me. The Elf King smiled awkwardly. My clan does not have a large storage ring. Elder Shao, please follow me. He led the way. And the Elf Elder followed. A minute later, the Elf King and the Elf Elders brought Xiao Yi to the core of the Elf clan's territory, which was the place where the essence of artistic conception and artistic conception crystals were stored. This is a small space beneath the elves' underground, a cave with exquisite decorations. When Xiao Yi stepped in here, what caught his eyes were huge pieces of essence. Each hundreds of meters in size. There were 3 in total. There are also 9 huge crystal stones that are hundreds of meters in size. More than a dozen cubic crystals and essences that are hundreds of meters in size filled the small cave, leaving only an aisle. The Elf King held out his hand and said proudly, Elder Shao, these are all the crystals and essence resources that our clan currently has. Since I have made a bloodline oath, I will never break my promise. I will give 1/3 of the resources to Elder Shao. Xiao Yi was not pretentious. He stretched out his hand and waved to collect one of the 100-meter-sized cube essences, and also collected the 300-meter-sized cube crystals on the other side. All of a sudden, the small cave became bright. The Elf King and the Elf Elders showed envious expressions. Such a large portable storage space is really enviable. Goodbye. Xiao Yi clapped his hands, entered the heart of the secret realm and left the Holy Spirit secret realm. He gave Liu Ya the authority to enter and exit the Holy Spirit secret realm freely. She could control the circular halo and enter and exit at will, so there was no need to worry about her encountering danger and being unable to escape. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. Kunpeng College's first-year class of geniuses. A woman with a perfectly proportioned body walked down the corridor. She looked around with her beautiful eyes, trying to find a certain figure. But I saw a group of people surrounding a little fat boy, constantly flattering him. As expected of Brother Yi, he has been promoted to Grand Master level so quickly. It has only been a few days since school started, not even a month. Brother Yi, you are already the top student in the freshman year. That's right. At this rate of advancement, we can expect to be promoted to Grand Master level by the time we graduate from our senior year. The chubby boy is called Ding Yi. He is an SS level Beastmaster, and his contractor is an SS level template. He was a little bit proud, and said with a face full of pride, Who am I? I am Ding Yi. The chubby Ding Yi looked around and spotted a naturally beautiful girl with long black hair standing at the door. She looked young, but she was not a student in the Tianjiaoi class. She was probably a student in an ordinary class in the freshman year. Long straight black hair. Long straight black hair. He pushed through the crowd and walked over, smiling in what he thought was a very handsome way. Schoolgirl, what do you want? Seeing his lewd smile, Mu Qingzu subconsciously took 2 steps back and said, I'm looking for Xiao Yi. Is Xiao Yi here? A little fat boy's face turned dark and he asked, Why did you take 2 steps back? Do you look fat? But Xiao Yi? Who is Xiao Yi? After more than half a month of classes, there seems to be no student named Xiao Yi in the Tianjiaoi class. Classmate, have you come to the wrong place? Mu Qingzu frowned and said firmly, No, Xiao Yi is in this class. She confirmed the information several times before coming. Xiao Yi was a student in the Tianjiaoi class of Kunpeng Academy. A talented student behind the little fat boy raised his hand. Beauty, I know Xiao Shen. Oh, where is Xiao Yi? Mu Qingzu's eyes lit up. The classmate said, Xiao Yi only came to class twice during the first 2 days of school. He was accepted as a disciple by assistant teacher Liu Ya and is studying exclusively in assistant teacher Liu Ya's villa. You can go to assistant teacher Liu Ya's villa. You can go to assistant teacher Liu Ya to find him. Mu Qingzu thanked him and left. The chubby Ding Yi grabbed the shoulders of the genius student and frowned. What big family is Xiao Yi from that he doesn't even need to come to class? Speaking of Xiao Yi, the student showed respect in his eyes and said, Xiao, I don't know which family he is from, but I know he is at the top of the Tianjiahui ranking. Other students also came over and started talking. Other Yi, your home is too far away, and you didn't get to the magic city in time. It's normal that you didn't know Xiaochen 3 or 4 days late. Let me introduce him to you. Xiaoshen, you dared to go to the training base alone 2 days after entering the school on the same day. You defeated all the geniuses of Kunpeng Academy and topped the list of geniuses. Oh, if only I could reach half of Xiaochen's realm, I could beat the entire freshman class. The chubby little Ding Yi was shocked after hearing this. He took out his tablet and checked the list of geniuses, and the list appeared in front of his eyes. He looked from the bottom up. Third on the Tianjiahui list. Yan Tianjun, Ji Yao, the fourth Yanjiahui, 10 stars in the Grandmaster realm. The chubby Ding Yi was confident that he could surpass this man named Yan Tianjun. His eyes then moved up the Tianjiahui list when he saw the information of the second and first place on the Tianjiahui list. He was stunned. First on the Tianjiahui list. Xiaoya, Nangong Saya, oh, the first Yanjiahui, venerable realm to stars. Second on the Tianjiahui list. Xiao Yi, Cheng Bingxi, the great Tianjiahui, Grandmaster 10 stars. The information displayed on the Tianjiahui list must have been tested and must be true, but a freshman at the venerable level? A freshman with 10 stars in the Grandmaster realm? A dean of studies is only at the venerable realm. Most of the teachers at Kunpeng Academy are only at the Grandmaster realm. The little fat boy rubbed his eyes and thought he must have seen it wrong. When I refocused my attention on the list, I saw the same thing. Fuck. I wasn't mistaken. At this moment, the chubby little Ding Yi felt that he had a faith. That is, God Xiao. The other students saw his expression of shock and disbelief, patted him on the shoulder and said, Easy. We can't compare with Xiaoshen. Xiaoshen is not a human. Ding Yi, it's your honor to be praised. Don't get cocky when I call you brother Yi, you will be killed instantly in front of Xiaoshen. The chubby Ding Yi was shocked and shook their hands. Wei, he said in a very childish way. Don't panic, everyone, I am not arrogant, and I am not competing with Xiaoshen. I declare that from now on, I, Ding Yi, will be Xiaochen's loyal follower and will chase him step by step until I can no longer see him. The other side. Xiao Yi, who had just returned to Villa No. 10 in the Sanzai Lakeview Villa District, was visited by someone. Chapter 207, Vixen Mu Qingzu. Mu Qingzu followed the road signs and asked people and found the No. 3 Lakeview Villa District. She threw a venerable realm crystal core to the gatekeeper, who let her in with a smile without asking any questions. Outside the gate of Villa No. 10, Mu Qingzu took 2 deep breaths, raised her slender hand resolutely and knocked on the door. No one came to open the door. She knocked on the door again. A few seconds passed, still no one. Xiao Yi is not here? Mu Qingzu frowned and turned around to look for him somewhere else. At this moment, a corner of the villa door opened, and a small head with a ponytail appeared inside. It was Cheng Bingxi. She had just been practicing in the underground training room, and was just one step away from entering the realm of the venerable. Hey, Miss Qianjin. What's up? Cheng Bingxi looked at Mu Qingzu with a strange expression. Isn't this the arrogant and beautiful girl who pursued Xiao Yi? Why is she here? Is she pursuing him and going straight to his house? Mu Qingzu's pretty face lit up with joy, and she returned and said excitedly, I'm looking for Xiao Yi. Is Xiao Yi here? Cheng Bingxi widened her eyes as expected. It was Xiao Yi's little fangirl. No, I can't let her meet Xiao Yi. Has enough beast girls. 3 in total, and I can't have one more. As for him, he's not here. He hasn't been here for the past few days. Don T come to see him, Cheng Bingxi said defensively. Mu Qingzu was a little speechless. I'm not here to steal your man. What ass with the way you look at your love rival. Where has he gone? I have something urgent to discuss with him. It's very important, very important. Mu Qingzu's face was serious. Seeing that she didn't seem to be lying, and that there was indeed something important, Cheng Bingxi told her, Xiao Yi is also doing something very important now, which will take several days. It is impossible for you to find him. After saying that, he added, he is not in the Magic City. Not in Shanghai, but in another base city? Mu Qingzu's face was full of disappointment. She sighed and said, oh, okay, I'll come to see Xiao Yi in a few days. Bye. Her steps were somewhat stiff as she walked out step by step. Without Xiao Yi, she could hardly imagine how difficult life would be after getting engaged to the young man from the Yi family. She was a little afraid to face the reality. Looking at the desolate and thin figure slowly leaving, Cheng Bingxi bit her lower lip with her pearly teeth. Back then, when Xiao Yi and Zimangchuan were boyfriend and girlfriend, she was also like this, unable to get the love she wanted. Sorry. You like the wrong person. Gazing at the back, Cheng Bingxi muttered to herself. Suddenly, a voice came from behind Cheng Bingxi. and then someone hugged her in his arms. Bing Shi, what are you looking at secretly? Let me take a look. It was Xiao Yi, who had just returned from the Holy Spirit's secret realm. He opened the door a little, and the figure of Mu Qingzu, who was not far away, came into his sight. Why is it this woman? What is she doing here? Xiao Yi was surprised. Cheng Bing Shi snorted coldly. Nothing. Xiao Yi shouted, hey, that girl. What's wrong with you? Xiao Yi knew at once that Mu Qingzu was looking for him here. He and Mu Qingzu had some connection. And it was a deep connection. Cheng Bingshi's pretty face rose. No, I finally let her go. What did you ask her to do? Hearing this familiar voice from a distance, Mu Qingzu paused for a moment and turned back suddenly. Xiao Yi. It was Xiao Yi. He is here. Mu Qingzu came back in great surprise, and returned to the front door. Her pretty face full of joy, and she said excitedly, Xiao Yi, I have something important to talk to you about. Xiao Yi welcomed her in and asked Cheng Bingshi to prepare tea and fruits. Cheng Bingshi ran downstairs directly to the underground training room and said angrily, prepare it yourself. Xiao Yi scratched his head awkwardly, and casually took out the long Jing tea leaves that Cheng Yi had given him from the system's face. Then he cut 20 thumb-sized pieces of crystal essence from the huge cube of essence that was 100 meters in size and placed them on the fruit plate. Then he took 20 of the most yang and strong red fruits and placed them neatly on the fruit plate. Then he used the control of life and death and the control of water element to directly transform the boiling water in the kettle into the original liquid of life substance. After making tea with long Jing tea leaves, I poured a cup for each of them. Xiao Yi motioned for her to drink tea and asked, what do you want to talk to me about? Mu Qingzu was shocked at the fruit plate and tea on the table as the daughter of the city lord. She was well informed and recognized these things. One essence can be sold for one great venerable crystal core. The red fruit is a super kidney treasure that is extremely yang and strong. One can also be sold for one great venerable crystal core. The original liquid of light substance is not simple either. It is the essence of a large amount of light substance condensed. 1 kilogram can also be sold for one great venerable crystal core. The value of these two fruit plates plus the tea is higher than that of a great venerable. Xiao Yi said, a little embarrassed. Lie. I'm sorry, I'm just an ordinary student. I can only use these low-level things to entertain you. It can't compare to the tall and bright places like the city lord's mansion. Mu Qingzu's mouth twitched, and she cursed in her heart. The city lord's mansion is indeed rich, but it is not as extravagant as you. If the city lord's mansion entertained guests like you, it would go bankrupt in no time. She picked up an essence and put it in her pocket, jokingly saying, I only gave you a great venerable crystal core last time, and now I'm getting it back for free. Do you feel bad? Xiao Yi shrugged and said inferently, things are one thing at a time. Last time, it was a reward, and the reward must be accepted, but I am not stingy. What on earth do you want? Isn't it important? Mu Qingzu felt that she had a better understanding of Xiao Yi. He is not stingy, he is even very open-minded, but he doesn't like to suffer losses. I would like to ask you to do me a favor, she said very seriously. Xiao Yi responded, as long as you can pay the reward. Mu Qingzu's expression lit up. Someone will come to ask me for an engagement the day after tomorrow. I want you to pretend to be my lover so that the young man from the Yi family will give up. Xiao Yi ate a red fruit and said, go on. Mu Qingzu felt that he would help her, and said happily, you have to deal with my parents first. Make them believe that we are a couple, and then the day after tomorrow, show your strength as a venerable and defeat the young man from the Yi family. Then my parents will refuse their betrothal gifts and cancel the engagement and marriage contract. Xiao Yi understood that this meant that he was being used as a shield. Yi family, which Yi family? He asked expressionlessly. Mu Qingzu said bluntly, the Yi family is the leader of the 4 major families in the imperial capital. I have an engagement with the young master of the Yi family. I asked you to come here to cancel my engagement with him. Xiao Yi shook his head and said, I refuse. You and I are just pretending to be a couple, not a real couple. Even if we can fool around for a while, our relationship will definitely be hidden. You will be out of it by then. But what about me? I have not only offended the city lord and his wife, but also the Yi family of the imperial capital. You are the daughter of the city lord. They won't cause trouble to you. But I am different. I am just an ordinary person from a low-level base city who can guarantee that the city lord's mansion and the Yi family will not cause trouble to me later. Mu Qingzu's pretty face panicked. But she said firmly, then we will pretend to be lovers forever. Anyway, I will never sign a contract with a man in my life. Chapter 208. The Ancient Holy Realm Spirit. Underground, training room. Cheng Bingshi rushed to the front of the golden dragon with a pouty look on her face, clenched her fists and said, Sayo, this is bad. Xiao Yi is going to be seduced by a vixen. The golden dragon that was in the process of cultivation opened its eyes, and a hint of surprise flashed in its golden pupils. Fox spirit, Sister Bingshi, aren't you the 9-tailed heavenly fox? Which fox spirit are you talking about? Zheng Bingxi rolled her eyes at her, stamped her feet and said anxiously, "Oh, it's not me. It was another woman, the rich young lady who came to seduce Xiao Yi. Let me tell you. Yesterday at the underground crystal mine detection port that it. The golden rag and disappeared, and the young lady Nan Gong Xiao appeared on the ground, frowning and saying, 'You mean the city lord's daughter is pursuing Xiao Yi and has even followed him to his home?' Zheng Bingxi nodded and said angrily, 'Yes, we need to do something, otherwise Xiao Yi's soul will be taken away in a minute. That bad guy Xiao Yi is always willing to help others, especially beautiful women. We can't let him contract a beast girl anymore.' Nan Gong Xiao found it unbelievable and retorted, 'Sister Bingxi, are you overthinking it? The city lord's daughter is a high-ranking figure. I have met her. She is a very arrogant woman. It is impossible for her to pursue Xiao Yi. Although Xiao Yi is excellent, he has contracted 3 beast girls. Would a proud woman like the city lord's daughter be interested in him? That rich young lady might be here for other things.' Zheng Bingxi was speechless and said anxiously, 'Why don't we just verify it, anyway? Xiao Yi can't contract with the beast girl anymore.' Nan Gong Xiao nodded in agreement. 'Yes, Xiao Yi only has 3 beast girls. And he can't have more contracts. Let's go up and see what they are doing.' The two of them agreed to take off their shoes to reveal their white and tender feet, then tiptoe and crouch down to walk up the stairs, intending to eavesdrop on what they were doing at the stairs. When they reached the stairs, the two of them pouting, one up and the other down, with only their eyes showing, they watched the scene in the living room on the first floor. In the living room, Mu Qingzu said firmly, 'We can pretend to be a couple forever, and the city lord's mansion and the Yi family won't cause you any trouble. Moreover, the city lord's mansion will grant you the status of a royal consort, allowing you to enjoy the true treatment of a royal consort.' Xiao Yi was stunned. 'Are you planning to never find a man for the rest of your life?' Mu Qingzu was very firm in her belief and said, 'That's right. In her previous life, she was an ancient saint and had been alone from beginning to end. If she had not been so arrogant and wanted to enter the long river of time and travel across time and space, she would not have died. She would definitely have achieved the emperor realm in her previous life.' Xiao Yi was somewhat moved, and asked tentatively, 'What if one day you want to make a contract with me?' Mu Qingzu looked at him with her beautiful eyes for a few times, shook her head with disdain, and said, 'For a beastmaster like you who has contracted 3 beast girls, your template potential is divided equally, and your future achievements are limited. Signing a contract with you is like tying yourself up in knots and voluntarily giving up a broader future. Therefore, it is impossible for me to sign a contract with you. Don't worry, once I'm promoted to the top supreme, I'll be able to handle everything by then. It doesn't matter if our true relationship is made public, I will restrain the city lord's mansion and the Yi family.' Xiao Yi's mouth twitched when he was actually despised. There is no such thing as insufficient template potential. Xiao Yi planned to check her template. Template adjuster exploring. SSS level time candle dragon template upgradable. Template defect. A reincarnation of the ancient holy realm. There is a soul from the previous life, very weak, dormant, often sleeping, ready to find a suitable opportunity to seize the body and take it for himself. Physical defects, none. Xiao Yi was shocked and took a few steps back, then jumped behind the sofa, feeling creepy. This chick is actually the reincarnation of an ancient saint, and within her, there resides an old monster who has lived for who knows how long. The soul of the saint realm is so terrifying that it should be easy to crush a supreme being. Mu Qingzu frowned. 'Xiao Yi, you really want to sign a contract with me? This is really not possible. If I want to sign a contract with a man, I can just sign a contract with the young master of the Yi family, and I don't need to ask you for help. Don't worry, I Mu Qingzu will keep my word. Before I become a top supreme, I will always maintain a fake relationship with you. I will give you enough compensation once a month.' Xiao Yi didn't listen to what she said at all. His attention was focused on the information detected by the template adjuster. Solution to template defects. In addition to purifying the soul by upgrading the template, you can also use the soul grabbing bead to forcibly capture the soul. Xiao Yi sighed. It seemed that he could not go to help Mu Qingzu. He has too many secrets, and that old monster is too dangerous. Then Xiao Yi said, 'I refuse.' Mu Qingzu's heart began to panic, and she became secretly anxious, with a pleading look in her eyes. But before he could finish his words, a cold system voice sounded in his mind. 'Ding! Host encounter event detected. Mission triggered. Mission, help Mu Qingzu cancel her engagement. Quest reward. Rule level treasures soul stealing orb. Introduction to the soul snatching orb. It can absorb all free souls in the world at or below the rule level. The soul is the original spirit, and extract the memory, life learning and cultivation experience in the soul. Whether to accept the task, no penalty for refusing to accept, no penalty for task failure. The Emperor realm is at the rule level, controlling a law and condensing the body of rules. Xiao Yi shut up immediately. After completing the task, you will get the soul capturing bead, which can capture the soul. Xiao Yi was moved by the memories of the ancient Holy Land and what he had learned in his life. However, he still needs to confirm some things. So he said, Miss Mu, I'll think about it and give you an answer tomorrow, how about that? The panic in Mu Qingzu's heart disappeared without a trace, and she said with joy on her face, okay, I'll come to see you tomorrow. After saying that, she left. Xiao Yi also left here shortly afterwards. Planning to confirm some things, he went to ask Ding Yanxi if she could fight against a soul from the Holy Realm, and gave her a urinal bottle filled with 5 liters of golden blood. At the stairs, as Xiao Yi walked away, the two women's heads became more and more exposed. As a result, the two people holding the leather drum slipped and fell to the ground. Ouch, the two screamed. After a while, the two of them got up, went to the living room, sat on the sofa and rubbed their non-painful knees. Nan Gong Saya said, Sister Bingxi, I told you that Xiao Yi and the rich young lady are not in the relationship. You said they were just discussing business. And the rich young lady doesn't think highly of Xiao Yi at all. Cheng Bingxi was worried and said, that's because she thinks Xiao Yi's potential as a beastmaster is not good enough. If she knew that Xiao Yi has upgraded his talent as a beastmaster and reached the mythical level, she would change her mind. Then the two of them would fall in love with each other and naturally sign a contract. Nan Gong Saya finally realized the seriousness of the problem. According to Cheng Bingxi's statement, the probability of the two of them signing a contract in the future is very high. Nan Gong Saya also became anxious and asked, what should we do then? Cheng Bingxi's beautiful eyes lit up and she said, Xiao Yi wants to help. It's hard for us to stop him, but we can start with him. As she spoke, she leaned close to Nan Gong Saya's ear and whispered a few words. Nan Gong Saya blushed instantly and said in shock, if I blow him up, will he no longer be interested in Mu Qingzu? Cheng Bingxi nodded, yes, let's go together. Chapter 209 Yanxi. I like this urinal very much. After discussing countermeasures, the two women returned to the underground training room to continue their training. At this time, the Golden Dragon's realm is the second star of Venerable, and it can break through a small level in one day. A 9-tailed heavenly fox is only one step away from entering the realm of the Venerable. The other side, Xiao Yi carried the urinal to Villa No. 1 in the No. 1 Lakeview Villa area and entered after getting the owner's consent. Living room on the first floor. Yanxi was still wearing the bulky white robe, and looked at him with some confusion. Although she really wanted to eat the golden blood, didn't he say that he would give it to her within a month? Xiao Yi placed the urinal on the table and gestured, Sister Yanxi, this is what you wanted. It is 5 liters in total. No more, no less. Yanxi looked at the urinal, and said with a startled expression, how do you use this? It can't be something you've used before. Xiao Yi didn't care and said, it's okay. It's new and has never been used. Golden blood is for research, not for drinking. It shouldn't matter what you use it in. Right, Sister Yanxi? Yanxi's pretty face was embarrassed, and her reaction was a bit violent. Of course it is related no matter what I use it for. I will feel disgusted when I see this thing installed. Don't use a urinal next time. She is for drinking, but it is impossible to say such words. Xiao Yi's mouth twitched, and he said, if it was something I had used and I put it in the bag without washing it, would you just throw it away? Yanxi. Her face turned dark. Perhaps, possibly, she couldn't bear to throw away the unwashed ones. She likes it very much. Xiao Yi, okay. I'll use other bottles next time. Then Xiao Yi asked what he wanted to confirm. Sister Yanxi. A Saint Realm Yuanshan, do you have any way to deal with it? Yanxi put away the urinal upon hearing this. Her pretty face became serious. She released a powerful divine sense, scanning Xiao Yi's entire body and the entire Kunpeng Academy indiscriminately, and asked, are you being targeted by the Saint Realm? Xiao Yi felt like he was being seen through, and felt a chill all over his body. He quickly shook his head and said, no. Yanxi looked at him intently. Xiao Yi said, well, I haven't been targeted, but there is a possibility that I might be targeted, so I want to ask Sister Yanxi. Yanxi finished the examination and found nothing. It saw abdominal muscles. A complete soul in the Saint Realm would kill me like slaughtering a dog, but a soul is equivalent to a trace of soul. Souls of this magnitude cannot use the methods of the Saint Realm. Even if the methods of the quasi-saint are used, it would probably be difficult to use them. The consequences would be the exhaustion of soul power and the exhaustion of soul power. I have already stepped into the quasi-saint realm, so naturally I am not afraid. A proud look appeared on Yanxi's pretty face. She has already condensed 5 of her space body after drinking 5 liters of golden blood. She can condense another 5 of her space body, which will be 10 by then. She can handle a trace of the Holy Spirit. Quasi-saint? Xiao Yi was shocked. A bright color flashed in Yanxi's beautiful eyes. She took out 2 very delicate small Kunpeng pendants from her bloated white robe and said in a seductive voice, Xiao Yi, I remember you used to little Kunpengas to save your life last time. You don't have any extra ones on you now, right? If you give me another 10 liters of golden blood, I will give you these to life-saving little Kunpengas that can withstand the attacks of the top supreme beings, and help you resist the broken soul of the holy realm that may appear. How do you think? Xiao Yi reached out and took the 2 very delicate little Kunpeng pendants, and agreed immediately. Okay, 10 liters is 10 liters. I can help him resist the Saint Realm Yuan Shen who might be targeting him. Just based on this heart, what's wrong with giving me 10 liters? Yunqi's pretty face was surprised. Don't regret it. Xiao Yi nodded. I will never regret it, but I will give it to you after I finish my work in 2 days. Yunqi, no problem. After the discussion, Xiao Yi was about to leave, but was stopped by Yunqi. Dean, is there anything else? Yunqi, put on the life-saving little Kunpeng now, otherwise who will I ask for the things if you are killed? Xiao Yi thought so too and put one of the small Kunpeng pendants on his chest. He can use transformation between reality and virtuality to transform his body into a virtual entity. But who knows if that soul can deal with the virtual entity? He can use 1,000 miles in an instant to escape, but will the Holy Spirit give him the chance to use this skill? He has inherited the Nirvana rebirth. Escape into the dominant space after death, and recover to the peak state after resurrection 9 times from the 9-tailed heavenly fox. He has 9 lives, but after resurrection and recovery, he will reappear at the place of death, still under the nose of that Yuan Shen. Therefore, the small Kunpeng pendant is more practical. It can be automatically teleported to Ding Yunxi, allowing Ding Yunxi to fight against the Yuan Shen. Of course, this life-saving item may not necessarily be used. Wearing the life-saving little Kunpeng, Yunxi let Xiao Yi leave. Looking at the handsome figure going away from the window, Yunxi muttered to herself, he is definitely the reincarnation of the ancient emperor. He has too many secrets. Not only can he contract multiple beast girls, but his body has also mutated and upgraded. And he also has mysterious ways to solve template defects. The trace of the original spirit of the Holy Realm. It can only be the Holy Realm of ancient times. The Holy Realm today hardly cares about worldly affairs. And there is no internal fighting apart from natural death. There is almost no chance of injury and death. Well, I might have to face the central primordial spirit he mentioned, so I should hurry up and improve the condensation progress of my spatial body. The many mysterious factors contained in the golden blood can accelerate the condensation of her spatial body. She had drunk all the golden blood that Xiao Yi had given her before. Then she released his spiritual sense and scanned the surroundings of the villa. After finding that no one was paying attention here, he took out the large chamber pot, opened the lid, and put his small nose close to it to smell it carefully. After discovering that there was no smell of urine, she felt relieved. This was indeed a brand new, unused urinal. Urgle gurgle, Yunxi drank big gulps of the golden blood, an expression of intoxicated joy uncontrollably appearing on her pretty face. Inside the body, the golden blood was instantly fought over and swallowed by countless cells, which desperately absorbed the many mysterious factors contained in the golden blood. The endless force of space is extracted from the void by billions of cells throughout the body and condensed into itself. With the help of mysterious factors, countless cells quickly transformed into space cells. A minute later, 5 liters of golden blood were drunk up. Yunxi closed her eyes and sat cross-legged. An hour later, Yunxi opened his eyes and a ray of light shot out, penetrating through the space and causing the entire Kunpeng Academy to shake. Space Body 20. Yunxi was very surprised that the conversion progress was 10 more than expected. Xiao Yi's physique has evolved again. But it be that the templates of his 3 beast girls have all mutated and upgraded? After coming to the conclusion, Yunxi was shocked. After the SSS level template is upgraded, what level of template will it be? Super S level. No matter how you define it, the potential is terrifying. At this moment, she actually had the urge to snatch the man from Yunbing. Chapter 210 Bingshi, accept our judgment. The auxiliary effect of golden blood is comparable to the crystallization of rule fragments. Yunxi couldn't help but think that if Xiao Yi provided her with 100 liters of golden blood, she would be able to quickly condense a space body and the progress would reach 100. Then step into the Holy Realm. The Holy Realm, in an era without the Emperor Realm, is the top combat power, the ceiling of Blue Star. Yunxi also very much wants to reach this level. He must find a way to squeeze more golden blood from Xiao Yi. The other side. Xiao Yi returned to Villa No. 10 in the No. 3 Lakeview Villa District. Sitting on the sofa, Xiao Yi picked up a few red fruits and put them in his mouth. After tasting them, his eyes lit up. The fruit flesh was crisp and sweet, which made him excited. As he ate more and more fruits, he became addicted to them and ate up all the 20 or so fruits. Xiao Yi let out a long burp. At this moment, the properties of the fruit took effect. His whole body became hot and his skin seemed to be steaming, emitting bursts of white mist. Oh no, Xiao Yi then remembered that this fruit is a super kidney treasure, that is extremely yang and strong. Eating one can allow a person to fight for a whole day and a night. And eating two can be enough for 10 times in a row. He ate more than 20 pills and felt like Jill was about to explode. Fortunately, Mu Qingzu didn't need it. Otherwise she would have to be detoxified again. He took a breath and rushed into the shower room to rinse with cold water. His strong physique makes him immune to toxins. But the effect of the red fruit is not poisonous and does not trigger the immune function of his physique. The golden dragon and the nine-tailed fox in the underground training room heard the noise, and in unison, they stopped practicing and turned back into human form. The transformation back to human form was not over yet, as the two transformed into Beast Girl forms again. Beast Girl form appears. Nangong Xiao has the small golden dots on her forehead. And she exudes a faint sense of oppression, with an indifferent look in her eyes, as if she were a queen. Cheng Bingshi's delicate little ears turned into furry fox ears. And 9 fox collars of different colors grew out of thin air behind the leather drum. The fox collars were scattered around and kept swaying, revealing a noble and holy temperament. The two looked at each other, smiled, and their eyes were shining. 2 sounds of breaking through the air were heard. The two of them rushed to the first floor. They planned to implement the countermeasures they had discussed not long ago. They want to make Xiao Yi enter a state of 100 sage moment in the next few days and make sure that Xiao Yi has no interest in any woman. Not in the living room? Not in the bedroom either? How strange, I clearly heard his voice. The 2 beast girls ran around on the first floor and searched the room thoroughly but couldn't find Xiao Yi. Shower room. The 2 men looked at each other with fierce expressions. Bang! Little dragon girl Nangong Xiao kicked the door open, then pulled Cheng Bingshi and rushed in resolutely. Xiao Yi, accept our judgment. Yes, you must blame others, and you cannot resist, or we will increase the trial tenfold. The female voices came from inside. What are you going to do? It was evening and 8 hours had passed. In the living room, Nangong Xiao and Cheng Bingshi turned back into human formants at their leisurely, their rosy faces full of pride and satisfaction. Xiao Yi slumped on another sofa with empty eyes, feeling that life was boring. I told you not to flirt with other women, Cheng Bingshi snorted coldly. Nangong Xiao stood on the same front as her and echoed, yes, eat what is in the bowl and look at the pot. Next time we will call Sister Liu Ya to judge you together. No, there will be a next time? Xiao Yi's eyes were full of fear. Cheng Bingshi looked proud, and raised her chin and said, now you are scared. I advise you not to have any feelings beyond friendship towards that rich girl. He won't stop you from doing anything. And we won't be a burden to you, but you can only have the 3 of us beast girls, no more. This is the bottom line, this is the principle. Nangong Xiao nodded, that's right. Xiao Yi's face darkened, and he tried to argue, I promise, Mu Qingzu and I are innocent. Halfway through his words, he suddenly remembered the matter of detoxifying Mu Qingzu, and his words were choked. He was no longer innocent. Damn, anyway, this time I'm just helping her cancel the engagement, that's all, he said stiffly. Cheng Bingshi and Nangong Xiao didn't believe it and huddled together to talk in whispers. He should be in his sage moment now, but I don't know how many days he can maintain this state. It should be able to last for several days. Alas, it's not good for Xiao Yi to be too outstanding, as it will easily attract many bees and butterflies. Why don't we just cut him off and cure him forever? Why are you pinching me? Idiot. This is a trick that will hurt the enemy by 1,000 and yourself by 1,000,000. It's all Xiao Yi's fault. He made us worry too much. Watching the 2 people whispering, Xiao Yi felt that they were discussing how to deal with him again, and suddenly felt a headache. But he had no plan to sign a contract with Mu Qingzu. He helped Mu Qingzu only to complete the system's task. Mission: help Mu Qingzu cancel the engagement. Quest reward: Rule level treasures soul stealing orb. Introduction to Rule level soul snatching orb. It can forcibly capture and purify the soul, extract the soul's memory, life learning, and cultivation experience. Task received successfully. The soul captivating bead is a rule level treasure, which is of the same level as the mysterious yellow sapphire rule level. It sounds awesome, and of course he wants to own such an awesome treasure. Moreover, he was also very envious of the memories, life learning, and cultivation experience of an ancient saint. Owing to help is absolutely only for completing the system tasks and getting the task rewards, absolutely, without any distractions. Nangong Xiao, be good these days otherwise. Cheng Bingshi, we are going to practice. The countermeasure was executed perfectly and achieved the desired effect. The 2 returned to the underground training room again. Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. Early the next morning, just when Xiao Yi was sleeping soundly, there were bursts of knocks on the door. The sound was not loud but very rhythmic. The 2 summoned beasts in the underground training room stopped practicing. A golden dragon's realm has reached the peak of the 2-star realm of the Venerable Realm and is about to break through to the 3-star realm of the Venerable Realm. A 9-tailed sky fox's realm has reached the 1-star realm of the Venerable Realm. The two turned back into human form, looked at each other, and saw the solemnity in each other's eyes. That rich girl is here again. Then, one of them went to open the door to greet them, and the other went to wake up Xiaoyi. 10 minutes later, Xiaoyi and Mu Qingzu sat on the sofa to discuss something, while Nan Gongxiao and Cheng Bingxi were eavesdropping at the stairs with their eyes tilted up. Mu Qingzu's beautiful face was a little nervous as she said, "Xiaoyi, what do you think?" Xiaoyi glanced at her, not showing any interest in her for the time being, and said in a flat voice, "I usually like to help others the most since it is Miss Mu's request. I am naturally willing to help." Mu Qingzu's pretty face lit up with joy, and she said gratefully, "Xiaoyi, you are a good person, thank you." Xiaoyi felt that these words sounded a little strange and something was wrong, but he didn't know what was wrong. Mu Qingzu took out a list from her pocket and handed it to him. "The Yi family will come to propose marriage tomorrow. We only have one day to prepare. These lists must be completed today so that no one will find any flaws." Xiaoyi took the list, glanced at it, and was immediately shocked. 1. Wear couple clothes. To take intimate photos. 3. Use physical contact to cultivate temporary tacit understanding, such as princess hug, holding hands, etc. 4567. Each one is more outrageous and exaggerated than the other. This is something only real couples would do. Chapter 211, Holding Hands, Princess Hug, and Taking Intimate Photos. Mu Qingzu took out a great venerable top-grade crystal core and said, "Considering the pressure you have to bear, I will give you a great venerable top-grade crystal core every month as payment. Of course, if you have any special needs, you can tell me. I will satisfy you both financially and in terms of power." The Great Venerable's top-grade crystal core is the highest level of reward she can give. Better than the top-grade crystal core of the Great Venerable is the bottom-grade crystal core of the Supreme nowadays. The Supreme is the highest combat power in the world. Warcraft crystal cores are extremely rare. Each one is a treasure of a powerful clan and will not be easily shown to others. Xiaoyi put down the extremely exaggerated list, thought for a moment and said, "I come from a low-level base city. Wilderness-based city Dozan T. The Magic City-based city have key support targets every year." Mu Qingzu nodded. "Yes, as the top base city in Dragon Country, the Demon City-based city does have key support quotas, 3 per year, but the key support targets are different from the ordinary support targets, and will receive greater support in terms of resources and technology, including human resources." Mu Qingzu frowned and said, "However, I usually don't get involved in this matter. These are all decided by my father, but since you need it, I will do my best to help you get a key support quota." Xiaoyi. "Thank you." The Great Venerable's top-grade crystal cores. There are 100 of them in the storage card given to him by his father-in-law Yuhuo. He does not have a strong demand for crystal cores at this stage. Instead of accepting crystal cores, it is better to invest resources in the people around you. The mayor of Mangyuan Base City is Nan Gongxiao's father. The reason he needs this position is that he wants to give Nan Gongxiao a surprise. If Nan Gongxiao was happy, she wouldn't be thinking about how to judge him all the time. It would be too much for him to handle the trial with just 2 people if he drags the most beautiful assistant Liu Ya to be tried together. He will be in great pain. How can his body bear it? Mu Qingzu took the Great Venerable's top-grade crystal core and said, "For this month's compensation, I will help you get a key support quota, and pay you the crystal core next month." At the stairs, Cheng Bingxi stretched out her slender fingers and poked Nan Gongxiao's drum, and said with a silly look on her face, "Saya, they seem to be talking about the wilderness-based city." Nan Gongxiao opened her teasing hand and said happily, "Oh, I heard it. It looks like they are discussing serious matters. Let us go practice." Cheng Bingxi looked at him and asked, "Saya, he gave you one, and you softened your heart?" "No, we have to continue eavesdropping." Nan Gongxiao was helpless. "Okay. I'll listen to you, but I don't think they will be okay." In the living room, the remuneration issue was discussed and the two entered the next step to complete the list. 1. Wear couple clothes. To take intimate photos. 3. Develop temporary tacit understanding, princess hug, holding hands, etc. 4. Wearing swimsuits to soak in hot springs, and being discovered as a couple. 5. Understand the other person's shortcomings, strengths, and preferences. 6. Go to the city lord's mansion and show your relationship to my parents so they will believe it. 7. Let's sleep together in the city lord's mansion tonight. Mu Qingzu warned in advance, "Xiaoyi, let's make it clear in advance that we are a pretend couple. You can't fall in love with me during the process of getting to know me. And you can't have feelings for me. We are a fake couple from beginning to end." She was very confident about her appearance and figure. She was afraid that Xiaoyi would fall in love with her over time. so she would always pay attention to Xiao Yi's reaction to see if he was a man who could be easily moved. Sage Xiao Yi continued to be in this state looking at her beautiful face. He was calm and said with a curled lip, "You think too much. I also warn you, don't rely on me after you discover my excellence," he warned with his backhand. Mu Qingzu said proudly, "Huh, who am I? What man can catch my eye? Xiao Yi." And the two of them got up and went to the downtown area to buy the clothes they needed to pretend to be a couple. At the moment when the two of them went out, Nan Gong Sayu and Cheng Bingshi followed them swiftly. Following from a distance, the largest shopping street in Magic City was bustling with people and traffic. Shops are located on all sides of the street. Xiao Yi and Mu Qingzu came to a clothing street. The entire 1 kilometer long street was full of shops selling clothing. There were all kinds of clothing, both combat and daily. Walking on the street, the two good-looking people, a handsome man and a beautiful woman, looked like a perfect match when they walked together, and passers-by turned their heads to look at them. 100. Cheng Bingshi, who was standing behind him, outed, feeling sour, and said, "Damn it. Xiao Yi and I never went out together in the Magic City." Cheng Bingshi also became jealous and said, "Me too, I will make him pay double next time." What kind of nonsense is this? Fake couples go shopping together, but real couples can only hide behind and quietly follow and be jealous. Far ahead, Mu Qingzu turned sideways to look at Xiao Yi's strong and powerful hand, then reached out and grasped it in her palm. Xiao Yi felt the soft and boneless little hand and said calmly, "What are you doing? Aren't you going to buy couple clothes?" Mu Qingzu was very satisfied with Xiao Yi's reaction. He was not a loser, and the probability of him falling in love with her was very small. However, she had to continue testing to determine whether he was easily moved. Try to get 2 or 3 lists done at once, as quickly as possible, rather than one at a time, she explains. Holding the soft little hand, Xiao Yi, who was in the sage moment, felt calm. The two entered a shop. At the owner's recommendation, the two went into the dressing room and changed their clothes. A very young type, full of youthfulness. After a while, the two stood in front of the floor-length mirror. Wearing casual couple clothes, Mu Qingzu took out a small camera and said, "Hold me up, I want to take a picture." Okay, Xiao Yi gave her a princess hug and held her perfectly proportioned body in his arms. Mu Qingzu glanced at his expression and eyes. His face was calm and his eyes were indifferent, as if he was not at all disturbed by this. "Yeah, very good." Mu Qingzu's pretty face turned slightly red. She turned on the camera lens and said to the mirror, "Smile." Xiao Yi pulled the corners of his mouth and revealed a very ordinary smile. Mu Qingzu frowned. "Smile a little sweeter, your fake smile looks fake." "Sweet?" Xiao Yi thought about it. And the curve of his mouth corners became even bigger. Mu Qingzu's face darkened. "Where is your crooked mouth, Dragon King? You look too weird. Smile sweeter, not more mysterious." Xiao Yi complained. "You asked me to smile sweetly at you. This is too embarrassing, don't force me, okay, we are just a fake couple." Mu Qingzu's mouth twitched, and she had to finish the job hastily and took an intimate photo. At the same time, she couldn't help but have some doubts about her appearance and figure. Was she that bad? She didn't even feel any emotional fluctuations when he held her in his arms. Next, the two of them headed to the entertainment mecca and arrived in front of the private club. "Open a presidential hot spring room, for us this is the supreme black card." Mu Qingzu threw out a card domineering lie, and then pulled Xiao Yi to the spacious and luxurious presidential room. "How about this place? Go change into your swimsuits. I'll soak in the hot spring and take intimate photos to share on WeChat." Moments later, looking at the steaming hot spring pool, Xiao Yi said calmly, "It looks good. This is my first time here." Chapter 212. Soak in hot springs and meet parents. The presidential suite has a hot spring pool room, bedroom, bathroom and viewing balcony. And the two began to change into their swimsuits, and Mu Qingzu warned, "Don't peek." She went to the bathroom to change into her swimsuit. Xiao Yi shrugged his shoulders, and while there was no one around, he changed into his swimming trunks next to the hot spring pool and put his clothes on the closet. After a while, Mu Qingzu came over with a slightly red face. Her skin was delicate and white, and she was wearing a cool and thin swimsuit. Xiao Yi turned the hot spring temperature to the 3rd level. There is a switch next to the hot spring pool with 3 levels of temperature control. There is also an instruction manual attached to it. A type 4 degrees Celsius to 36 degrees Celsius is a tepid bath, which has an inhibitory effect on the central nervous system and can calm emotions. 37 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius is a warm bath, which can relieve vascular spasms, promote blood circulation, and eliminate skin tension. 39 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius is a high-temperature bath, which can improve blood circulation and enhance metabolism. Mu Qingzu saw that he was not looking away, did not care about her outfit at all, so she did not even take a peek at him. Well, very good. She was very satisfied with Xiao Yi, but at the same time, she felt a little dissatisfied in her heart. This is a very contradictory feeling. satisfied and dissatisfied at the same time. After all, she was a school-level beauty, wearing a cool swimsuit. But there were men who didn't show the slightest interest in her. Is she that bad? Xiao Yi had no idea that Mu Qingzu was so pretentious at this moment. He was in an absolute sage moment and was not interested in any temptations from the outside world. How is it? Is it comfortable to soak in this temperature? Xiao Yi asked. Mu Qingzu stared at his muscular 8-pack abs in a daze. Xiao Yi turned his head to look at her, moved closer, and said with a smile, "How is it? It looks good. Do you want to touch it?" "Can I touch it?" "Then I." Mu Qingzu answered subconsciously, and her pretty face turned red after she reacted. She was so stunned by the sight. She actually wanted to touch it. Xiao Yi curled his lips. "Touch me if you want, but don't rely on me." Mu Qingzu said in shame and anger, Who wants to touch me? I don't want to touch me. Also, how can I rely on you? Are you kidding me? Let's take a picture." She quickly changed the subject. Xiao Yi stood up, moved closer, made a gesture, and said, "Take the photo." Seeing him looking down at her, Mu Qingzu glared at him and said, "Why are you standing so high? Are you trying to peek?" Xiao Yi curled his lips. "You don't have it. It can be regarded as an airport. Why should I peek? Don't be so self-righteous. Take the picture quickly. And finish it as soon as possible. I have 3 contracted beast girls, one has long legs, one has a plump figure, and one has both. What about you? What's special about you? Nothing." Being belittled like this, Mu Qingzu's face turned as black as charcoal, her slightly flat chest heaving up and down with anger. She gritted her teeth and said word by word, "Xiao Yi, I really want to beat you to death." Xiao Yi thought to himself, "You can't beat me." But she was in the stage of being angry, so he said, "Actually you have advantages. You are very white, whiter than any other girl I have ever seen." Mu Qingzu's complexion looked a little better. Next, the two of them posed for some intimate-looking photos, and Mu Qingzu posted these photos on her moments. After taking the photos, the two finished their hot spring bath, dressed themselves and headed to the city lord's mansion together. Mu Qingzu was a little angry during the whole process of taking a hot spring bath. Xiao Yi didn't even glance at her once his eyes were clear, his face was calm, and his heartbeat was normal. This made her very dissatisfied. Was she, Mu Qingzu, so unattractive? Looking at her own performance, she stole a peek at his abdominal muscles no less than 20 times throughout the whole process. Her face flushed and her heart beat fast, and after seeing it once, she couldn't help but stole a peek again. "This is perfect. I feel comfortable pretending to be a couple with him. Anyway, there's no way I can rely on him. Absolutely not, I promise." Mu Qingzu comforted herself silently in her heart. At this time, the city lord's mansion. After Ji Gangtai delivered the things to the storage box next to the door of Mu Qingzu's villa, he sent a message, "Zuer, the things have been delivered to your door, remember to accept them." He was particularly concerned when the ringtone rang. Ji Gangtai opened his moments with a look of joy when his goddess Ba Yuguan posted something on moments. He wanted to be the first to like it. Cool photos and intimate photos JPG. Intimate photos in couple outfits JPG. Intimate photo of holding hands JPG. P.S. I had a great time today. P.S. Xiao Yi, please give me more advice for the rest of my life. A joyful smile on Ji Gangtai's face suddenly froze, and shock appeared in his eyes. His white moonlight goddess is actually with Xiao Yi. Is this an open relationship? But it has only been a short time. A few days ago, Xiao Yi in the underground crystal mine was still indifferent to Zuer, and Zuer was angry about it. Ji Gangtai didn't want to accept this reality. I read this circle of friends over and over again, and looked at each photo carefully. He sighed. Zuer has a great figure. This was the first time he saw Mu Qingzu wearing a swimsuit. The smiles of the two people in the photo are so sweet. Ji Gangtai grabbed his head with both hands, feeling bitter and painful. Hey, that's not right. Doesn't Xiao Yi have a contractor? And more than one with Zuer's proud personality. How could she be willing to be someone else's mistress? Ji Gangtai discovered the loophole. He wanted to call Mu Qingzu in person to confirm. Otherwise, he would never believe until his death that the two of them were together. He took out his communicator and called Mu Qingzu. Beep beep, the ringing stopped abruptly and the call was hung up. Ji Gangtai stared at the communicator in a daze. "Hi Zuer," after a while. He screamed and the breeze blew on his face, with sand flying everywhere. The other side. Mu Qingzu brought Xiao Yi to the city lord's mansion. "Remember, this step is crucial. We must not reveal any flaws in front of my parents. They must not let them find out that we are a fake couple," Mu Qingzu specifically reminded before entering the city lord's hall. Xiao Yi said okay. The two walked into the city lord's hall hand in hand. The city lord Mu Cheng and his wife Song Ziyar, who had received their daughter's message a long time ago, came out to greet them with smiles on their faces. Mu Cheng Lang smiled and said, "I wonder which outstanding young talent can charm Zuer's heart, eh?" After seeing Xiao Yi's face, his smile suddenly froze. Why is it you? The Xiao Yi who intercepted Zuer's opportunity to enter the secret realm. Song Zier also looked incredulous. A few days ago, regarding the incident in the Holy Spirit's secret realm, Supreme Companion, she had demanded compensation from the City Lord's mansion. She still remembered clearly the scene of this kid bargaining with Supreme Kunpeng. After taking a seat, Mu Qingzu introduced generously, "Yes, this is my sweetheart, Xiao Yi." Xiao Yi also greeted with a smile, "Uncle, Aunt, hello." Mu Qingzu said happily, "Dad, Mom, I have also brought the person you want. Can you definitely cancel the engagement tomorrow?" Mu Cheng's face darkened. He raised his hand and slammed the table, saying sullenly, "Nonsense." The atmosphere at the scene became serious. He didn't look at Xiao Yi, but stared at Mu Qingzu sharply and scolded. "Zuer, you just picked someone and wanted to use him as a shield. Do you think we are so easy to fool?" Chapter 213. We will believe it if you bite your lip. The city lord's wife Song Zier's tone was a little better, but she was also very dissatisfied and said, "Zuer, we want to see your sweetheart, not a shield." Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. Is it going to end before it even started? But it's true he and Mu Qingzu have only known each other for a few days, less than a week. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that he was used as a shield. Even though the truth was revealed, Mu Qingzu was not panicked at all. She had already anticipated the reactions of Mu Cheng and the other man. Mu Qingzu's beautiful eyes revealed confidence. She put the hand she was holding with Xiao Yi under the table onto the table, held it tightly and said, "You are wrong, Xiao Yi is not a shield, he is my sweetheart." Mu Cheng snorted coldly. "Holding hands is nothing. Don't be impatient." Mu Qingzu turned on the virtual projection on her tablet computer and projected pictures into the air. The pictures show the intimate photos she took with Xiao Yi. Couple close, princess hug, hot spring bath. Each photo shows that the two have a close relationship and are a couple in love. Mu Qingzu said proudly, "Did you see that? Xiao Yi is not a shield." Looking at the photos, Mu Cheng and Song Zier were stunned. These intimate photos show that the two of them went shopping together, bought clothes together, ate together, and took a bath together. The first few were pretty normal. But what about taking a bath together? Finding a shield doesn't need to cost such a huge price. In today's era of monogamous beast girls, it is considered a very ambiguous thing for a single man and a single woman to take a bath together in a closed space wearing super cool inner linings. In this regard, Mu Cheng and Song Zier couldn't help but question their previous views. Could it be that Xiao Yi was really not a shield found by Mu Qingzu? Seeing that the two were moved, Mu Qingzu once again used her big move, showing the circle of friends to the two of them, and said with a smile, "I have officially announced my relationship with Xiao Yi. Now all the major families, relatives, friends, and even the Tian Xiaoyi circle all know about the relationship between Xiao Yi and me. The boss of the Demon City-based city, the City Lord's mansion, attaches great importance to face. Judging from the City Lord's Qianjin circle of friends and the content of the circle of friends, most people would believe that the two were a couple." Mu Cheng's face darkened. He raised his hand, slapped his forehead, and sighed. "Well, regardless of whether they are a real couple or not, Zuer's action has told the world that she has found a home and a partner. Tomorrow the Yi family will come to propose marriage. If Mu Cheng agrees, he will be ridiculed by the world, and many rumors will spread, damaging the reputation of the City Lord's mansion. For example, the City Lord's mansion in Demon City is not acceptable either. In order to form a marriage alliance, the rich girl is forced to marry there. Moreover, the Yi family in the imperial capital would also feel uncomfortable if Mu Qingzu married into the family. She would most likely be treated maliciously." Mu Cheng was helpless and said, "I will decline the Yi family's proposal for marriage tomorrow." Mu Qingzu was overjoyed. Her brows were beaming with joy. She was extremely happy. Mu Cheng's face changed and he said, "But before that, we must confirm whether Xiao Yi is a shield or not. Zuer, I hope you can tell me sincerely and don't lie." Mu Qingzu was still in joy and said, "I have said it many times, he is not a shield. The engagement hasn't really been cancelled yet, so of course she won't tell the truth. Moreover, she and Xiao Yi agreed to be a fake couple for life, and she also promised to give Xiao Yi the status and power of a royal consort." Song Zier frowned and said, "Zuer, we all know that you don't want to marry the young man from the Yi family, and we agree to reject the proposal from the Yi family. We will do what we say. So, there's no need for you to lie or hide anything." Mu Qingzu was helpless. "I really didn't lie. What do you want me to do to make you believe me?" Song Zier thought about it. Her eyes lit up and she said, "If you kiss each other mouth to mouth on the spot, they will believe it." Mu Cheng clapped his hands and said, "Yes, come on. I'll believe it." Based on their understanding of Mu Qingzu, she had a proud personality and was always disdainful of men. If a man took advantage of her, she would want to kill him. Photos like princess hugs and hot spring baths are probably photoshopped and fake. Holding hands is not painful or itchy, so it doesn't mean anything. But if the two of them kissed on the spot, it was real and could not be faked. If the two were pretending to be a couple, Cher would not have paid such a high price. A kiss. Upon hearing this, Mu Qingzu and Xiaoyi both widened their eyes. Xiaoyi looked at her and asked, "Do you want to kiss me?" Mu Qingzu answered with her action. She pouted her lips and squinted her eyes as she came closer. In the Holy Spirit's secret realm, her body was seen by Xiaoyi, and in the underground crystal mine, her innocence was taken away by Xiaoyi. Now it was just a kiss. And she didn't have much psychological pressure, so she kissed him without thinking. The two separated as soon as they touched. Although the time was short, they did kiss. Mu Qingzu's pretty face turned slightly red, like a bright red flower blooming. Delicate and beautiful. Xiaoyi frowned and muttered, "What did you eat? Why does it smell like pickled cabbage leaves?" Mu Qingzu glared at him. "What's wrong with pickled cabbage? I just like to eat it." Mu Cheng and Song Zier looked at each other, shocked. They actually kissed. They believed a little bit about the relationship between the two as a couple, but not much. Song Zier's eyes flashed with a teasing look, and she said, "Zuer, you are just skimming the surface. It doesn't prove anything at all. Do it again before we can believe it." Mu Cheng's face darkened, and he whispered to Song Zier, "Madam, that's enough. It's more painful than killing me to watch my precious daughter flirting with others. Just let them bite each other in private. It's like a cabbage that you are protecting in your palm is suddenly kissed by a man, right in front of him." Song Zier rolled her eyes at him, then said to Mu Qingzu, "Why, you don't dare anymore. You two are really just pretending to be a couple." Mu Qingzu struggled internally for a moment and decided to go for it. And she took the initiative to hug Xiaoyi and started biting his lips. Xiaoyi was startled. A small fish broke through his teeth and rushed in. Adhering to the principle of not suffering losses, Xiaoyi immediately fought back, turned passivity into initiative, regained possession of the territory. Then counter-attacked the local territory, and occupied the enemy's territory. How could the inexperienced Mu Qingzu be a match for the experienced Xiaoyi? She was quickly defeated and responded passively. Her pretty face flushed all the way to her ears. But this is the case, the more it aroused Mu Qingzu's competitive spirit. She cannot lose, no matter what kind of war it is. Looking at the two people who were immersed in it, Mu Cheng's face turned dark. Song Zier widened her eyes in shock, and her mouth opened into an O shape. After a few minutes, the two showed no intention of ending. Mu Cheng couldn't stand it anymore and was about to break through the defense. He interrupted the two people's spellcasting and forcibly separated them to prevent them from biting each other. "That's enough. We believe you are a couple. The city lord's palace is a serious occasion. We cannot tolerate your being so presumptuous." Mu Qingzu glared at Xiaoyi with her beautiful eyes. Just now, she had lost completely and passively. Xiaoyi muttered, "It's so sour. Qingzu, remember to brush your teeth after eating pickled cabbage. It's so sour." Mu Qingzu, "I won't brush it." Mu Cheng's mouth twitched. Is this a veiled insinuation, saying that he is jealous? He is indeed jealous inside, feeling very jealous. Chapter 214. Mu Qingzu, I'm willing to be the fourth mistress. Mu Qingzu blinked. You finally believe in our relationship. Mu Cheng said quickly, I believe it. Song Zier also expressed her belief. Mu Qingzu and Xiaoyi breathed a sigh of relief. Then Mu Cheng and Song Zier looked at Xiaoyi carefully. Xiaoyi showed a pair of big white teeth and smiled. Father-in-law, mother-in-law. I am a freshman at Kunpeng College in Moda University. My name is Xiaoyi. I was born in Sunshine Welfare Home in Mengyuan Base City. I am an SSS level gifted beastmaster. Mu Cheng frowned and said, Don't call me father-in-law yet. I acknowledge your relationship with Suer, but that doesn't mean you can enter my Mu family. Not everyone can be the son-in-law of my Mu family. You must pass our test. Xiaoyi raised his eyebrows. What test? Mu Cheng walked to Xiaoyi, put his hand on his shoulder, and tested his breath. The root bone is 18 years old, 3 stars in the venerable realm. The breath is stable and the foundation is solid, without a trace of vanity. This, Mu Cheng was shocked. An 18-year-old who is at 3 stars in the venerable realm. This is simply an unparalleled genius. The young man from the Yi family is now 20 years old and has reached the 1-star level of the venerable realm, even with the power of the entire family. He is the strongest genius of the younger generation in the imperial capital. However, in front of Xiaoyi, he seems to be a dwarf compared to a giant. Mu Cheng returned to the main seat, frowning in thought. Xiaoyi asked again, Uncle, no matter what the test is, I, Xiaoyi, will take it. Tell me, I can bear it. Mu Cheng responded, Tomorrow the young master of the Yi family will come to propose marriage. I will organize an occasion for you to fight with the young master of the Yi family in human form. If you win, you will pass the test. With your 3-star realm of the venerable realm. fighting against the young man from the Yi family who is also an SSS level talented beastmaster, but only at the 1-star realm of the Venerable Realm. You are more than enough to crush him. Mu Qingzu and Song Zi'er were both shocked when they heard this. He actually reached the 3-star level of the Venerable Realm. I participated in the Holy Spirit's secret realm a few days ago, and I was only at the Grand Master level only a few days have passed. Mu Qingzu pursed her lower lip. Deeply shocked, she used to be the #1 prodigy in the Demon City base city, invincible in her level in the younger generation, but now, she was surpassed by a man younger than her, and she couldn't even catch up. His realm was easily detected, and Xiao Yi once again realized the horror of the Supreme. Uncle, defeat the young man from the Yi family, and I will complete this test perfectly. Mu Cheng smiled and said. Well, whether the City Lord's mansion can successfully reject the engagement tomorrow depends on you. If you defeat the young man from the Yi family, you will be the #1 of the young generation of Dragon Country, and I will be honored and bring glory to my family. Xiao Yi was not interested in becoming the #1 among the younger generation in Dragon Country. He was only interested in the system's task rewards. According to Mu Cheng, he can cancel the engagement after defeating the young man from the Yi family tomorrow. After the engagement is cancelled, the system task will be completed and he can receive the rule level treasure, the Soul Capture Pearl. After talking about the test, Song Zi'er asked about something that she was very concerned about. Xiao Yi, when you first came to the City Lord's mansion, I remember you came with the contractor girl. Had you already signed a contract with another beast girl? Yes, I already have a contractor. And more than one, there are 3. Xiao Yi had nothing to hide, and he could find out the information as soon as he checked. 3? Mu Cheng and Song Zi'er's pupils shrank, and they said in surprise, in the current beast girl era, a beastmaster can only contract 1 beast girl. Can you contract 3? Xiao Yi nodded. Mu Qingzu interrupted and said, he can contract multiple beast girls. 3 is fine, 4 is fine. I plan to be his 4th beast girl. Only she herself knew whether this was true. Mu Cheng's face darkened. No, how can my daughter, Mu Cheng, be a mistress? Mu Qingzu interrupted, with a strong will. Enough, stop talking, I agree. Mu Cheng choked on his words. He was about to say something, but at this moment the butler hurried over and whispered something in his ear, which made his face change drastically. What a great Hong family, they even dared to cut off the deal with my City Lord's mansion. Song Zi'er asked, what's wrong? Seeing that there were no outsiders here, Mu Cheng said, the Hong family unilaterally announced the suspension of the sale of artistic conception crystals and crystal essences, including orders from our City Lord's mansion. The Hong family is the largest producer and seller of artistic conception crystals in the Magic City-based city. Now that the Hong family has stopped selling, many industrial chains affiliated with the Magic City Group have fallen into panic, and they have all asked the City Lord's mansion for help. Song Zi'er's face darkened. Yesterday you notified all the lower-level base cities to cancel the right to open the Hong family martial arts school. Is the Hong family deliberately trying to disgust us today? Mu Cheng nodded. That's right, the Hong family wants to use the artistic conception crystal market to threaten the City Lord's mansion and make me release their rights to open martial arts schools across the country. Mu Qingzu clenched her fists and gritted her teeth. The Hong family deserves to die. They framed me last time, and now they openly threaten the City Lord's mansion. They deserve to die. Xiao Yi chuckled when he heard that. Don't you know yet that the elves kept in captivity by the Hong family have been plundered? Yes, that person is him, Xiao Yi. There must be some artistic conception crystals and essences in stock in the Hong family's warehouse, but without the elves, they would probably be reluctant to sell them and would store them for their own use. The eyes of Mu Cheng and the other 2 all focused on her. Mu Qingzu frowned and asked, what are you laughing at? Are you happy to see the City Lord's mansion being threatened? As if it was inappropriate to laugh at this time? Xiao Yi paused and explained, perhaps, the Hong family stopped selling artistic conception crystals and essences for another reason. Mu Cheng curled his lips and said, Xiao Yi, you are a genius, but you are just a student. Do you really know the secrets of the Hong family? Xiao Yi told the truth. Last time, the Hong family used Zur as a tool to frame me and get rid of me. Sister Yunxi was furious about this and resisted the supreme of the Hong family. She captured all the elves of the Hong family without the elves. The underground crystal mines also collapsed completely. The Hong family lost the source of artistic conception crystals. So of course they had to stop selling them in the market. Mu Cheng was dumbfounded. There was actually such a secret. The spies in the City Lord's mansion didn't notice anything at all. Song Zi'er was also shocked, but in addition to being shocked, she looked at Xiao Yi with meaningful eyes. This kid's relationship with Supreme Kun Pang is really not simple. Supreme Kun Pang is the #1 supreme being in the Demon City, but he has unparalleled combat power and is invincible at the same level yet. He is now protecting a student like this. Xiao Yi said, the Hong family had no choice but to stop selling artistic conception crystals. Mu Cheng frowned. Now that the Han family can't produce artistic conception crystals, the crystal market in the Magic City-based city will be paralyzed. It will be difficult to deal with it. Mu Qingzu said. Xiao Yi, can you please ask Supreme Kun Peng to let her take over the artistic conception crystal business in the Demon City-based city, or produce artistic conception crystals for the City Lord's mansion? Mu Cheng interrupted Mu Qingzu and shook his head at her. I will personally make my request to Supreme Kun Peng. This kind of laborious matter is not something you should worry about. Xiao Yi almost laughed out loud. Sister Yun, she was just a shield he pushed forward. The elves were captured and taken to the Holy Spirit secret realm. Now, they would provide him with 30 of their resources every month. None of this had anything to do with Sister Yunxi. You go and ask Supreme Kun Peng for help. And then Supreme Kun Peng will come to find him. Chapter 215 Ji Gang Tai, please be gentle to Zuer. After discussing the matter, Mu Cheng said, okay, the Yi family will not come to propose marriage until tomorrow. You guys go down and rest first. Xiao Yi, you will also stay in the City Lord's mansion. Stay with Zuer. Mu Qingzu pulled Xiao Yi out of the hall and headed towards the villa where she lived. Inside the main hall, Mu Cheng rubbed his brows and felt annoyed. Song Zier knew what he was struggling with, and said with a smile, since you don't want Zuer to be Xiaoxi, why don't you forcibly demolish them? Mu Cheng sighed, you know what Zuer has decided. Nothing we say can change her. She is so stubborn that she won't turn back until she hits a wall as long as she thinks it is right. Song Zier frowned, but we are the daughter of the City Lord. And we are a mistress. If this gets out, I'm afraid people will laugh their heads off. Our Demon City Lord's mansion is also a well-known and powerful force in Dragon Country. If we don't demolish them, I'm afraid we will be ridiculed for 1,000 years. Besides, our ancestors wouldn't agree. The ancestor of the Demon City Lord's mansion is a living saint, one of the few remaining saints in the world. Mu Cheng is a doting man, otherwise he would not have advocated for rejecting the Yi family's engagement. He sighed and said, let's take it one step at a time. As long as Zuer is willing, it's fine. Unexpectedly, the City Lord's wife Song Zier snorted coldly and said coldly, you can spoil her. But sooner or later you will push Zuer into a desperate situation. You want to be a good guy, then I'll be the bad guy if you don't tear it down. I'll do it. I will do everything I can to separate the two of you. As the contractor of the City Lord Mu Cheng, Song Zier's realm is the same as his. Both are high-level supremes, both are supreme formation masters. Song Zier's figure flashed and disappeared. Mu Qingzu and Xiao Yi, who were on their way to the residence, were happy about the success of their plan at this moment. Mu Qingzu was pressed on the shoulder by a hand and was carried away. Xiao Yi saw that it was Song Zier, Mu Qingzu's mother. So he walked along the road alone, intending to take a look at the scenery of the City Lord's mansion. In the women's toilet of a public restroom, Song Zier put Mu Qingzu down and said with a serious face, I have something to ask you. Mu Qingzu looked curious. What's the matter? Come here and talk about it. Song Zier looked Mu Qingzu up and down carefully and asked, how far have you and Xiao Yi progressed? As long as Zuer and Xiao Yi haven't reached the last step, it means there is still a chance to save the situation, then she can separate the two. Being looked at like this, Mu Qingzu knew what she wanted to ask. Which step? In the crystal mine below, Xiao Yi took away her innocence when he was detoxifying her. Did everything. In an instant, Mu Qingzu's delicate face turned red. Song Zier had a bad feeling and asked, has it reached the last step? Mu Qingzu was a little embarrassed and said, Mom, what are you talking about? He and I only hold hands and kiss. She said this with some hesitation. Song Zier breathed a sigh of relief and smiled, that's good. To be on the safe side, Song Zier reached out and held Mu Qingzu's wrist, and sent out her spiritual sense, wanting to verify it herself. Sorry, Zuer. After investigating with her divine sense, Song Zier found out the answer. The smile on her face completely disappeared and her expression turned ugly. Zuer, you actually dared to lie to your mother. You and Xiao Yi have reached the last step, and we've slept in the same bed quite a few times. You really disappoint me. Song Zier looked disappointed. Mu Qingzu panicked and said angrily, Mom, how can you pry into other people's privacy at will? Although I am your daughter, I am not your toy. Song Zier shook her head and said nothing, then she left in a flash of white light. Our daughter and Xiao Yi have reached the final step. She is powerless to change anything even if she wants to. She has given up the idea of separating the two, so she just lets the relationship develop naturally. The City Lord's mansion may not care about the world's eyes. The City Lord's mansion will not be bound by the world's evaluation and eyes, but if the family ancestors pursue it later, Zuer will probably be in trouble. Let's see how Xiao Yi responds. Mu Qingzu left the public toilet in a depressed mood. On the other side of the public toilet, in the men's toilet, Ji Gang Tai, who was squatting on the toilet, gritted his teeth and trembled all over. He heard the conversation between Mu Qingzu and the other person. Unexpectedly, Zuer and Xiaoyi did everything, and they did it together quite a few times. This completely shattered his impression of the white moonlight goddess Mu Qingzu. Wait. Last time in the underground crystal mine, before leaving there, Zuer was exhausted and haggard. Could it be that Xiaoyi had done that to her? Yes, it must be. I thought they had a fight. Zhigangtai wailed miserably and painfully. His goddess was about to leave him completely. His face was ferocious and his eyes turned red. Xiaoyi. You deserve to die. No, Xiaoyi treated Zuer like that, showing no mercy at all. He couldn't even let Zuer stand. I have to go find him. Zhigangtai pulled up his pants without even wiping them off. He resolutely went to find Xiaoyi. He wanted to seek justice for the goddess. Zhigangtai rushed out of the public toilet angrily, asked the patrol team members several times, and finally found out Xiaoyi's location. So he rushed straight towards that place. Halfway through his rush, he passed by a store. He thought for a moment, went into the store, bought a few boxes of something called Durex, and then left in a hurry. The patrol captains who were shopping in the store saw the scene. They smiled at each other with an expression that Xiao Tai, I finally got it. The other side. Xiaoyi kept going towards Mu Qingzu's villa since it was his first time in the city lord's mansion of Demon City. He walked leisurely, taking a stroll while looking at the scenery. And his pace was not fast. At this moment, a hurried figure with a strong smell of toilet ran over and blocked his way. Xiaoyi raised his eyebrows. What's the matter? Didn't you get beaten enough last time? Zhigangtai stood there without saying a word, his face gloomy, his chest heaving, his eyes red, and he looked excited and angry. Seeing him clench his fists and look murderous, Xiaoyi's mouth twitched. You still want to be beaten up? Don't think I won't dare to hit you today inside the city lord's mansion. Well, in the city lord's mansion, I won't hit you today. I'll give you face. If you know what's best for you, get out of the way and don't disturb my enjoyment of the scenery. Zhigangtai clenched his fists and stared at Xiaoyi with murderous eyes, not moving. Xiaoyi was helpless. Since you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for being ruthless. Xiaoyi wants to take action. Zhigangtai suddenly said. Wait. I didn't come to you to get beaten. I have something to tell you. Xiaoyi curled his lips. Oh, what are you talking about? Say it. Zhigangtai's face turned bitter and he said sadly. Xiaoyi, please be nicer to Zuer. Realizing that he was no match for Xiaoyi, he changed his plan. Although he couldn't get away with it, he did what he could to make Xiaoyi treat Zuer better. Zuer is a proud person who has always looked down upon men. Now that she is with you, it means that you have really entered her heart. He talked straight for 3 or 4 minutes, still chattering on. Xiaoyi looked at him in surprise. This man is really infatuated, extremely infatuated, and understands Mu Qingzu very well. 2 or 3 minutes later, Zhigangtai was still immersed in his own world and kept talking. Stop, don't say any more. What do you want to do? Xiaoyi said impatiently. Zhigangtai was silent for a while. After a while, he took out a few boxes from his storage ring. On them were the words "Du Lacy." He handed them to Xiaoyi and asked, Please be gentle to Zuer, otherwise I will feel bad. Xiaoyi was shocked. Brother, I admire you for being able to go this far as a bootlicker. Xiaoyi patted his shoulder in admiration and accepted the brand new boxes. Don't worry, I will treat her well, Xiaoyi promised. Zhigangtai showed gratitude and said, Thank you. Chapter 216, Mu Qingzu who died of shame and anger. Xiaoyi's mouth twitched. What are you thanking me for? However, from what Zhigangtai said just now, Xiaoyi learned that this man and Mu Qingzu were childhood sweethearts. They had studied and practiced together since they were young. But Zhigangtai had never done anything inappropriate towards Mu Qingzu, not even the simplest thing. They had never even held hands. He has been silently protecting Mu Qingzu, very affectionate, very infatuated, and very obedient. Xiaoyi sighed, feeling sad for him, and said, In fact, even if I hadn't appeared, you wouldn't be able to be with Mu Qingzu. Zhigangtai's body was shocked. Why? Xiaoyi said bluntly. She and the young master of the Yi family in the imperial capital have been engaged since childhood. Tomorrow, the Yi family will come to propose marriage. I came to the city lord's mansion today to defeat the young master of the Yi family tomorrow, so that the young master of the Yi family will fail in his proposal and cancel the engagement. This, Zhigangtai suddenly realized. He believed and agreed with Xiaoyi's words. The young master of the Yi family in the imperial capital is the number one of the younger generation in the imperial capital and also the number one of the younger generation in Dragon Country. Zhigangtai had learned about the information of the young master of the Yi family. If he fought with the young master of the Yi family, he would probably be killed instantly. Even if Xiaoyi hadn't appeared, he and Zuer would not have been able to be together. Xiaoyi patted Zhigangtai on the shoulder and said, Brother, face the reality. If you can't resist it, just accept it. A dark light flashed in Zhigangtai's eyes. And he nodded solemnly and said, I understand. I will protect Zuer for the rest of my life, but I won't disturb you or ruin your relationship. After saying this, he turned around and left silently. Xiao Yi was stunned and shouted, "Hey! Brother, you misunderstood. What I meant was that there are many better women in the world, so why should you love only one? I hope you give up Wu Qingzu, not that I hope you will never come back from the path of being a dog licker. A dog licks until he has nothing left. Love? Bullshit." But Zhigang Tai, who was leaving, seemed not to have heard it. He remained firm in his belief, as if he had great ambitions and would never come back. Xiao Yi. Alas, people who live in their own world cannot be woken up by others. Hey, Xiao Yi, what are you looking at? Mu Qingzu happened to walk over from another road looking at the dazed Xiao Yi. She waved her white little hand in front of him and asked, puzzled why. Xiao Yi came back to his senses, put the boxes in his hand into his pocket, shook his head and said, I didn't see anything. I just met a very interesting person. Mu Qingzu frowned. There was another interesting person in the city lord's mansion. Why hadn't she seen him before? Next, the two went to a 3-story villa together. Sitting on the sofa, the two faced each other. Xiao Yi was sitting with his legs crossed, looking very leisurely. Now things were going very smoothly. He just needed to wait until tomorrow to defeat the young master of the Yi family and cancel the engagement with the Yi family. Then he would be able to successfully receive the system reward. Being alone with Mu Qingzu in a closed space, Xiao Yi was not panicked at all. Even though there was a super old monster who had lived for who knows how many years in the dark, he did not need to worry that the old monster would suddenly attack and harm people because he had life-saving props. Mu Qingzu asked, aren't you curious about what my mother wanted to see me for? Xiao Yi was not interested in this. Why should I be curious about this? We are just partners, not real lovers. I have no right to ask about your privacy. Mu Qingzu bit her lip and looked at him silently, feeling a little aggrieved. He got a great deal but didn't have to take any responsibility, while I had to bear a lot and disappointed my mother. Is there sand in your eyes? Why did they turn red? Xiao Yi felt a little surprised and came closer to take a look. Go away. Mu Qingzu pushed him away and snorted, why eyes are not red, and there is no sand in them. Xiao Yi shrugged inferently. Okay, I thought it was because of me. I was just being sentimental. Sorry. Mu Qingzu. I really want to punch him to death. After a while, she finally calmed down and talked about the Yi family coming to propose marriage tomorrow. The young master of the Yi family has just entered the first star of the venerable realm. It will probably take half a year, or even a year to advance to a small level. Are you sure you can defeat him? Xiao Yi said nothing and released the aura of the 3 stars in the venerable realm. Suddenly, the air in the villa was so strong that Mu Qingzu was almost blown to the ground if she had fallen on her face. The airport would have turned into a plane. Fortunately, Xiao Yi was quick to hold her up. Bastard, let go of your hands, Mu Qingzu screamed in shame and anger. Xiao Yi retracted the breath he was releasing and pulled back the soft big hand that he accidentally touched. So, do you think I can defeat the young master of the Yi family? He asked. Mu Qingzu glared at him with a slightly red face. Yes. She thought Xiao Yi did it on purpose just now, deliberately taking advantage of her. Xiao Yi didn't think too much about it. It was completely unintentional just now. He just bumped into her by chance. Seeing that she was a little angry, he puffed out his chest and said, why don't you touch her back? Mu Qingzu, no, I'm going to take a shower. Xiao Yi strolled around the villa. There was an open-air swimming pool on the roof of the 3rd floor. The 3 floors above ground were the living area, and there was more than 1 floor underground. The first underground floor was a practice room, and the second underground floor was a training room. When he walked into the training room, the training equipment inside attracted his attention. The debris from Mu Qingzu's last training session had not yet been cleaned up. There were 7 or 8 human shapes in bags lying on the ground. They were no longer in human form, with broken fingers and debris scattered all over the ground. Their heads had been kicked off, and a piece of foray paper was stuck on their heads with the words Xiao Yi written on the white paper. Xiao Yi was stunned. It's obvious that this is Mu Qingzu's work. At this time, Mu Qingzu, who had just finished taking a shower and changed into a black tight combat leather jacket, came to the training room on the 2nd underground floor. Strange, where did that bastard go? He didn't sneak away, right? Never mind. She wanted to vent her pent-up emotions in the training room. When I stepped into the training room, I heard a voice. It's someone. You don't want to hit me. Xiao Yi's handsome face, which seemed to be smiling but not smiling, caught Mu Qingzu's eye. He pointed at the white paper and the remains of the broken finger on the ground and said, I didn't expect that a rich lady would hate me so much. Mu Qingzu looked in the direction of his finger after seeing the mess at the scene. Her pretty face suddenly turned red and she said awkwardly, I didn't do that. This was done by Zhigang Tai. Yes, it was him. Mu Qingzu felt really bad because the person who treated her as a human sandbag actually saw her like that. Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. Zhigang Tai, you have endured too much. Now that I'm still here, there's no need to use a human sandbag. I'll play with you myself, he said. Mu Qingzu took a step back cautiously and said, no, I'm only at the peak of Grandmaster level. Your realm is so much higher than mine. If I fight you, wouldn't I just want to get beaten? Xiao Yi suppressed his own realm to the first level of the mortal level, and said with a smile, we can only use the power of our bodies, and cannot use synergy, artistic conception, or mental power. How about that? Mu Qingzu's beautiful eyes lit up. Okay. She possesses the puzzle, one of the 9 secrets of ancient times, which increases her combat power by at least 10 times. Xiao Yi didn't know why she was so confident. But he was already a mythical level talented beastmaster. His body had undergone 3 evolutions, and his combat power was dozens of times stronger than that of an ordinary SSS level beastmaster. He glanced at Mu Qingzu's perky drum and thought to himself, you used to treat me like a human sandbag and beat me up, now I'm going to beat your ass off in one go. Chapter 217 Mu Qingzu. It hurts so much from being beaten. The other side. After Zigangtai left Xiao Yi, his originally dark eyes began to shine again. His life once again had pursuits and faith. That is, always guarding Mu Qingzu, not disturbing her life, and solving her problems to the best of your ability. After figuring it out, Zigangtai felt relaxed and walked happily on the avenue. When 2 patrol teams came over from a distance, he greeted them happily. The patrol captain happened to be there. The 2 captains looked at each other, put their arms around Li Gangtai's shoulders, and said jokingly, Xiao Tai, where are you going? Yes, you are so happy. Are you going to do something pleasant? The 2 of them had something in mind. Zigangtai was confused. What? He was very puzzled. How come he didn't know what he was going to do? I is shy. We are all brothers. There is nothing to hide. Who is she? Tell me. Yes. We all saw you buying things in the store. Hey, has Xiao Tai finally come to his senses and is ready to stop being a bootlicker? The 2 captains and Zigangtai were brothers in the city lord's mansion, and were very familiar with each other. They often joked with each other. They looked at each other with smiles on their lips, and reached out to search Zigangtai's pockets. The result was an empty-handed one. Nothing. Zhangchai finally understood what they meant just now in the shopping store. He was in a hurry and didn't notice anyone at all. He slapped away the 2 people's hands that were touching his pockets and said, all right, stop looking if you can't find it. I'll have finished it long ago. The 2 captains were all puzzled, as less than 10 minutes had passed. Who is that person? Why is Xiao Tai so obsessed with him? If you are a brother, just speak out. There is nothing to hide. They held Zigangtai and asked. Zigangtai realized that if he didn't tell anyone, it would be difficult for him to leave today. He felt that there was nothing to hide, so he said, it was a Mandan. T asked who he was. They were both shocked. It turned out to be a man. Zigangtai took the opportunity to escape. He still had to prepare the medicinal food. Zur would definitely be bullied by Xiao Yi tonight, and might not even be able to stand up like last time. He had to prepare and steam the medicinal food before tomorrow morning and deliver it to Zur early in the morning. Well, sending only 1 copy might make Zur unhappy. So let's send 2 copies, one for her and one for Xiao Yi. Looking at Zigangtai's figure walking away with his chest held high, the 2 captains' heads were stuck in the rock machine. They thought you had come to your senses and wanted to stop being a bootlicker, but it turned out that you took a more evil path. Instead of going down this evil path, it's better to be a bootlicker. In the city lord's daughter's villa, the 2nd underground training room. Why can't I defeat you even after using my secret technique? Mu Qingzu covered her little, but in shame and anger. She had been fighting with Xiao Yi for several minutes just now, but every time she attacked, he dodged her attack perfectly. Every time, Xiao Yi would apply heavy pressure on her perky breasts. Now, Mu Qingzu felt waves of burning pain. Xiao Yi clapped his hands and walked out of the training room saying, why? You are too weak. Welcome to come down and practice with me. Xiao Yi stayed here for 1 night. The next morning, the 2 just got up. There was a knock on the door. I guess it's my mother calling me. Mu Qingzu ran over to open the door, and the person she saw was Zigangtai. Zigangtai glanced into the villa and actually saw Xiao Yi's figure. He smiled, handed over the 2 boxes of freshly cooked medicinal food in his hand, and said, Zur, you have been feeling weak these days, right? I have prepared some medicinal food for you to recover, 1 for you and 1 for you and 1 for Xiao Yi. Okay. Mu Qingzu took a step back and pushed the medicinal food back. I appreciate your kindness, but you can drink the medicine yourself. Zigangtai looked embarrassed. Xiao Yi came out. Gave this affectionate liquor a respectful look, took the medicine on his own initiative, and said with a smile, I accepted it for her. She really needs to replenish her body. Mu Qingzu said, Kokathis lie, you are the one who wants to replenish your body, I don't. Xiao Yi accepted the things, and it was not easy for her to let anyone take them back. Zigangtai looked grateful and said, Brother Xiao, you must let Zur drink it. I spent a lot of effort to get this medicinal food. Xiao Yi nodded, no problem. Zigangtai was very grateful. Brother Xiao, you are a good person. The medicinal food has been delivered. I won't disturb your world of 2. Goodbye. Looking at the gradually departing figure, Xiaoyi felt that he had a philanthropic heart. After closing the door, the two returned to the living room. Standing beside the table, Mu Qingzu said with a straight face, "Drink it yourself, I won't drink it. Ji Gang Tai is really something. Why do you keep giving me things recently? I don't need them." Xiaoyi was not as pretentious as her. He opened the lid and drank directly. It tasted delicious as I drank it sip by sip, and an intoxicated expression appeared on my face. Mu Qingzu snorted, "It's just a medicinal meal. How can it taste good?" She was trying to argue, so she sat down heavily on a hard chair. Mu Qingzu widened her beautiful eyes, gasped in pain, and jumped up as if by a nervous reaction. Oh no! The skin on her back was swollen from the beating Xiaoyi gave her yesterday. She hadn't recovered after a night, and it hurt like hell when she sat down on it. Slurp slurp. Xiaoyi drank very happily, and the sound came over. Standing on the ground, Mu Qingzu's chest rose and fell with anger. "You bastard, it's all your fault. I can't even sit down. The Yi family is coming today. How can I face people?" Xiaoyi glanced at her, pointed at the medicinal food in front of her, and said with a smile, "This medicinal diet has a very good restorative effect." Mu Qingzu swallowed her saliva, feeling conflicted. She wanted to drink, but when she saw Xiaoyi's teasing look, she got furious. "You bastard. You want to laugh at me, don't you? I said, I won't drink. Even if I die." Xiaoyi wiped his mouth, threw away the empty medicinal food jar, stood up and said, "I'm going to pee. I won't peek. If someone wants to drink, just drink it." Xiaoyi could see that she was not only arrogant but also a tsundere and was very stubborn in order to save face. Seeing Xiaoyi enter the bathroom, Mu Qingzu's pretty face blushed. "If you want to go to the bathroom, go ahead, tell me what you're doing." But at this time, the drum was still burning with pain. Mu Qingzu looked at the medicinal food on the table with longing eyes. "Or, just take a sip." "Well, I only drank one sip, so it doesn't count as me drinking it." She quickly opened the jar of medicinal food and started drinking it. After taking a bite, my stomach made a rumbling sound. There's no difference between drinking one sip and drinking 3 sips. It doesn't count as me drinking either. Mu Qingzu found a reason to convince herself and started drinking it. After a few seconds, she couldn't hold back and actually drank more than half of it. Seeing the medicinal food almost gone, her pretty face turned red with embarrassment. "Oops, I drank too much." "You've already drunk it, so just finish it, then put the lid on it, and Xiaoyi won't know." She simply drank up all the medicinal food, then quickly closed the lid tightly. After putting the medicinal food back in its place, Mu Qingzu touched her stomach and licked her lips with her tongue. Feeling somewhat unsatisfied, Xiaoyi returned to the living room, came over and threw the medicinal food jar into the trash can, and walked out. "The Yi family is coming soon, let's go to the city lord's hall." Mu Qingzu followed behind him, thinking in her little head, "Does he know that I drank?" Chapter 218. The Yi family arrives, with the dragon leading the way and the supreme covering the rear. What a grand ceremony! At the entrance of the magic city-based city, the tall city gate was wide open, and on both sides stood 2 rows of tall and mighty armored city guards. Roar! 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 Outside, 9 black dragons with dark glowing bodies roared. The sound spread out and could be heard throughout the demon city. 9 dragons at the peak of the great venerable realm, exuding a strong sense of oppression, pulled a large suspended attic. On the roof of the attic, there was a flag with the word Yi clearly marked on it. Behind the large attic were a number of suspended coops, more than 20 in total. Behind the gorgeous coop, there was a 9-headed snake monster in the supreme realm, keeping watch. There was singing and dancing in the attic and music from the piano and flute rising one after another. Next to the main seat, a hunched old man with pale hair said, "Young master, we have arrived at the demon capital-based city." On the main seat, the handsome young man with red hair who was taking a nap with his eyes closed opened his white eyes with red pupils. A hint of expectation appeared on his face and he said, "Mu Qingzu, I'm here. Are you ready to sign a contract with me?" He waved his hand and said, "Enter the city." A voice was plain, but it reached the ears of all the monsters. 9 powerful dragons roared and entered the gate of the demon city-based city in unison. 2 rows of tall and mighty city guards watched them come in. After closing the city gates, they took the initiative to clear the streets for the team and maintain road order. There is a wide avenue from the main city gate to the city lord's mansion, leading directly to the entrance of the city lord's hall and the city lord's mansion. The arrival of the Yi family caused a lot of noise, attracting the attention of all the major families in the demon city-based city. Everyone was speculating about the Yi family's purpose in coming to the magic city in such a grand manner. In an instant, intelligence spies from all major forces in the demon city quickly took action. City lord's mansion, city lord's hall. Wu Chang, who was sitting on the high seat, retracted his gaze and said, "What a grand ceremony, with 9 great supreme peak-level monsters leading the way, and supreme-level monsters covering the rear. At-large attic is also a supreme top-level offensive and defensive treasure. Hearing this, Xiao Yi and others were surprised. It seems that the young master of the Yi family attaches great importance to today's marriage proposal. Realizing what was going to happen next, Mu Qingzu couldn't help but said nervously, "Xiao Yi, don't feel pressured. You must defeat the young master of the Yi family fiercely when the time comes." Xiao Yi glanced at Mu Qingzu with amusement. He was not nervous at all, it was you who was nervous. Mu Cheng's face became serious, but he actually had something else to say. The old man next to the red-eyed and red-haired boy, who looks vulnerable on the surface, is actually a quasi-saint and the protector of the red-haired boy. The protectors usually do not show up under normal circumstances, they hide in the darkness and guard silently. But the old man showed up openly. The appearance of the quasi-saint shows that it was the instruction of the head of the Yi family and represents the majesty of the Yi family in the imperial capital. It will be difficult for the city lord's mansion to cancel the engagement today. Mu Cheng rubbed his brows in annoyance and thought to himself, I hope that after the young master of the Yi family is defeated by Xiao Yi, he will take the initiative to give up the engagement with Zuer. Otherwise, if the quasi-saint makes trouble, the city lord's mansion will not be able to shirk the engagement. After all, this engagement was made more than 10 years ago. In less than half an hour, there were bursts of sand sounds outside the city lord's mansion. Report, the Yi family has arrived. A guard ran in to report the situation. Mu Cheng raised his eyes and said, welcome the Yi family in. Outside, the young master of the Yi family and the elderly man in the attic came down to the ground, and pairs of young contractors with extraordinary aura came out of the gorgeous sedans behind them. They surrounded them. They were very young, around 20 years old, and all of them were at the Grand Master level. The red-haired and red-eyed young master of the Yi family, Yi Fan, said, you must restrain your temper today, and don't mess up my important matter. They all smiled and said, Brother Yi, don't worry, we are here to help you, not to cause trouble. Yes, boss Yi came to the Magic City to propose marriage. How can we, the young masters of the Imperial City, be missing? I heard that sister-in-law Mu Qingzu is the #1 prodigy in the Magic City. So we also want to see her, of course. We just want to see her for a bit. Yi Xiaoan, we are here to make sure your trip goes smoothly and you get the beauty back. The old man said, young master, we should get down to business. Yi Fan with red hair and red pupils, nodded and waved his hand saying, in that case, everyone follow once you go in, talk less and just watch. A group of people entered the city lord's hall with great fanfare. Mu Cheng's hearty laughter echoed. I've long heard that the young master of the Yi family is handsome and has great potential. He is the top young talent in the imperial capital. Seeing him today, it's true. Mu Cheng nodded to the elderly man and said, everyone please take a seat. Tables, chairs, tea and waiters had already been prepared in the hall. The elderly man smiled and nodded in response, but Yi Fan, the young master of the Yi family, was staring at a pretty figure in a daze. She is indeed a stunningly beautiful woman, with a graceful figure, extraordinary elegance, and a pure and otherworldly temperament. That person must be my fiancée, Mu Qingzu, he muttered in a low voice. The old man kicked Yi Fan and said, young master, you just got here, don't show off in front of everyone. If you want to see the young master's wife, you can watch her every day in bed from now on. Red-haired Yi Fan came back to his senses, touched his nose and said awkwardly, Yi Fan of the Yi family, meet Uncle Mu. Mu Qingzu, who was standing next to Mu Cheng, felt uncomfortable under his gaze. She moved her feet involuntarily closer to Xiao Yi on the other side and said with contempt, Xiao Yi, that guy looks so wretched. I don't want to marry him. Xiao Yi squeezed her soft little hand and said, as long as I'm here, you won't marry him. Mu Qingzu's nervous heart inexplicably felt better. After everyone took their seats, the young people introduced themselves one by one. Hang San, the young master of the Tang family in the imperial capital, greets City Lord Mu. Guang Jiming, the young master of the Guang family in the imperial capital, greets City Lord Mu. Shi Hao, the young master of the Shi family in the imperial capital, greets City Lord Mu. Chu Shang, the young master of the Shu family in the imperial capital, greets City Lord Mu. The young master of the Yun family in the imperial capital. They are all middle-level families headed by the Yi family, one of the 4 major families in the imperial capital. Their strength should not be underestimated. Each of these families is comparable to the Hong family in the Demon City. There is a supreme leader in the family. Their business is spread all over the Dragon Country, and their military strength is also off the charts. Although the Magic City and the Imperial City are both top-level base cities, the Imperial City is the base city with the longest history and the highest combat power, without a doubt. The headquarters of the Supreme Alliance is also in the Imperial capital. Mu Cheng's heart felt a little heavy. After everyone finished introducing themselves, Yi Fan, the young master of the Yi family, said politely, Uncle Mu, as you know, King Zhu and I have been very close since we were young. And we are engaged. I have never signed a contract with the opposite sex, and King Zhu is the same. I'm here today to propose marriage to the Mu family on behalf of the Yi family in the imperial capital." Red-haired Yi Fan waved his hand, and a pile of various gifts 10 meters high appeared on the ground. These are the betrothal gifts. A supreme top-grade crystal core. A supreme top-grade offensive and defensive treasure. A supreme top-grade defensive item. And various great venerable level potions and natural treasures. He pointed to the 9-headed great venerable peak-level demonic dragon. The supreme 3-star hydra. And the supreme top-level attic with integrated attack and defense, and said, "Those outside the main hall are all betrothal gifts." Yes, all the young masters were shocked. What a grand deal. Mu Cheng's eyes widened. The betrothal gift was so luxurious that he was a little envious. The value of these things can surpass the total assets and foundation of any big family in the Magic City-based city. The Yi family has put a lot of thought into this. Mu Cheng took a deep breath, forced himself to calm down, and said, "Young Master Yi, I'm sorry, I'm afraid that your marriage with Zuer will not be successful. Zuer already has someone she loves." "What?" Red-haired Yi Fan stood up suddenly with a stern tone. The faces of all the young masters in the rear changed drastically. Conflict is imminent. Chapter 219. The battle between geniuses attracts attention from all parties. The old man pressed the red-haired Yi Fan's shoulder and said, "Be patient, maybe this is a test from Mu Cheng." Red-haired Yi Fan was stunned. The test? Very likely. The anger on Yi Fan's face disappeared. And turned into a smile. He said in a gentle and elegant manner, "Uncle Mu, it doesn't matter. Even if King Zhu has a lover, after getting along with me, I am confident that she will like me. Across the entire dragon country, whether in appearance, realm, or potential, I am number one. A King Zhu will choose better." The young masters of the imperial capital forces in the rear all gave a thumbs up. They admired the young master for being so magnanimous and confident. Behind the high seat, Xiao Yi jokingly said, "Mu King Zhu, in the eyes of your fiancé you are a woman who easily changes her mind. Tell me, if you get along with him, will you fall in love with him?" Mu King Zhu glared at him with her beautiful eyes and angrily transmitted her voice. "Nonsense, that wretched guy is not worthy him, he's not even as good as you." She broke free from Xiao Yi's small hand, pinched the soft flesh on his waist and made a vicious 360-degree rotation. "Yes," Xiao Yi gasped in pain. Mu King Zhu proudly transmitted her voice, "I told you not to laugh at me." Mu Cheng's mouth twitched. "We are discussing important matters with your fiancé. But you are flirting with us, is that appropriate?" Facing the words of Yi Fan, the young master of the Yi family, Mu Cheng said straight to the point, "Nephew Yi, I may disappoint you. Zuer's ideal man is better than you." As soon as these words were spoken, the young master of the Yi family and the young masters of the imperial capital forces in the hall were all stunned, and then burst into laughter. Red-haired Yi Fan thought this was the funniest joke he had heard this year. After laughing for a while, he calmed down and said, "Uncle Mu, I am the number one among the young generation of Dragon Country. This is a fact recognized by all major forces. It is an undeniable fact. If you want to fabricate someone who is better than me to test and dissuade me, then you are planning something." The old man who was staring at Xiao Yi, who was clinging to Mu King Zhu, said, "City Lord Mu, since you admire that young man so much, why not let him compete with my young master? If my young master wins, my Yi family and the Mu family will get engaged today." Mu Cheng's eyes lit up. "What if nephew Yi loses?" The old man shook his head. "My young master will not lose." He didn't think so much about it. The engagement between the two families today would definitely be successful. Red-haired Yi Fan also smiled and said, "I am invincible since I awakened at the age of 18, I have never lost. If I lose, I will kowtow him 3 times, how about that?" The many young masters of the imperial capital forces in the rear were not worried at all, and even started to watch the fun, showing great confidence in Yi Fan's strength. After all, he is Yi Fan, who is invincible in his level. Even the city lord of the imperial capital City Lord's mansion praised Yi Fan as a peerless genius that appears only once in 1,000 years in the future. He will definitely be promoted to the Saint realm, or even have the opportunity to set foot in the higher level Emperor realm. Yi Fan has the potential to be an emperor. Mu Cheng stood up and said loudly, "Okay. In that case, then you two should have a competition." The old man laughed, the young master of the Yi family laughed, and the young masters of many forces in the imperial capital laughed. Red-haired Yi Fan said, "Uncle Mu, I have a request." "You say," Mu Cheng responded. The red-haired Yi Fan looked at Mu King Zhu and said, "I hope King Zhu will watch the fight between me and that genius. I want King Zhu to know that among the young generation of Dragon Country, I am number one." Mu Cheng's mouth twitched. "No problem." In full view of everyone, Mu King Zhu immediately took Xiao Yi's hand, left the City Lord's hall, and went to the virtual fighting arena. Red-haired Yi Fan greeted her, but was ignored. Yi Fan's face darkened, and his veins bulged as he watched the two of them leave hand in hand intimately. Mu Cheng stood up and said, "Everyone, come with me to the virtual fighting arena." He and Song Zier took the lead in leaving the City Lord's Hall. Yi Fan, the elderly man and a group of young people followed behind. I never paid much attention to Xiao Yi from the beginning to the end, no matter what kind of power this person was in or what realm he was in. He could not compare with the Yi family or Yi Fan. The big forces in other base cities only dominated their own base cities, but the four major forces in the imperial capital dominated the whole country. The two were not on the same level at all. Xiao Yi, just garbage. And news that Xiao Qi was about to compete with Yi Fan, the number one of the younger generation in the imperial capital, was quickly spread by intelligence spies from various forces, causing an uproar among various forces in the imperial capital. At the Hong family, Hong Dingqian was scolding Hong Tao, "I'll give you 1 month. If you don't resolve the issue of the rights to open martial arts schools across the country within this month, you will no longer be the young master of the Hong family. Prepare your words to announce to the entire family that you will voluntarily step down and let Hong Lai take over." "No problem." Hong Tao responded distractedly. 2 days ago, the martial arts schools that were originally booming all over the country suddenly received boycotts from the city lords' mansions in various places, and their rights to open martial arts schools were revoked. The Hong family intelligence network personnel came up and reported the news to the two. Hong Tao and Hong Dingqian were both stunned. Xiao Yi and the young master of the Yi family fought over a woman. The intelligence network personnel nodded. Hong Tao and Hong Dingqian were overjoyed and both were excited. Fine. My Hong family will not take action against Xiao Yi, but Xiao Yi, that bastard, actually offended the Yi family in the imperial capital. Xiao Yi is really courting death. Rumor has it that there are several pairs of top supreme beings in the Yi family in the imperial capital, as well as a handful of quasi-saints, and there are even saints at the peak of their powers within the family, let alone one Kunpeng Supreme. Even if the Kunpeng Supremes come together, they are not enough for the Yi family to crush them all. After a while of sarcasm, Hong Dingqian said to the intelligence network personnel, "Continue to follow up on this matter, don't miss any news." Intelligence network personnel received. At the Magic City Academy, on the avenue where 10 colleges intersect, some people were rushing towards the gate of the academy. Cheng Yi and Yang Junming were both stunned when they saw each other. "Are you here to watch the fight too? The same to you?" "Yes, he is the first person of the younger generation. Of course I have to go and see him." "Me too. Of course I want to admire the demeanor of a peerless genius. Besides, if Brother Xiao loses miserably, I will comfort him. I brought all the healing potions with me. I hope Uncle Xiao isn't too seriously injured." The two laughed and went together. Neither of them thought that Xiao Yi would win, because his opponent was the best of the younger generation in Dragon Country. Kunpeng Academy Accommodation Area, Villa No. 1 in the No. 1 Lakeview Villa area. After receiving the news from Cheng Yi, Cheng Bingxi and Nan Gongxiao rushed into Ding Yunshi's villa with excitement. In the living room, the two girls said excitedly, "Sister Yunshi, there's something exciting to watch. This is the battle that will make Kunpeng Academy famous throughout the country. Yes, after this battle, Kunpeng College's enrollment rate will experience explosive growth." Yunshi's beautiful face showed a calm expression as she said, "Oh, what's the excitement? Xiao Yi is going to have a fight with a genius who is hailed as the number one among the younger generation. What do you think? Sister Yunshi, do you want to go with us to watch?" Nan Gongxiao said excitedly. Yunshi was unmoved and uninterested. "You guys go ahead and be careful." The two girls froze. "Sister Yunshi isn't going?" "No," Yunshi replied. "Okay." The two women said goodbye and went outside, talking about something as they walked. That bastard Xiao Yi actually fought with the capital's number one prodigy for the city lord's daughter. "Don't worry, hurry up and leave, or it will be too late." Fighting with others for a woman? That guy is having an affair again. Yunshi, who wanted to take a bath, changed her expression when she heard this and said, "Wait, I'll go with you." Chapter 220. Young master of the Yi family suffered a crushing defeat. That bastard is really related to the city lord's daughter. For Yun Bing's happiness, Yunshi decided to go and take a look. So she flashed, disappeared into the space, and crossed the space. In the city lord's mansion, in the central area, in the virtual battle tower, in front of a 360-degree virtual screen, there were 3 groups of people standing on both sides. Standing in the middle were Mu Cheng and Song Zier. One group was the imperial capital forces headed by the red-haired Yi Fan. They were numerous and powerful. The other group was sparsely populated and weak in momentum. There were only Xiao Yi, Mu Qingzu, and Ji Gang Tai. Dang dang dang. Dang dang dang. Suddenly footsteps were heard outside. Yan Junming, Cheng Yi, the young master of the Yun family, Nan Gongxiao, and Cheng Bingxi arrived. The 5 people ran to Xiao Yi with excitement on their faces. Cheng Yi said excitedly, "Uncle Xiao, you have made it big. You have won the city lord's daughter." Yang Junming said excitedly, Brother Xiao, it has to be you. You are worthy of being the ancestor. Even the number one of the young generation of Dragon Country wants to compete with you for women. Cheng Yi tilted his head and looked at Yang Junming. Hey. I call him uncle, but you call him brother. You are one generation older than me. Out of thin air you want to take advantage of me. Right? Yang Junming ignored him and looked back and forth between Xiao Yi and Mu Qingzu curiously. Xiao Yi smiled and said, Wait for me to finish in a few minutes before we talk. Stand behind me. Everyone nodded and walked around behind Xiao Yi. Now, the two groups are evenly matched in numbers. Mu Cheng acted as the referee and let Xiao Yi and Yi Fan enter the virtual cabin. A virtual cabin is a medium that connects the virtual world. It is made of special materials from the Beast Girlera and can synchronize 99 of the user's body information. On the big screen, the people appeared among the ruins of Daixia. Mu Cheng said, The virtual battlefield has been loaded. Both of you can fight with all your strength until one of you is killed, or one of you voluntarily admits defeat. That's exactly what I meant. No problem. Wu Cheng used the administrator's authority, and his words echoed in the virtual battlefield. And the two could hear them clearly. What the two people say will also be heard through the speakers. Many people outside are like watching a movie. Not only can they see the pictures but also hear the sounds. In the virtual battlefield, Yi Fan's eyes were calm, his face was full of confidence, and he said contemptuously, Qingzu is not the woman. You should have. Be smart and give up as soon as possible. Let's start fighting quickly, don't waste time. Xiao Yi was speechless. Yi Fan was neither anxious nor slow. It will only take 1 or 2 moves to deal with you after you lose this battle. If you appear in Qingzu's life again, you will be fully sanctioned by the Yi family. Shut up. Xiao Yi took action directly without any further ado. 1,000 miles in a moment, transform into lightning speed to reach the speed of light. Xiao Yi's figure disappeared, and a long, narrow streak of lightning flashed across the ruins. Speed-related talents. It's useless. Everything is below my sight. Red-haired Yi Fan released his mental power to continuously scan the surroundings. But all he saw was a faint white light, which was the illusion of passing lightning. Lightning phantoms filled the entire ruins, turning them into a phantom world of white light. Xiao Yi's true body was there, and he couldn't catch it at all. How is this possible? Yi Fan was shocked and his face became serious. He finally stopped looking down on Xiao Yi and started to take him seriously. Xiao Yi's magnetic male voice resounded throughout the world. Why? Is this all you can do? 10 million volts, lightning strikes from the sky, with properties of violence, burning, and paralysis. The world instantly turned into a purgatory on earth, and countless thunders fell from the sky. First it was as thick as a grain of rice, then as thick as a fist, and as thick as a bucket, then 10 meters, and finally, 100 meters. Yi Fan burst out with a tremendous aura, and the momentum of a once-star venerable realm was fully displayed. He easily dodged the first few types of thunder, but when the thunder reached 100 meters thick, Yi Fan's face changed. A loud noise was heard. 100-meter thick thunder predicted Yi Fan's movement and hit him directly. The giant thunder of 3 stars in the venerable realm can cause such horrific damage. After the huge explosion, Yi Fan collapsed to the ground. His body was black and burnt. Steam was coming out of his body. His red flowing hair turned into an afro. His whole body was twitching. It was obvious that he was dying. Xiao Yi appeared next to him and said, You lose. Yi Fan's strong willpower prevented this body from disappearing so quickly, and he said in shock, You are actually a 3-star in the venerable realm. His body began to turn into light and dissipate. Yi Fan couldn't believe the reality and shouted hysterically, I, Yi Fan, have the potential to be an emperor. I am invincible and have never been defeated. I will not be defeated this time. No way. But no matter how he roared, the severely injured virtual body eventually completely dissipated. As for Xiao Yi, apart from some sand on his body and his hair being not messy, he defeated Yi Fan easily. Outside world. 2 minutes ago. The 3 groups of people who could not sense the strength of the thunder each had their own thoughts. The young masters of many imperial capital forces said distaphonially, The bombardment of so many giant thunders is a complete waste of energy. It is impossible to hit the young master. That's right, the attack method is to brutal it. It's impossible to strike accurately. I can tell from the first glance that this genius is not very good. It seems that the young master is to Broadman. He did not humiliate him right away, nor did he defeat him in one move. He gave him some face. You dare to snatch a woman from the young master. I'm afraid you are tired of living. This group of people didn't think much and thought that Yi Fan would definitely win. Across from them, Qing Bingxi and Nangong Saya looked at them curiously. Is this the skill of Sister Liuya's summon beast? It looks so cool. Sister Liuya has been at the 1st-star level of the venerable realm for a day or two now, right? The two were not worried about the outcome of the fight at all. In the minds of the two women, Xiao Yi would definitely win. But Mu Qingzu, Yang Junming, Cheng Yi and others don't think so. The title of the number one of the younger generation is too famous, and everyone thinks that Xiao Yi is in great danger. But as the battle continued, everyone's expressions changed. When Yifan was hit by a huge thunder that was 100 meters thick, everyone's eyes widened. Such a big and thick thunder. How painful it would be if it got hit on the body. The sound rang out, and everyone's body shook. On the virtual screen, sand and wind blew all over the sky, blocking the view. The young master of the imperial capital's power was no longer arrogant, but said with some trepidation, "Young master, he should be fine." Well, maybe. Probably. Some are better the thicker and bigger they are, but as for giant thunder. The old man's eyes were shining. Although the wind and sand had not yet dissipated, he already had the answer in his heart. "Young master, you lost?" Mu Qingzu's face was tense, her hands tightly grasped the corners of her clothes, and she kept shouting in her heart, "Yifan, die soon." Everyone held their breath until the sandstorm that obscured their vision dissipated. Yifan's miserable appearance appeared in everyone's sight. Fuck. That's impossible. Oh my god, how is that possible? He is the best of the younger generation. It's so miserable. The invincible road is broken. A number one person of the young generation of Dragon Country has been replaced. Xiao Yi, I knew you could do it. Some were stunned, some were silent, and some were happy. A smile appeared on Mu Qingzu's face, and she said to herself, "Xiao Yi, I was right about you." Looking at the handsome Xiao Yi on the virtual screen, her heart beat fast. There was excitement in Mu Qing's astonished eyes. Yifan lost. Not only did we lose, but we lost miserably. He was beaten so badly that he had no power to fight back. Chapter 221. The pressure from the quasi-saint overwhelms the entire audience. Ji Gangtai looked at Mu Qingzu's eyes, which were filled with joy and special emotions, and he felt very complicated. Xiao Yi was right. Even if Xiao Yi had not appeared, Mu Qingzu would not belong to him, Ji Gangtai, and would never be able to sign a contract with him. Ji Gangtai. After this battle, he deeply realized the gap between himself and Xiao Yi. Yifan, who is known as the number one of the younger generation, could not last more than 2 moves in front of Xiao Yi, and he was estimated to be killed instantly in front of Yifan. They just need to guard it silently. Sa Gangtai looked determined. Having guarded the White Moonlight for more than 10 years, he will continue to do so and make silent contributions behind the scenes. Cheng Bingxi and Nan Gong Xiao cheered, jumped up and hugged each other, celebrating Xiao Yi's victory. Yang Junming and Cheng Yi were dumbfounded, with deep shock in their eyes. Mu Cheng stepped forward to preside over the situation, finalized the outcome, and said, "As you can see, the winner has been decided. The winner is Xiao Yi." The virtual cabin door slowly opened, and Yifan and Xiao Yi walked out. Yifan's face was still full of disbelief at this time, and he couldn't believe that he had lost. He was known as the best of the younger generation. He had never lost a single battle. He was invincible, but he was defeated so thoroughly, without the slightest ability to fight back. How could he accept the reality? Red-haired Yifan walked angrily in front of Xiao Yi, releasing the powerful aura of the first star of the Venerable Realm, and said in a low voice, "Boy, this round doesn't count, let's play another one. I was careless in the last round and didn't dodge. One more round. I will definitely beat you." The young masters of the imperial capital twitched their lips after hearing this. Are these young masters afraid to accept the reality? A frown appeared on the old man's forehead as the young master of the Yi family. If he lost, he lost. He had to face the reality now. He was acting like a rogue, which was really a disgrace to the Yi family. Facing Yifan's huge aura, Xiao Yi remained calm, with a faint smile on his face, and said, "You lose." Red-haired Yifan was furious and said angrily, "The virtual reading equipment read the data incorrectly. Let's fight again in reality. I will definitely beat you." Xiao Yi said calmly, "But you lost." Red-haired Yifan gritted his teeth. Exuding the aura of a superior, "As the young master of the Yi family, I order you to fight me." Xiao Yi curled his lips and looked contemptuously. "If you lose, you lose. How can you, the young master of the Yi family, not afford to lose?" Red-haired Yifan felt like he was going crazy. It was the first time that he was looked at with such contempt by someone, when this person was the young genius who defeated him. Seeing that he was still chattering and wanted to fight again, Xiao Yi burst out with a bang, and the powerful aura of the 3 stars in the Venerable Realm burst out from his body. A 3-star mythical Venerable Realm is much stronger than the 1-star SSS level Venerable Realm. This aura burst out like a strong hurricane, almost blowing the red-haired Yifan to the ground. The red-haired Yifan finally calmed down a little and said in surprise, You are actually a 3-star in the Venerable Realm." He is proud of being at the 1-star level in the Venerable Realm. This kid looks younger than him, but his realm is much higher than his. Mu Qingzu ran over with anger on her pretty face, stood in front of Xiao Yi, and scolded the red-haired Yifan. "You are such a bad person. You act like a rogue when you lose. How can I, Mu Qingzu, make a marriage contract with someone like you. Red-haired Yifan choked on his words and his body shook violently. The old man slapped his forehead full of black lines, pulled Yifan over, and said in a voice transmission, "Young master, your heart is in turmoil. Leave it to me from now on. That kid has obviously contracted a beast girl and inherited the innate skills of the summoned beast. But you haven't contracted a beast girl, yet you are simply a human body that has cultivated from the form of a beastmaster. The cultivated from the form of a beastmaster. The cultivation speed of the sum and beast must be much faster than that of the human body. Once you have contracted a beast girl, your cultivation speed will naturally increase a lot by then. It will be easy to surpass this kid, and defeating him is just around the corner." Hearing this, the red-haired Yifan finally accepted the reality and said to Mu Cheng, "Uncle Mu, I lost." Mu Cheng smiled and nodded. "Well, in that case, your engagement with Zuer is annulled." Mu Qingzu and Xiao Yi looked at each other and saw the excitement in each other's eyes. But at this moment, the old man stepped forward and said in a voice that overwhelmed Mu Cheng, "Wait. We never said that we would cancel the engagement if we lost this battle." Mu Cheng's face darkened. "Mr. Yi, you are no longer interesting." Mu Qingzu glared angrily. A wrinkled face of the old man was calm. Without any change in expression, he released a trace of quasi-saint pressure that covered the whole place and said, "How can it be cancelled just like that?" Mu Cheng felt his body sink and he could hardly move. Having lost the fight, they wanted to use force. But the Mu family has no quasi-saint. Although there are holy realms in existence, they generally do not interfere with the secular world unless there is a crisis of family survival. Besides, the Yi family and the Mu family had made an engagement many years ago, and the old man's action did not cross the line. Mu Cheng sighed. If this trend continues, Zuer must get engaged to Yifan today. Xiao Yi couldn't bear to watch it any longer. Although his body couldn't move, his mouth could still move. He said, "Old man, I remember that your young master lost and had to kowtow me 3 times. He said this himself. But now, has he knocked on it?" Yifan's side never said that they would cancel the engagement if they lost, but they kowtowed 3 times, which was a sure thing. Mu Qingzu was delighted and agreed. "Yes, he knocked on the door. Do you, the Yi family, also want to unilaterally invalidate it?" Red-haired Yifan's face rose. He did say that. But asking him to kowtow 3 times in public? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. If this really kowtowed, and everyone in the world would know that Yifan, the young master of the Yi family, who was the number 1 of the young generation, kowtowed to the current number 1 of the young generation. And then, the Yi family would be disgraced by him. Where would the dignity of the Yi family be? And where would Yifan's face be? The old man's calm expression changed. His weathered eyes narrowed and he looked at Xiao Yi with a dangerous gleam in his eyes. "Kid, if you don't speak, no one will think you are dumb." The enormous pressure from the quasi-saint came over Xiao Yi with overwhelming force. If this is suppressed, I'm afraid he will vomit blood. At this moment, a cold and pleasant sound spread throughout the venue, and the temperature on the scene suddenly dropped by more than 100 degrees, and everyone felt the bone-chilling cold. "What's wrong with saying something? You have any objections?" Another surge of pressure belonging to a quasi-saint burst out and collided with the quasi-saint pressure of the elderly man. There was a loud bang, deafening everyone. A tall figure wearing a bulky white robe and with a beautiful face appeared beside Xiao Yi. Chapter 222. The engagement is void. The rule-level treasure soul-captivating pearl. It's Kunpeng quasi-saint Yunxi. As soon as she appeared, the pressure on Xiao Yi disappeared in an instant, and his body regained its freedom and was able to move freely. "Sister Yunxi, you are here after all." Nangong Xiao and Sheng Bingxi ran over, with secret joy on their pretty faces, and stood on both sides of Xiao Yi. Mu Cheng and Song Zier looked happy, but worried inside. Yin Kunpeng is only at the supreme realm, and he is unlikely to get any good results facing that old quasi-saint. Yan Zhengming, Sheng Yi and others were overjoyed. They could not see the realm of the old man and thought he was just a supreme being. Now the demon city's number 1 supreme being, Kunpeng supreme being Di Yanxi, has come, so the Yi family's marriage proposal today is bound to fail. Red-haired Yifan's eyes lit up. This woman was so beautiful. She was on par with the most beautiful woman in the capital. The young masters of the imperial capital's forces looked relaxed, not worrying at all that the old man would not be able to defeat them, because he was a quasi-saint. But the old man's face turned ugly, and he said, "It is impossible to kowtow. Our Yi family is willing to give up the marriage contract with the Mu family young master. We should not stay here for long. Let's go back." The old man's words puzzled the people in the imperial capital, who thought they had heard wrongly. Red-haired Yifan said with an unpleasant expression, "Masters Ehe, why?" The old man put away the pressure from the quasi-saint, took a deep look at Yunxi, and said, "The strength of that quasi-saint is higher than mine." Upon hearing this, everyone at the scene's faces changed drastically and they were shocked. This incredibly beautiful lady is actually a quasi-saint, and her strength is even greater than that of Master Ziyi. Mu Cheng and Song Zier were also very shocked the Supreme Kunpeng had actually entered the quasi-saint realm and was going deep into the quasi-saint path. Master Ziyi, you must be kidding, you are a veteran quasi-saint. The engagement between our Yi family and the Mu family cannot be annulled. Red-haired Yi Fan was a little unconvinced. The wrinkled old man Ziyi took a deep breath and looked at Yun Shi with fear. Although he was a quasi-saint, he had not sensed Yun Shi's aura at all before, and did not realize Yun Shi's presence. This alone is enough to show that Yun Shi's realm is above his. Yun Shi also withdrew all the pressure and said, I have been watching your affairs from beginning to end. Old man, let the child decide on his own about marriage. A forced marriage is not a happy one. Since the daughter of the Mu family has already found a home, why should we forcibly separate them? The old man, Ziyi Lao, was shocked. Sure enough, she was there the whole time. He clasped his fists and said, that's exactly what I meant. Young master, it is impossible to enforce the marriage contract if you don't want to give up. It's up to you. He secretly transmitted the message, young master, the daughter of the Mu family is just one of your fiancés in the other 9 top base cities. Each base city has an engagement. Why do you have to be obsessed with this woman, who is already having an affair with someone else? Red-haired Yi Fan's body stiffened. Looking at Mu Qingzu's delicate face, he felt a little unwilling. After being tested by the family's saintly ancestor, he was found to be able to contract multiple beast girls. He wants all 10 fiancés. Yi Fan took a step forward and said to Mu Qingzu, Qingzu, I will ask you one last time. Are you really willing to give up the marriage with the Yi family for this boy? You have to think carefully. If the marriage is cancelled, the Mu family will lose a powerful ally. In terms of business dealings, personal connections, and other aspects, many large families in Dragon Country will distance themselves from the Mu family because of this incident. He also realized that Mu Qingzu looked down on him, but the engagement was related to many factors, so he wanted to use the gains and losses to pressure her. But how could Mu Qingzu be stunned by such words again? Her father Mu Cheng had told her long ago that the Mu family had never relied on others, and everything they had now was based on the Mu family's own strength. The Mu family is not as good as the Yi family, but it is not weak either. Mu Qingzu's beautiful eyes were full of disdain. I'm sorry, Master Yi, our Mu family has never been eager to form a marriage alliance with the Yi family. And I can't be a tool for a marriage alliance. Then Mu Qingzu threw herself into Xiao Yi's arms in public, her pretty face slightly red as she said, even if I didn't have someone I loved, I wouldn't sign a contract with you. Besides, I already have someone I love. And this person is the most outstanding, handsome, and good-looking young talent in the world. Xiao Yi touched his face. He was the best and most handsome man in the world. How could he not know? This girl is not going to rely on him. This won't do. Yi Fan, the young master of the Yi family, had a gloomy expression on his face. The elderly man Ziyi transmitted the message, young master, from what I have observed, the daughter of the Mu family has lost her virginity and is no longer worthy of you. Yi Fan thought about it carefully, and it was true. Mu Qingzu walked in front of everyone, and her movements were uncoordinated. If this happened in other situations, it might be mistaken for an injury, but the close relationship between her and the boy at the scene made it easy to infer that the two had taken the final step. Looking at Mu Qingzu's beautiful and delicate face, but her body was so dirty, Yi Fan's impression of her plummeted and dropped below the passing line. So you are such an indecent woman. Master Ziyi, let's go. Yi Fan felt very unlucky and left angrily. The young masters of the imperial capital looked at each other in bewilderment. What happened? What was wrong? But the boss left, so they left too. The old man's Lao looked at Yun Shi fearfully, and then said to Mu Cheng, the engagement between the Yi family and the Mu family is annulled. But first of all, it is your Mu family that broke their promise. Be careful to be ridiculed by the world. The elderly man collected all the betrothal gifts in the city lord's hall, returned to the floating pavilion on the road outside, and drove 9 dragons into the air. The Kupun, the Hydra supreme beast, also left. Just like that, the Yi family's marriage proposal failed and they returned to the imperial capital. A cold voice of the system sounded in Xiao Yi's mind. Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Task rewards have been automatically issued and placed in the system space. Xiao Yi was overjoyed. He finally got the soul capture orb. And the next step is to let the soul capture orb recognize its master and find a private place to talk about life with Mu Qingzu. Ah, Xiao Yi hit Mu Qingzu's drum with his big hand and said, Hey, they're all gone. How long are you going to hold me? Mu Qingzu pulled her head out and looked around. Yi Fan and the others had indeed left, but the eyes of everyone who remained at the scene were focused on her. Suddenly, she felt very embarrassed and her pretty face turned red with shame. Mu Cheng said, Zur, you can just cuddle in bed at night. Don't flirt or cuddle in this situation. Xiao Yi agreed, yes. Yes, Uncle Mu is right, let us get into bed at night and hug each other. You can hug each other however you want. Mu Qingzu glared at him in shame and anger, and thought to herself, I don't want to get into bed with you. Mu Cheng looked at Yun Shi and said with gratitude, Supreme Kun Peng, no, Quasi-Sage Kun Peng, thank you for your help. Yun Shi waved her hand, and the temperature at the scene returned to normal. She said, it's okay. This place is over, I should leave now. There was a flash of white light, and she disappeared. But Yun Shi's voice sounded beside Xiao Yi's ear, asshole, you are so lucky, be careful that Yun Bing will beat you when she comes back. Also, I helped you so much, you must reward me well when you go back. If you don't give me a few massages and give me several hundred liters of golden blood, I won't be satisfied. Xiao Yi's face turned dark. A few massages would be fine, but hundreds of liters of golden blood. Do you want to drain me dry? Chapter 223 Mu Qingzu, don't mess around. Mu Cheng then remembered that he still needed to discuss the matter of the artistic conception crystal with Kun Peng Quasi-Saint Yun Shi. But she's gone, so I can only wait until next time. Zuer, Xiao Yi. Let's have dinner together tonight. I have something very important to tell you. Mu Cheng looked at Xiao Yi deeply, turned to the left. Xiao Yi nodded. See Mu Cheng leave. Nangong Xiao and Cheng Bingshi hugged Xiao Yi's arms, one on the left and one on the right. Without caring about the tenderness being squeezed, Mu Qingzu was pushed out forcefully by Cheng Bingshi. Looking at Xiao Yi, who was being intimate with other beautiful girls, she felt a sour feeling in her heart for some reason, as if she had eaten lemon juice and felt very uncomfortable. Yes, it's like being jealous. Realizing her inner feelings, Mu Qingzu felt a little at a loss. No way, could it be that she has developed feelings for Xiao Yi? No, she doesn't want it. She and Xiao Yi were just pretending to be a couple. Mu Qingzu tried to deny herself forcefully, but no matter how she denied it, she still felt uncomfortable seeing Xiao Yi surrounded by two women. This bastard doesn't even know the occasion. This is my city lord's mansion's territory. He and I are still in a relationship on the surface, but he is actually rubbing and hugging other beast girls in broad daylight. Mu Qingzu pouted angrily and turned her face away, not wanting to look at him. Yang Junming, Cheng Yi and the young master of the Yun family watched silently from the side, with envy in their hearts showing on their faces and almost overflowing. No matter what era it is, most men would yearn to have 3 wives and 4 concubines, and 3,000 beauties in the harem. But due to the special circumstances of the times, they could only have one beast girl. But Xiao Yi is different. Not only does he own several beast girls, but now he has even captured the daughter of the city lord's mansion. The young master of the Yun family clasped his fists and said goodbye politely. Cheng Yi and Yang Junming wanted to stay and chat with Xiao Yi, but after seeing the jealous look on the face of the rich girl Mu Qingzu, they decided to leave. It seems like a sure field is about to happen. Having 3 wives and 4 concubines is good, but it requires harmony among the confidantes, otherwise, it is suffering. Cheng Bingshi glanced at Mu Qingzu, who was even bustier than herself, and hugged Xiao Yi and lingered, saying sarcastically, Mu Qingzu, you won't be angry if I hug him, right? Mu Qingzu's face turned dark and she almost broke down. Cheng Bingshi originally wanted to dissuade this woman, who was pursuing Xiao Yi, from pursuing him. She said jokingly with a flash of light in her beautiful eyes, you two are pretending to be a couple, you shouldn't be angry, right? No way. No way. Mu Qingzu clenched her teeth so hard that they were about to break. Xiao Yi looked at her like this and felt something was wrong, so he asked, Mu Qingzu, I'm warning you, there's no way you and I can be together, don't rely on me. Xiao Yi clearly remembered that when Mu Qingzu asked him to cooperate, she warned him not to fall in love with her and that it was impossible for her to sign a contract with a man, but now, her behavior was too abnormal. Mu Qingzu clenched her fists and said stubbornly, you are too narcissistic. How could I, Mu Qingzu, like you? Your potential as a beastmaster has been exhausted. You won't even be able to break through to the supreme realm in the future. Don't get carried away. After saying that, she turned around, a look of grievance on her pretty face. I gave him everything, but he treated me like this. Hearing this, Xiao Yi heaved a sigh of relief and said, that's good. As long as you don't rely on me. Turning around, he said to Nangong Xiao and Cheng Bingshi, you guys go back first. I'll be back after dinner at the city lord's mansion tonight. Cheng Bingshi and the other girl looked at each other and whispered to each other, is he still in sage form now? That should be it. Should? How about we go check it out? Good. Nangong Xiao leaned close to Xiao Yi's ear and said, we are worried about letting you stay. We must let us check your condition. Xiao Yi had a puzzled look on his face. Check? Check what? What's the status? Cheng Bingshi stomped her feet and acted coquettously sly. Hey, why are you asking so clearly? Come with us. Then, in front of Mu Qingzu's own eyes, Xiao Yi was pulled into the bathroom by the 2 women. A single man and 2 women entered the bathroom together and locked the door, which could easily lead people to think of something wrong. Mu Qingzu's beautiful eyes widened. Her pretty face blushed as she thought of something, and she said angrily, Xiao Yi, you don't even pay attention to the occasion when doing things. This is not your home, this is the city lord's mansion. And with two beast girls at once. This was simply unacceptable to Mu Qingzu. 10 minutes later, Qing Bingxi and Nan Gongsaya walked out with satisfaction, while Xiao Yi followed behind with a frown on his face. Damn it. You actually want me to stay in sage state all the time. When I get back, I will come one by one to punish you. Come back in the evening. Oh no, you can come back tomorrow. Qing Bingxi patted Xiao Yi's shoulder and said with a smile. Nan Gongsaya nodded. Yes, we have to go back to practice. After being examined by the two women, Xiao Yi was still in the state of absolute sage. So they were very relieved to let Xiao Yi stay in the city lord's mansion. Xiao Yi nodded. Okay, I'll come back in the evening. A mythical template can be promoted to a small level in the venerable realm in one day, and must seize the time to practice and become powerful quickly. After the two women left, Mu Qingzu pounced on them, wrapped Xiao Yi's wrist and bit it, leaving two rows of teeth marks with some water remaining on it. Xiao Yi wiped it off with disdain, and said with a dark face, You are a dog, such a primitive move. Mu Qingzu's mood improved, and she said proudly, You fast boy, let you bully me. Xiao Yi was confused. How could he bully her? He didn't do anything wrong. Wait, Superboy? What Superboy? He asked. Mu Qingzu glanced at a certain part that finished so quickly just now. Wasn't he just a Superboy? Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. He walked towards her with his fingers pinched, and said, It seems that you have forgotten what happened in the underground crystal mine, and you still call me a fast boy. I need you to recall. Mu Qingzu was shocked recalling what happened in the underground crystal mine. She was so scared that she stepped back repeatedly and retreated to the corner, shaking her head and saying, Oops, I almost forgot, you're a perpetual motion machine. Xiao Yi. I was wrong, please don't mess around. Xiao Yi pushed her against the wall, lifted her blushing face with one hand, and said teasingly, I was just teasing you. But there seems to be some excitement in your eyes. Are you looking forward to something? In secret, Xiao Yi opened the system space and checked the rule-level treasure, the soul capture pearl. The soul-grabbing bead is recognizing its master. Successfully recognized its master. Xiao Yi. Detailed function introduction of soul-catching beads. 1. Ingestion function. Can forcibly ingest free souls, spirits, and spiritual bodies. 2. Recovery function. The soul capture orb contains a rule-level soul power space that can nourish the soul and has a powerful recovery effect on the soul body, soul, and spirit body. 3. Analysis function. The soul capturing bead has the function of analyzing the primordial spirit, soul, and spiritual body. It can analyze and extract the memories, secrets, cultivation experience, etc. of the primordial spirit, soul, and spiritual body. Mu Qingzu was about to explode. The proud girl would not allow Xiao Yi to say that to her. You're talking nonsense, I didn't. Xiao Yi. Nothing? Mu Qingzu's beautiful eyes were a little evasive, and she said with a lack of confidence, I'm not excited, and I'm not looking forward to anything. Xiao Yi had already taken out the soul-capturing bead, and pinched Mu Qingzu's delicate chin with one hand, saying, Okay. Secretly, he activated the compulsory absorption function of the soul-stealing bead. Suddenly, a faint light flashed, and a dark light shone on Mu Qingzu, covering her entire body. Chapter 224 Mu Cheng. You two must sign a contract. Xiao Yi went straight forward without too much precautions with the life-saving props given by Yunxi. He didn't have to worry about being ambushed. If there is danger, let Yunxi take charge. But the next second, the result of the soul-grabbing bead made him stunned. No free soul detected, unable to activate the mandatory intake function. No free soul? Xiao Yi opened the template viewing function of the template adjuster. SSS level time candle dragon template. Template defect. It was inhabited by a Saint Realm primordial spirit, leaving behind a primordial spirit mark at this stage. The Saint Realm primordial spirit has left. Already left. A result of the last test was that the Holy Soul was always waiting for the opportunity to take over the physical body. But now he left. What a coincidence. It happened at this time. Xiao Yi felt that the Holy Spirit seemed to know in advance that he would take action against her, and then left early. Mu Qingzu looked at Xiao Yi, who was staring at her blankly. Pushed him away, tidied up her messy hair, her heartbeat quickened, and said, Don't think too much, it's impossible for me to have any special feelings for you. There's no way I want to do that with you, nor will I be excited. Let alone look forward to it. Xiao Yi looked at Mu Qingzu, who was a little stubborn. He couldn't figure out what she meant, and he didn't have the mind to figure it out. His attention was on the Holy Spirit. At Holy Realm primordial spirit is the surviving soul separated from the Holy Realm body of Mu Qingzu. In her previous life it is incomplete, equivalent to a clone soul, and does not rely on the main body. The main soul is the current Mu Qingzu. Xiao Yi didn't understand how the main soul reincarnated into Mu Qingzu. But that wandering soul had already known of his existence, and was a holy soul of the time attribute that possessed the innate skill of time. Mu Qingzu, what talents and skills do you have at this stage? Xiao Yi asked curiously. Mu Qingzu rolled her eyes at him and said, why are you asking this? It's none of your business what talent or skill I have. Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. After all, we are pretending to be a couple, it's reasonable to get to know each other. Mu Qingzu thought about it and it seemed to be the case. So she responded, I currently have two talents. One is a talent for predicting what will happen in the future, and the other is a talent for predicting what will happen in the next few seconds. These two talents consume a lot of time factors. When used, they can only be used a few times in total, especially the prophecy. Using it once will use up all the time factors. Prophecy for Kanwal? Xiao Yi nodded to show that he understood. It is estimated that the Holy Spirit used a similar innate skill to know what was going to happen in advance. So it left early. Xiao Yi didn't know how powerful the rule level treasure soul capturer was, but this level sounded very awesome. Even a Saint Realm soul couldn't do anything about it. Otherwise she wouldn't have escaped. The day passed quickly and soon it was evening. In Villa No. 1. Xiao Yi attended the Mu family's family dinner as promised. This time, not only Mu Cheng's family was present, but also the city lord Mu Cheng's brothers, sisters and other relatives were present, more than 20 people in total. Because of him, the marriage between the Mu family and the Yi family in the imperial capital failed, which would cause the Mu family to lose many invisible benefits. Xiao Yi thought that someone would make things difficult for him at the banquet, but he was overthinking it. The Mu family seemed to be very united. Not only did they not look down on others, but they all praised him and were very appreciative of his defeat of Yi Fan, the young master of the Yi family. The uncles and aunts of Mu Qingzu's generation all recognized him very much and acknowledged him as Mu Qingzu's partner. Mu Qingzu's cousins of the same generation also got along very well, without any rejection. Xiao Yi, good job. I toast you a glass. The city lord Mu Cheng, who was sitting in the main seat, drank happily and shouted for a toast. Xiao Yi did not dare to neglect it. Father-in-law, if anyone wants to toast, it's me who'll toast you. Come on, cheers. After clinking their glasses, they both drank it all in one gulp. Mu Qingzu, who was sitting next to Xiao Yi, stared at the scene blankly, feeling it was so unreal. Before the end of the dinner, in front of everyone, Mu Cheng made a request to Xiao Yi, asking him to sign a contract with Mu Qingzu. If the two of them wanted to hold a grand wedding, they must first pass the assessment of the family's forbidden area. Mu Cheng said that before he and Song Zier were together, they also broke into the family forbidden area together and finally passed the assessment. The Mu family forbidden land is a dimensional secret realm. It is the private secret realm, where the ancestor of the holy realm lies. There is a forbidden assessment area. All members of the Mu family must pass the assessment of the Mu family forbidden land before signing a contract. Mu Cheng, you guys prepare for these 2 days. In 2 days, I will use the secret realm authority to let you participate in the forbidden land assessment. If you pass, you will sign the contract. If you fail. He paused. Xiao Yi guessed, break us up. Mu Cheng said rather embarrassed, lie, if you don't pass. Continue to take the test after a while until you pass. Mu Cheng's younger brother laughed and said, don't feel any psychological pressure back then. My brother took the test 3 times before he passed. Xiao Yi, you are better than my brother back then. I think you can pass it in 1 try. Mu Cheng's face darkened, and he said, huh, you're still blaming me? You and your sister-in-law took 6 attempts to pass the test. Brother Mu Cheng's smile froze. Song Zier and Mu Cheng's sister-in-law burst into laughter. It was quite lively. Mu Qingzu became anxious. She didn't want to sign a contract with any man, and Xiao Yi was no exception. If they had taken the assessment 2 days later, with Xiao Yi's terrifying combat power, they would probably have passed it easily. By then, her father Mu Cheng would probably force the two of them to sign a contract and announce it to the whole city with great fanfare, holding a grand wedding. Mu Qingzu waved her hands hastily and said, Xiao Yi and I are not in a hurry. We will take the test again in 1 or 2 years. Xiao Yi followed up and said, yes, there is no rush to conclude the contract. I can do it any time. Mu Cheng's face turned serious, and he said in a deep voice, Zuer, you can't be willful this time. After Xiao Yi defeated Yi Fan, the young master of the Yi family, and the fact that you posted that circle of friends, all the upper circles in the Demon City base city know about you. Inside, Xiao Yi has been recognized by all of us. You are now 20 years old. And you should have found a man to sign a contract. This is the tradition of the Beast Girl era and also the rule of our Mu family. So, you and Xiao Yi must take the test in 2 days. Pass it in 1 go, and then sign the contract. Don't try to fool us. With your fighting power, it won't be difficult to pass the test. On T deliberately fail the test to postpone the date of signing the contract. Mu Cheng's tone was firm and he would not allow Mu Qingzu to refuse. Everyone at the scene was watching, and it seemed natural that the two of them took the test, passed the test, and signed the contract. Song Zi'er no longer had any resistance to Xiao Yi, and Xiao Yi's excellence was recognized by her. Mu Qingzu's expression froze. She and Xiao Yi must sign a contract. Xiao Yi's face turned dark. He had never thought about signing a contract with Mu Qingzu. Chapter 225 Forbidden Land Assessment, Space-Type Magical Beasts. A conclusion of a contract in Age of Chemo No Friends is equivalent to getting a marriage certificate after the contract is concluded. It doesn't matter whether you pretend to be a couple or not. You can do anything. This was the first time Mu Qingzu had seen her father take such a tough stance, and everyone was watching helplessly. She had to agree first and said with her head down, "I understand. I will take part in the Forbidden Area assessment in 2 days." Mu Cheng looked at Xiao Yi. "What about you?" "The arrow was on the string and had to be shot," Xiao Yi responded. "Me too." Mu Cheng smiled. "Good, very good. You should prepare for the next few days. You can look up the relevant information about the Forbidden Land assessment and think of ways to deal with it. Only then will you be able to pass the Forbidden Land assessment smoothly. Zuer, I have given you permission to query information about the family's Forbidden Land. The dinner is over." While Xiao Yi was stunned, Mu Qingzu took his hand and went into the bathroom. "Hey, what do you want to do as a single man and a single woman? This is Villa No. 1, the villa where your parents live. I can't possibly take your place. If it's in your villa, I'll consider it." Hearing Xiao Yi's words of resistance, Mu Qingzu glared at him in shame and anger, stamped her feet and said angrily, "What are you thinking about? I don't want to do anything with you." "Why not?" He was so happy for nothing. Xiao Yi's excited heart cooled down, and he squinted his eyes and asked, "Then what do you want to do?" Mu Qingzu bit her rosy lower lip so hard that it was about to bleed out. She looked at him deeply with her beautiful eyes, and her pretty face was full of confusion. After the events of the heart of the secret realm, the underground crystal mine, pretending to be a couple, and defeating Yifan, Xiao Yi has already occupied a place in her heart. If she really wants to sign a contract with a man, her only choice at the moment is Xiao Yi. But Xiao Yi already has 3 beast girls, and their potential as beast tamers is divided equally after the contract. The potential of the summoned beast is also related to the contractor. The future achievements will most likely not exceed the Great Venerable Realm. Signing a contract with him is undoubtedly cutting off one's own retreat and voluntarily giving up a brilliant future. After a while, he made up his mind and said, "Xiao Yi, I am willing to sign a contract with you, but I have one condition that you must agree to." Xiao Yi asked with interest, "What are the conditions?" Mu Qingzu said, "After the summoned beast reaches the Great Venerable Realm, we must take the initiative to cancel the contract. You have contracted multiple beast girls, and we will never be able to enter the Supreme Realm in our lifetime." After saying this, Mu Qingzu became a little nervous, fearing that Xiao Yi would not agree. To terminate the contract, both parties had to take the initiative to avoid causing too much damage to the template. If one party forcibly terminated the contract, it might cause irreversible and irreparable permanent damage to the template. Xiao Yi's face turned dark. This woman thought that he didn't have enough potential as a beastmaster. However, Mu Qingzu's template is the SSS level Time Candle Dragon template, which is a summoned beast template with time attributes. By signing a contract with her, one can inherit the time attribute talent skills. As the saying goes, space is king and time is emperor. These 2 types of high-end attributes are sought after by many people in the world, and Xiao Yi is no exception. He also covets these 2 attributes. Therefore he made a lot of money by signing a contract with Mu Qingzu. Xiao Yi curled his lips and said, "No problem." Mu Qingzu was overjoyed, her pretty face full of joy. "Then we have a deal. When you reach the Great Venerable Realm, you will take the initiative to terminate the contract." Xiao Yi said disaffectedly, "Oh, I hope you won't completely rely on me by then and be reluctant to terminate the contract." Mu Qingzu didn't care. Reluctant? How could it be possible? The 2 walked out of the bathroom with ruddy faces, but were caught by Mu Cheng and Song Zi'er. Song Zi'er looked back and forth between them and reminded them, "Zuer, Xiao Yi, you are in the stage of being in love. We understand that you want to be in love, but you should also pay attention to the occasion. Don't overindulge, and pay attention to your health." Mu Cheng's eyes were filled with murderous intent, and he said, "Xiao Yi, you have to be more restrained. There is a saying that goes, there are only cows that die of exhaustion, but no land that is plowed to death." It seemed that his words showed concern for Xiao Yi, but in fact he was warning Xiao Yi not to do that in front of him, and that you can do whatever you want in secret. His precious daughter was raped in his own villa. That he wanted to kill her. Mu Qingzu was embarrassed and stamped her feet. "What are you talking about? How can you describe your daughter like this? Using the words, the ox is worked to death, or, the land is ruined by the plowing?" Xiao Yi was much calmer and said with a smile, "Qingzu needs it, so I can't refuse. Right? But we will pay attention to it in the future." The murderous look in Mu Cheng's eyes disappeared and he nodded with satisfaction. Song Zi'er walked into the room, took something out and stuffed it into Mu Qingzu's pocket, then pushed the 2 of them out of Villa No. One and waved her hand, saying, "Oh, back to your own villa. You are doing things without knowing the occasion. I feel ashamed when I see you." On the avenue, Mu Qingzu walked in front with a red face. Xiao Yi poked her. "What did your mother get you? You're so mysterious." Mu Qingzu glared at him and said unhappily, "Nothing. Don't say I need it next time, it makes me feel so horny. It's so embarrassing." A contract was about to be signed, which meant that their relationship was progressing rapidly. They had passed the stage of partners and were about to enter the stage of marriage. So Xiao Yi took action directly without feeling uncomfortable and took out the things in her pocket. "This. You do lays?" Xiao Yi was stunned. Mu Qingzu snatched the thing away with a cry, and held it tightly in her hand, saying angrily, "Xiao Yi, how could you steal my things?" Xiao Yi curled his lips. "Your stuff? Can you use this thing?" Mu Qingzu thought about it and realized that this thing was really used on Xiao Yi, so she hurriedly threw the hot thing to him, covered her face and ran away, saying, "I'll give it to you." 10 minutes later, the two returned to Mu Qingzu's villa No. 3. After checking the information about the Forbidden Area assessment, Mu Qingzu sent a copy to Xiao Yi and asked him to read it himself. Mu Qingzu didn't want to pay attention to it now. Xiao Yi curled his lips and started to check the information about the Forbidden Area himself. Different realms have different test locations, different types of monsters and different monsters, and different levels to pass. There are 3 levels in the Forbidden Area assessment. Level 1. Potential level. Detect the potential of the 2 parties involved in the contract, predict the potential of the sum and beast after the contract, and announce the potential level. If the potential is sufficient, the level will be cleared. Second level, tacit understanding level. Through fighting with monsters, to test the tacit understanding between the contractors. If the tacit understanding is sufficient, the level will be passed. Level 3. Combat strength level. Testing the limits of both players' combat strength, using the human wave tactic. If you persist for an hour, you will pass the level. After learning this information, Xiao Yi began to look at the more detailed assessment content of each level. The types of monsters faced by Grandmaster and Venerable include space-attributed air-controlling monsters, phantom monsters, fire-attributed blazing monsters, thunder-attributed violent monsters, etc. Features of the sky-controlling beast. It has an extremely keen sense of space, can detect very subtle movements in space, can move instantly, can use space-related innate skills such as space slash, and can escape to the back of space to act as a predator. The higher the realm, the more abnormal the sky-controlling beast's innate skills become. Xiao Yi was overjoyed. It was a magical beast with spatial attributes. He could extract fragments of spatial rules from it. Chapter 226. The Shiquazi Saint Yunshi. Space-type monsters are even rarer than phantom-type monsters. They are not found in the training base at all. One needs to go to the deepest part of the monster mountain range to find them. Even if we find them, it won't be easy to catch them. Therefore, Xiao Yi had the urge to capture some space-attributed magical beasts. Capture some space-type monsters and let them reproduce and thrive in the Holy Spirit secret realm. Having understood almost everything, Xiao Yi turned off the tablet. At this time, Mu Qingzu, who had just finished a bath and was wearing a thin, translucent pajamas, walked by. Her curvy figure was faintly visible, and a faint fragrance wafted around. Mu Qingzu pouted, didn't even look at him, didn't want to pay attention to him, and walked straight into her room. Xiao Yi shrugged and didn't care. Didn't he, this girl, think that he had limited potential? When it came to the potential test stage of the Forbidden Area assessment, it might subvert her cognition. He could tell Mu Qingzu directly that his potential as a beastmaster had been improved and evolved, and that contracting multiple beast girls would not have many side effects. But Mu Qingzu probably wouldn't believe it. The next day, Xiao Yi returned to Kunpeng Academy, but he did not go directly back to Villa No. 10 in the No. 3 Lakeview Villa District. Instead, he came to Villa No. 1 in the No. 1 Lakeview Villa District, where Dean Yunshi was. Only after Dean Yunshi appeared in the City Lord's mansion did the Yi family cancel the engagement, and he was able to complete the system task and get the system reward. So he needs to express his gratitude and give something as a gift to show his thanks. Moreover, I need to discuss with her about capturing the space-attributed monster. After getting the owner's consent, Xiao Yi entered and came to the living room. On the table, there was a large urinal. He took a look and found that it was empty, without a drop of golden blood left. But what is strange is that there is a red lip print on the mouth of the urinal. Xiao Yi couldn't help but wonder about the purpose of the golden blood. Whose lip print is this? Xiao Yi looked closely at Yunshi's sexy, small, rosy lips. You don't know until you see it, and you'll be shocked when you see it. He gasped. The outline, size, color, were exactly the same. Xiao Yi was dumbfounded. A shocking thought came to his mind. Could it be that Sister Yun, she drank all the golden blood? Xiao Yi took a breath of cold air again. This completely refreshed his 3 views. Yunshi's eyes, as pure as autumn water, looked at Xiao Yi's hand with interest and said, "Are you going to bleed me?" Xiao Yi's dark eyes like stars flashed a trace of solemnity, and he nodded. Yesterday's events were all thanks to Sister Yunxi in return. I will provide you with more golden blood. Without saying any more words, he raised his wrist and gently scratched it suddenly. A 10-meter-high column of blood spurted out and shot onto the ceiling. Xiao Yi scratched his head embarrassedly. Sorry, this is my second time bleeding. I'm still not used to it. He used the water element to control all the sprayed golden blood, condensing it into a ball and floating it in front of him. If an ordinary person bled like this, he would have died long ago and become a cold corpse. But Xiao Yi is different. Golden blood continued to spray out from his wrist. The energy in Xiao Yi's body was constantly converted into light substances, assisting the hematopoietic cells to continuously produce blood. The speed of bleeding was not as fast as the body's blood production. Control of life and death, control of life factor and destruction factor, innate skill inherited from the mythical level Lord of Life and Death. Nine-tailed heavily fox. This time Xiao Yi was very generous and released almost 20 liters of golden blood before stopping the bleeding. Yunxi looked at the blood clot shining with golden light. Her delicate body became a little restless, and every cell in her body seemed to exude an emotion of desire. 20 liters, 4 times the last times 5 liters, 4 times as much. The last 5 liters of golden blood increased the progress of her spatial body condensation by 15, reaching 20. To what extent can 20 liters of golden blood condense her spatial body? Can it allow her to condense it completely and achieve a 100 perfect spatial body? And then naturally enter the Holy Realm? Holy Land, the current top combat power of Blue Star, the strongest at the top of the pyramid. Thinking of this, Din Yunxi's usually cold beautiful eyes became extremely eager. Xiao Yi was frightened by Yunxi's hungry gaze, and he became even more suspicious about the purpose of this golden blood. He said cautiously, 20 liters is enough, I can't bleed anymore. Sister Yunxi, this much is enough for you to use for research. He emphasized the word study, and looked at Din Yunxi's expression. Yunxi came back to her senses, her beautiful face full of excitement. Enough. She didn't hear the hidden meaning in Xiao Yi's words. Xiao Yi picked up the 5-liter urinal and said, Sister Yunxi, I still have a use for this urinal, do you mind if I take it back? Din Yunxi waved his hand to indicate that he didn't mind. Xiao Yi held the large capacity urinal and pretended to accidentally see the red lip print. What is this? It seems like a lipstick mark. Why are there lip prints on the urinal? These lip prints look like Sister Yunxi's. The lip print is right on the mouth of the pot, which makes me very suspicious. Could it be that Sister Yunxi is going to drink this golden blood? She is not going to use it for research at all. Research is just an excuse. Yunxi, who was in excitement. As a result, he saw Xiao Yi's face with a half smile on it and his eyes full of teasing. Yunxi was stunned, and a blush instantly appeared on her pretty face, making her face turn red. A weird thing she did was discovered, especially, it was discovered by the real owner, social death, which made her feel very socially dead. Looking at the quasi-saint's shy and embarrassed posture like a little woman, Xiao Yi felt that Din Yunxi was very cute and beautiful at this time, so he wanted to tease her. Sister Yunxi, if you want to drink, just drink it. There's no need to cover it up with the excuse of research, but you drank it anyway. Could it be that our ice goddess Steen would feel embarrassed? Yunxi glared at him with her beautiful eyes, her eyes flashing with brilliance, and she denied it with a red face. Lip print? What lip print? I don't know what you are talking about. I used the golden blood for research. Besides, who would drink something from a urinal? That's a pervert. The devil is always one step ahead of the righteous. So she directly denied it. Xiao Yi's mouth twitched and he looked at the mouth of the pot. The red lip mark had completely disappeared, as if it had never been there. Yunxi snatched the urinal and put away the urinal and a large ball of golden blood. I need to use this urinal myself. I happen to have a large urine output. If you need it, go find another one. Now there is no physical evidence, and Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. Well, Din Yunxi is indeed a quasi-saint, and he is not someone he can control now. However, does a quasi-saint also need to pee? Xiao Yi shook his head to dispel his distracting thoughts. Then he told the dean about the fact that there were space-attributed magical beasts in the Mu family's forbidden area. He hoped that the dean could provide help and help capture the space-attributed magical beasts together. Chapter 227 Capture Plan. There are many space-attributed magical beasts in the Mu family's forbidden area, but they have too many ways to escape and are extremely difficult to capture. There was still a little blush on Yunxi's delicate little face at this time, and she felt a little resentful in her heart, blaming Xiao Yi for exposing her dirty deeds. You are so good at flirting with women. That's been less than a month since Yunbing went to the chaotic space, and you're going to have another beast girl. You are so powerful. How can a small space-type monster be difficult for you? As the son-in-law of the Mu family, you can just ask the Mu family for some. It's just a few space monsters. The Mu family won't be so stingy. Xiao Yi was stunned, and asked tentatively, what if I want 2 or 300? I want to raise a small tribe of space-type monsters in the Holy Spirit's secret realm. 200 or 300? How can such words come out of your mouth? Yunshi widened her beautiful eyes and asked in surprise. Do you want to capture all these monsters for the Mu family? Space-type magical beasts are rare to begin with, and due to their advanced attributes, it is difficult for them to reproduce. She estimated that there were only a few hundred of them in the Mu family's forbidden area. Yunshi glared at him with her beautiful eyes. You've learned bad things. This habit of collecting things is too strong and it's not good. Xiaoyi's mouth twitched, and longing appeared in his eyes. I learned all this from Sister Yunshi. When I learned that Sister Yunshi had captured all the life-type and destruction-type monsters from all over Dragon Country and kept them in captivity for her own benefit, I admired you very much and longed to be as brave as Sister Yunshi. Yunshi's pretty face was embarrassed. Did you learn this from me? Xiaoyi nodded. Yes. Yunshi's pretty face turned red. It turned out that she was the one who led Xiaoyi astray. If Yunbing knew about this, she would be mad at me, right? That's right. Yunshi has a big hobby of collecting things and rare monsters. Not only that, she also has a deep hobby of nurturing. She likes to nurture monster tribes in Xiaoyi. Her eyes revealed excitement, and she said, well, since it is your request, I will reluctantly agree to your request and capture the space at Rebuke monster with you. Catch Kong. Xiaoyi smiled. What plans does Sister Yunshi have? Yunshi took out a prop from her clothes and handed it to him. She said excitedly, this is a prop for locating and breaking boundaries. When you enter the forbidden area, I will use this prop to find the spatial node of the Mu family's forbidden dimensional secret realm on the back of the space. Once you enter the forbidden secret realm, just crush the props. When the time comes, I will descend into the secret realm and capture the space-type monsters in it. Generally speaking, private dimensional space secret realms have self-protection mechanisms. Without entry permissions, it is difficult to break into them from the outside. It is easier to break into the space inside the realm and open up a space channel from inside the realm so that people from the outside can enter smoothly. The Holy Spirit secret realm has become a private secret realm. Under normal circumstances, there is no need to worry about the supreme or quasi-safe forcing its way in. After discussing the matter, Xiaoyi asked about Vice President Yunbing's situation. The Deputy Dean, Yunshi, looks exactly like Yunshi, but her personality is completely opposite. She is a beautiful lady with a hot temper, a hot body, and a curvy figure. Since Xiaoyi told her last time that she needed to space rule fragment crystals to repair her template, Yunbing went to the chaotic space to look for an opportunity to condense the space rule fragment crystals. Yunshi narrowed his eyes and looked at Xiaoyi, and said sarcastically, you still remember Yunbing? You've been surrounded by beautiful women these days. I thought you had forgotten her long ago. Xiaoyi said righteously, she is my mentor and my benefactor. I can't forget her. Yunshi looked strange. Mentor? You regard her as your mentor. But she covets your body and wants to sign a contract with you. She thought for a moment and said, Yunbing is a high-level supreme being, at the supreme 9 stars level. I speculate that if she stays in the chaotic space for about 150 years, she will have a chance to condense a space-type cool fragment crystal. Well, if the first attempt fails and the condensation is not successful, try again for another 150 years to condense the second one. She tapped her white fingers and said, in 300 years, she will be back. Xiaoyi was stunned and asked in a lost voice, 300 years? Yunshi didn't take it seriously and said calmly, yes. 300 years, this amount of time will pass in the blink of an eye, and you will be able to meet soon. The corners of Xiaoyi's mouth twitched. You said that hundreds of years passed in the blink of an eye. Only you could say such a thing. 300 years later, he would have already traveled across the universe and achieved supreme success. But Yunbing was still condensing the space fragments into crystals. There was a possibility that the condensation would fail and it would take another 150 years. This made Xiaoyi even more determined to realize his idea and plan of capturing space-type monsters and keeping them in captivity. With the space-type magical beasts around, he could get a piece of space at Rebutrul fragment crystal in a few seconds. Why would Yunbing need 150 years to condense it? Xiaoyi decided that after successfully capturing the space-type monster, he would ask Yunshi to let Yunbing come back. For his mentor, he provided to space-type cool fragment crystals for free. Suddenly, Xiaoyi's aura rose sharply, and the surrounding air was stirred up by waves, blowing Yunshi's hair fluttering, revealing her white neck. And the cup on the table was blown over and fell to the ground. For stars in the venerable realm. A day passed, and Nangong Sayo and the other 2 practitioners were still practicing. And their insights and realms were fed back to him, the contractor. Xiaoyi adjusted his breath, and seeing the messy living room blown by the wind and waves, he scratched his head and said embarrassedly, well, sorry. I accidentally broke through again. I really didn't mean to do that. Sister Yunshi, I'll clean it up for you. Yunshi's pretty face turned dark. She accidentally made another breakthrough again? Only you can break through the realm and say it so casually and easily. Even she would be jealous of such rare talent. Come on, we'll act according to the plan. Now you go. Yunshi waved her right hand and teleported Xiaoyi out of the villa, then she waved her hand again and mobilized the power of space suddenly. A messy living room returned to normal in an instant, and everything returned to its original place. After putting away the positioning and breaking boundary props, Xiaoyi left and returned to Villa No. 10 in the Sanzai Lakeview Villa District. Yunshi took out the ball of golden blood and used space compression to compress it into a drop of extremely dense golden liquid that emitted brilliant light. She took a gulp and tried to swallow it. As a result, golden blood exploded in his mouth, and the huge impact force almost made Yunshi spray out. She was shocked. The mysterious factor contained in this golden blood was too powerful. It could automatically release her space compression and return her to her natural state. After finally swallowing all the golden blood without leaving a drop, Yunshi sat cross-legged on the sofa, closed his eyes, and began to transform his spatial body. Transform your own body into a body of space. And 20 liters of golden blood allow her to enter the Holy Realm? Chapter 228. The assessment begins. The altar limit. Endless spatial power was drawn from the void, absorbed by Yunshi, and integrated into his internal organs, limbs, bones, and billions of cells. Every cell in her body began to move, and the pleasure became stronger, making her very happy. At this moment, her life form was transforming from a human body to a spatial body. Countless tiny space cracks formed around her. As the spatial force in the void was absorbed, the range of radiation continued to expand, and the space of the entire Kunpeng Academy, and even the entire Magic City Academy, became fragile. The space became fragile, resulting in a thinning of the space density, and the Magic City Academy seemed to have expanded slightly. Yunshi's spatial body transformation progress is also gradually improving. 2021 1-23. The other side. Xiao Yi headed towards the No. 3 Lakeview Villa District. Most of the talented students from Kunpeng College that he met on the road, no matter they were freshmen, sophomores, juniors or seniors, no matter they were men or women, they would actually stop and greet him when they saw him, with eyes full of admiration and longing. Not only students, but also teachers, teaching assistants, deans, and even the cleaning lady he met on the way all greeted him in a friendly manner as if they knew him. Xiao Yi was confused and felt very strange. When did he become so famous? It was not until a talented senior student came to ask him for an autograph that Xiao Yi caught him and asked him the questions in his mind. God Xiao, you are now the number one of the young generation in Dragon Country. We in the academy are all wearing crazy clothes. How is it? Xiao Shan, how does it feel to be the number one? Is it cool? Xiao Yi suddenly realized. That's how it is. After signing an extremely sloppy name for him, Xiao Yi left. When the senior student saw it, he was dumbfounded. It was just a stroke show. Could this be considered a signature? God Xiao. Can we start over again? Some of the talented students who were watching from the surroundings came over and said, this classmate is so amazing, he actually got Xiao Shen's autograph. How about I offer a Grandmaster Crystal Core to buy your shirt signed by God Xiao? The senior student ran away as if escaping. Not for sale. After Xiao Yi returned to Villa No. 10, he was besieged by Ningong Xiao and Cheng Bingxi. 2 days later, he set out for the City Lord's mansion in the state of absolute sage. Inside the City Lord's hall and the City Lord's mansion, the City Lord Mu Cheng and the Mu family had been waiting here for a long time. Mu Qingzu felt anxious about Xiao Yi's late arrival, and her heart skipped a beat. Could it be that guy is blaming me for my bad attitude towards him, and not coming to participate in the Forbidden Area assessment? This is really possible. After all, the two of them were just pretending to be a couple at the beginning, and Xiao Yi was only after profit. Oh no! Mu Qingzu suddenly remembered that she had not yet given Xiao Yi the quota for key support from the base city that he needed. She focused her attention on persuading her parents to ask the young master of the Yi family to cancel the engagement, and for a moment she actually forgot about this matter. Immediately, Mu Qingzu made a request to Mu Cheng. Mu Cheng laughed. What's the point of key support? As long as you pass the assessment and sign the contract, I will fully support Mangyu on base city until they no longer need it. Mu Qingzu stamped her feet and said anxiously, no, I want the quota now. Before participating in the Forbidden Area assessment, Mu Cheng's face darkened. Song Ziar and the Mu family were all surprised. Mu Cheng said angrily, you haven't signed a contract with him yet, and you're already turning your arm out. What will happen after the contract is signed? Mu Qingzu said anxiously. I don't care, just tell me whether you will give it to me or not. Mu Cheng was helpless. Give it to me. And you should issue the notice now. Huh, Zur, are you too deeply fascinated? Mu Cheng widened his eyes. Song Ziar covered her mouth and laughed. The deeper the love, the better the relationship between the two. Mu Cheng, please act quickly. The other members of the Mu family watched the scene and smiled without saying anything. Half an hour later, Xiao Yi arrived late. As soon as he entered the city lord's hall, a graceful figure with a faint fragrance rushed towards him. He was hit hard. Damn it, I thought you weren't coming. A pleasant female voice of relief came from my arms. Xiao Yi stroked her head gently as if soothing a kitten, and asked in surprise, I was only a few minutes late, why are you so anxious? Or do you really want to sign a contract with me? Mu Qingzu reacted and pushed him away angrily. Then, under Mu Cheng's arrangement, everyone entered a space channel. The private secret realm owned by the Mu family is also where the Forbidden Area assessment takes place. The sky is blue. The air is fresh, and the sun is shining. We are standing next to a huge altar. The simple altar exudes an ancient and vicissitudes of life atmosphere. You can feel the sense of history at a glance. Xiao Yi quietly took out and crushed the positioning and boundary-breaking props in secret. No one was on guard against him, so this action did not attract any attention. A ray of spatial light escaped into the void, automatically found the weak spot in the huge secret realm, and then suddenly exploded, and a spatial crack so small that it was invisible to the naked eye appeared. The energy of the spatial brilliance has not been completely consumed, maintaining the existence of tiny cracks. In a wooden house with birds singing and the fragrance of flowers in the center of the secret realm, a silver-haired old man who was humming leisurely on a recliner opened his eyes, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. His aura was completely restrained, but every move he made people feel terrified. The silver-haired old man curled his lips and said, Interesting, someone actually dares to attract the attention of the Dark Knight realm. This is the first of its kind in thousands of years. I want to see who is so bold. It turns out that this secret realm is called the Dark Knight realm. The tiny crack in the weak spot of the Dark Knight realm space was also discovered by the owner. Following the route where the spiritual light of space came from, the silver-haired old man's mind came to the family altar and finally set his target on Xiao Yi. Is this boy the contractor of the family's descendants? No, there is no contract yet. The silver-haired old man put away his murderous intent and prepared to see what the situation was. If this kid fails the test, he will kill him and his accomplice behind him.